Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the What If Guy, back with another fanfiction. This is the part of What If Smart Issei started the Domination. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Gathering Clouds. As soon as Grafia left the clubroom, Rias contacted her brother demanding to know about this Lucy girl being sisters with Grafia, and that she was alive during the Civil War. Surzech explained to Rias that Lucy wasn't someone to meddle with and asked why she wanted to know that. But the answer made him white as a ghost as he heard that Lucy attacked them and that she has beaten Kiba, Kaneko, and Akino without any problem. Rias also explained that Lucy said she was now Lucifuge Hayadu, making Surzech sigh in relief at first before he had a shocked face as he heard that Lucy and Issei were together before laughing in happiness at that. Though that happiness was short-lived as Rias was furious that the slut has taken her Issei. Rias' reaction made Surzech sigh before telling her that she was lucky, that most likely Issei was the one to stop Lucy before she could do more damage, and for her to count herself lucky as he told her a short story of Lucy making Rias pale as she heard that at one point in time she was fighting her brother almost equally. Though she asked him if Lucy had something to do with the mission that her Issei was sent on, and to her horror it was, that made her a crying mess, but before she could say or demand anything else, Surzech cut the line and ended the call, as Rias was crying uncontrollably with Raynare hugging her and telling her that all will be right. Though while the orc was recuperating, Issei along with Grafia and the girls was in the QO Academy's principal office getting the final things sorted so Lucy can start attending school. XXXXX. Venelana Gremory was a beautiful woman as they can see. She looked like she was in her 30s. She has soft brown hair that went to her shoulder. Though she wore QO principal outfit that Issei could clearly see that Venelana's huge rack was threatening to burst through the blouse. But before Lucy or any girl could say or do something to stop his perverted side to come through, a magic circle appeared near Grafia's ear, bringing all of their attention to her. As Grafia spoke to the person through the communication circle, they were surprised to hear Grafia starting to laugh. Finishing her call, she turned to them and smirked. "Dear sister, looks like you did a really good number on Rias. Surzech just called to let me know that Rias is furious and a crying mess." Grafia informed the group, making them all laugh, though Venelana gasped at that. "I don't know what are you talking about, sister. I only introduced myself before she stirred the pot too much," Lucy said as she adores a cat-like smirk, clearly showing that she didn't give a fuck about Rias and her feelings. That made all of them laugh before they felt a powerful aura starting to build up. Turning around to the source of it, they saw Venelana glaring at them, though she had a sweet smile on her face, making the group gulp a little bit. "Now, what was it that I heard about Rias being in a crying mess?" Venelana spoke in a sweet tone that was anything but that. Issei stepped forward without fear as his perverted look changed to a serious one, making the girls blink at the transformation that happened. It made them all take a step back as Issei let his aura out, to show Venelana that he wasn't frightened by her. That alone caught her eyes as this young boy was brave enough to stand against her. Even though his was a lot smaller than hers, it still made her have some respect for him. "As much as I want to tell you, Mrs. Gremory, I would have to disappoint you on this one. Though, if you wish to know, why not ask your own children, as I'm sure that both would tell you," Issei told her while looking her directly in her eyes, not blinking or flinching when Venelana raised up the aura and pressure on him. "You dare to say that? I'm the wife of the head of the house of Gremory. Do not trifle with me," she threatened, making her word cold. Lucy, seeing that there would be a fight if she doesn't do anything, stepped forward also. "If you wish to fight us, I'm more than willing to let loose and go all out. I'm sure that you know me all too well, mother of Surzech and Rias," Lucy told her as her eyes start to glow dark blue again. Venelana was surprised when she finally took a good look at Lucy. She almost forgot how she looked. It was way too long since she saw her. Last time she saw Lucy Lucifuge was before the Civil War, and that was when she was a small and innocent girl that loved playing around with Grafia and Surzech. Though when the Civil War started, Venelana along with everyone in the Gremory household were shocked about the things that Lucy did on the battlefield. She may be a sweet and gentle girl when not fighting, but when push comes to shove, she was like a force of nature that wreaked chaos everywhere she went. She still remembered what Grafia told her about what happened to a battalion of high-class and ultimate-class devils that murdered their father. Though Grafia was barely subdued when she heard it, Lucy had not so much restrained as she utterly destroyed and dissembled all of them piece by piece from the pure rage that she held for them. Then Grafia's and Lucy's brother died on the last day of battle by Surzech's hands. It made Lucy desolate, so much so that even Grafia had a hard time with her. Though looking at her now, it looked like she finally found her reason to live as she stood side by side with the Red Dragon Emperor. Though that didn't stop Venelana from getting her answers. If she had to fight Lucy and Issei, then she would. Seeing that Venelana would fight them if necessary, and that Lucy and Issei had each other's back and were ready to fight back, Grafia decided to tell her before a fight would ensue. "Mother-in-law, I know that you are angry that something might happen to Rias, but you don't have to worry. Other than her pride, nothing is amiss," as Issei stopped Lucy before she could do anything to her. "And are you certain in that, Grafia?" Venelana asked as she decreased her power at the mention that Rias was fine. "It's simple. I was present when Lucy was insulted and attacked. As I said, if Issei wasn't there, we would have to glue Rias back together piece by piece. I tried to warn Rias that Lucy was someone that was way above her league, though she didn't listen and Lucy had to show it, though she only made her peerage incapable of fighting. Grafia answered again while others sighed in relief that the danger was gone. If that's the case, then I owe you both an apology. Then Alana spoke as she knew she could trust Grafia. She saw her as a daughter, and if Grafia says that the two of them are innocent, then it was very possible. Though that begged another question. Though now that you mention it, why didn't you, Red Dragon Emperor, stop Lucy and protect your master from her in the first place and only stepped up when she was about to attack her? Then Alana asked, wanting to know. But unlike how Rias wants to know an answer, Alana clearly showed a more polite and smoothing approach, unlike the red-haired heiress. Since you asked nicely and not how Rias asked, I will tell you. Though know this in advance, it was because Grafia and Lucy that I went to that party and saved Rias from Riser. Issei replied in a polite tone, as he said his story, though this time, Elsa decided to also speak, letting them know that she was, along with Dreg, were a contributing factor to Issei's win. Her voice was full of power but also gentle as she told them that Issei was willing to sacrifice everything so he could get a shot of being a victor and that he would finally start the road to freedom. Hearing the explanation from the second strongest booster gear possessor made Lucy along with everyone get wide eyes as they looked at Issei, who closed his eyes and have a pout on his face as Elsa laughs at his misfortune. While there isn't any way to change Issei back from being a dragon-devil hybrid, that was necessary for Issei to attain his balance breaker. It is unknown to everyone that for the chance to have that legendary move you have to give Dreg a part of your body. Though since Dreg is reasonable and he is against taking anything extreme, like heart or anything, when the decision is made by the host he always asks for the left hand where the gear is. So don't worry Lucy Hayadu, or Murayama, Cadiz, and even you Chelsea. He will still be the same Issei, though he would have a more dragon-like feeling. His aura will be stronger as well as attract both allies and enemies. Speaking of enemies, Rias had attained a very wrong enemy. Then Alana Gremory, thank anyone you could think for Issei not killing her the moment he found about what happened. Elsa explained to them, getting them to nod in understanding. Though they didn't stop Lucy from hugging him tightly while putting her head on his shoulder to let him know that she would be still by his side. Though, no one except Grafia heard what Elsa called Lucy and it made her happy. With a heavy sigh, Issei nodded his head at Elsa's words. What she just said was true. I did sacrifice my left arm so that I can beat him. Though I don't think that this will affect you all too much. I'm still the same Issei. Well, I can't say for others. I'm surprised. But hearing the explanation from Elsa, it looks like you didn't have a choice in the matter, as you can only improve so much before you will just start standing in place. Lucy answered him honestly, that made Issei smile before he turned his head to look at the girls behind him, seeing that all of them nodded in understanding. What Lucy told is right. Even if you make your power rival any high class in your base form, you could only do so much. But when someone with a higher power comes along, you will be a sitting duck as he would destroy you. So if doing that secures the safety of others, then it's all good. Grafia told him as she smiled at him. Murayama, Cadiz, and Chelsea just nodded to their words, also having a smile on their face as they knew why he did that. Thank you all. But now to the business. Mrs. Venelana, I hope that you understand my way and hope that there wouldn't be any hard feelings. Sirzech understood my words and I hope you will also. Issei told her as he hoped to still be on good terms with the Gremory since they could be a good ally to him. Yes, I do, and I'm very sorry for what happened. You have my guarantee that you will have the House of Gremory's backup when you get independent, and you are still welcome to come to our estate as we see you as a child of ours as much as Grafia is like a daughter to me and my husband. Then Alana told him, which made him grateful as he bows before excusing himself and leaving, with Grafia telling them that she would later come to tell them something important. As soon as they left, Grafia told Venelana about the danger that was stirring beyond the horizon and told her Sirzech's plan to secure his promotion and to along the way stop a war that would be coming if he or Mau Leviathan was to come to the rescue. Getting a nod from the Gremory matriarch, Grafia excused herself and left to go to Issei's home to let them know what was to come. XXXXXX. Returning home, Issei introduced Lucy and the girls to his parents. The girls were speechless at the beauty of his parents, who looked like they were in their 40s, having only a small amount of wrinkles on their faces. Issei's mom had brown hair that was similar to how Murayama's had hers, and she was wearing a simple pink shirt with brown jeans, while Issei's father, who also has brown hair, though it was similar like Issei's only shorter, he wore a white blouse with black paints, and from the looks of things he was reading himself to go to work. Though when Issei told them that Lucy will stay here with them and that she was his girlfriend, they were in so much shock that Issei's mom fainted, which made Lucy and Chelsea giggle and Murayama and Cadiz to look stunned. As she returned to the land of consciousness, she quickly collected herself before she introduced herself along with her husband. Nice to meet you all. My name is Suna Hayadu and this is my husband Goru Hayadu. It's a pleasure to meet you girls. Please come in and make yourself at home, Suna told them as she gestured them to come in and take a sit. As all of them sat down in the living room with Suna going to the kitchen to make some drinks and snacks, Issei's father started to question Issei on how he meet the girls. Though Issei waited for his mom to return so he wouldn't need to tell the same thing twice. As Suna returned with drinks and snacks, she sat down next to Goru and listened to what Issei told them. Well, Murayama, Cadiz, and Chelsea are in my class. Murayama and Cadiz are kendo club captains while Chelsea is in cooking club, though she doesn't cook that much, she just enjoys eating a hell of a lot of sweets, Issei said with a smirk as he saw Chelsea's face go red with embarrassment. While Lucy just transferred. We met when her school sent a few of their best to ours in a student exchange program a few months ago. She liked it here so much that she fully transferred, Issei told them, though to the girls it was clear that he lied about Lucy as they knew that Issei's parents still didn't know about Supernatural. Nodding in understanding, Suna turned toward Lucy. Tell me, Lucy, from which country are you from exactly? Issei still didn't tell us your surname also. I'm from France, Marseille, a city on the Mediterranean Sea. Mother, and Issei is a little forgetful as he always just tells the first name. But to fully and properly introduce myself, I'm Lucy Renault and I'm also a second year at QO Academy and as of today in Issei's class. Lucy answered as she sent Issei a small glare before she bowed to Suna, earning a small giggle from the woman. A foreigner, and from your name Chelsea I assume that you are also a foreigner, correct? Suna asked Chelsea, which was answered with a nod from the auburn-haired girl. Correct, I'm Chelsea Dalton and I'm from England, Newcastle to be precise, Mrs. Hayato. Chelsea also introduces herself as she smiled a little. Well, it's pleasure to meet not one but two foreigner girls. You can just call me Suna. No need for formalities. That goes to you too also, Murayama and Cadiz. Okay, Suna told them, getting a smile and nod from the girls. After the little chat, Issei excused himself as he took Lucy's hand and took her upstairs to show her where she would sleep. As they were away, someone knocks on the door, prompting Guru to open it. In front of the door was none other than Grafia, though instead of her usual maid outfit she was wearing a black t-shirt with silver jeans and black boots. As she introduced herself as Lucy's sister, she took a seat near Murayama as she made a small conversation with Suna and Guru until Issei and Lucy returned from upstairs. After a minute both Issei and Lucy returned, with the former having dark red face while the latter having a huge smile on her face. Seeing their reaction, Grafia just laughed, knowing that Lucy was a mischief when she was in a mood, and with Issei with her she was always up for trouble. Hearing her sister's laugh, Lucy turned to her and smiled. Sister, glad you can come. Same, though now I have something to discuss with you in private if both Suna and Guru don't mind. Grafia told her as she turned to the Hayato head, seeing him nod. Not at all. Issei, why don't you show Grafia and the other girls your room? I have to go to work anyways and your mother is going to grocery store. Guru instructed as he excused himself before leaving for work. Tea this way, Issei shyly told the as Lucy started laughing at him. Oh, this is going to be fun, she said to herself while Issei pouted and muttered jerk, which made her laugh harder. As they entered his room, Grafia and Lucy along with Chelsea started laughing while Murayama and Cadiz turned red and had steam at all of the 30 posters, magazines and videos he had all around his room. And you are trying to suppress your perverted side, how? Murayama asked as she had steam coming from her ears as her anger rocketed along with Cadiz's. Wait, you two, before you punch my lights out. In my defense, I didn't enter my room for almost a month. And when I was in it I was unconscious and I was too focused on training to beat that chicken to get rid of this stuff, Issei quickly said as he saw that the kendo captains had started to roll up their sleeves ready to beat the crap out of him. What he says is true, Murayama and Cadiz. We train him so hard that when he finished his training in the real world he would just pass out, and we will train him inside of his booster gear. Though I think Deedrag said something about you still being a hatchling, eyes dear. Elsa spoke, stopping the girls from going ape on him as they thought about it for the moment. While Issei was furious at what Elsa said. I'm a hatchling. Oh, when I get there I'm going to kick that old lizard's ass so hard, Issei told with eyes full of anger. Oh, eyes love, don't worry, I will clean the room up later, though I think sister had something to discuss with us. Lucy reassures him with a sweet smile on her face that turned into a mischievous one as she was sure as hell she would tease him as much as she can. Which made Issei turn pale as he saw that smile, knowing that Lucy will make his life a living hell for all the porn he had. Now Lucy, before you make his life hell, please listen carefully to what I have to say, Grafia told them as they took their seat everywhere they could. Good, now Lucy, Issei, what I tell you stays hidden, no one knows about this except the higher-ups in the 3 factions. We have been informed about 2-3 days ago that some holy swords were stolen, and it is suspected that the culprit was one of the fallen angels Cotter class. For those that don't know, the Cotter class is like a Mao and Seraphim in others, meaning they are a leader class. Though the culprit is unknown, we got a message from the leader of the fallen, Azazel, who told us that there were some of his subordinates that were not happy with the peace and that they were willing to start a new war. What I and Sirzech want from the two of you is the following. When the culprit is found, we want you to delay him as much as possible if you can't beat him, as someone of the Maus or maybe Seraphim will come to your aid, as we are sure that whoever it would be is extremely powerful since they most surely survived the Great War. And don't worry, all party leaders agreed that it's better for the higher up to show up and stop it than to let you guy get killed, and makes it a war of vengeance. Grafia spoke in a voice that was dry, making them know that she was very, very serious about this. Nodding in acceptance, Grafia stood up and left via magic, leaving the group there in silence. As the silence grew, both Lucy and Issei were in their thoughts as they knew that something big was coming, though how big was the question. After a few more moments, Lucy snapped back to out of her thoughts as she nudged Issei a little, bringing him back. Looking at her, he saw her big smile. Yes, Lucy, he questioned. Love, why don't you go and buy us something to drink while I and the girls discuss something and clean up your room from this mess? She said in a sweet tone that made him sweat a little, seeing an undertone to it. Nodding, he left the room, going to do what she asked of him. As he was out of the house, Lucy turned to the other girls and smiled again, making them go white. Don't worry, I will not harm you. I'm not like that red-haired bitch who is spoiled so much that she thinks that whatever she wants she gets. So calm down, all I want to talk with you is about eyes, Lucy calmly told them as they relaxed a little. Oh okay, what about him, Lucy? Murayama asked, still frightened of her as she had seen what the silver-haired girl is capable of doing. As I said, I will not harm you in any way, shape or form, so stop being so stiff. I can tell the moment I arrived here in the human world that you three were glad and happy that he returned, but when you saw us holding hands you were completely jealous, Lucy said, making the girls go wide eyes at how easily she read them. How? Kade said as she was shocked at Lucy's words. Yufifuff, don't worry, I won't hold it against you if you try to win his heart. He is a dragon and dragons are known to have harems, so I understand that there would be a lot of girls that would go after him. Though a warning, and remember this well, if you hurt him in any shape or form, I will rip you apart and then use evil pieces to revive you, only to do it all over again. Is that understood? I will do whatever is necessary to protect the one that for the first time in my life, outside my family, showed me kindness and love. So if you plan on using him you better walk away now and I will make sure to forget it like it never happened. But if you plan to use him and play with his emotions like those two bitches, then be prepared to die in a most painfully slow death you can't even imagine. Lucy started in a sweet tone with a smile, before her tone and smile changed to show them that she was dead serious of torturing them until the end of days in a most gruesome way possible for hurting the one that managed to conquer and win her heart and love. Nodding furiously, Murayama, Kade, and Chelsea swore that they will never hurt Issei in any shape or form, making the heiress of the Lucifuge smile in happiness. Lucy quickly hugged all of them, making them surprised at her gesture. You have my blessing to pursue him and I will help you in any way I can. But you have to tell me now honestly, do you want to be with him? Lucy asked them as she wanted to know their feelings towards the one she held up the most in her heart. Yes, they answered honestly and with passion. Smiling again, Lucy told them to tell her their true feelings for the boy as they did. Girls started telling Lucy their feelings for the boy that they all loved. Though while they were talking, they started cleaning his room that was filled with porn and making it more like a normal room than a fuck room. XXXXXXX. As Issei was going to buy something to drink, but he was lost in thought about what Grafia told them. It sounded like they will be fighting for their lives, and that didn't sit well with him. He knew that shit is going to go down the drain quickly and furiously, and that there was a chance that those that he held dearly in his heart would get hurt or worse, dead. As he was walking, he bumped into someone, making both fall down on their asses. Hearing a soft uff that alerted him that it was a girl that he collided, Issei quickly looked in the direction that the voice was coming from. Issei saw that the girl he collided was a teen girl his age that had green hair that was tied up into two ponytails with brown eyes. She was wearing a white robe that covered her whole body with a hood, though when they collided her hood had fallen, letting Issei saw her face, which made him blush a little at her cute face. Though he quickly reminded himself that he now had a girl he loved. So he just stood up and offered the girl on the floor a hand. Sorry about that, I wasn't paying attention where I was going, Issei told her as the girl looked up, seeing his face and the extended arm to her. Why yeah, sorry about that also, the same can be said for me, she answered him in a shy voice as she took his hand and helped herself up. Though as soon as the contact between them was made, it gave both of them an instant feeling of knowing that they are from different factions that were still hostile to each other. Though while the girl quickly started to go for her sword, Issei stopped her before the fight could start with a simple raise of his hand, shaking his head. You don't have to do that. Honestly, I don't have anything against the angels and church, so you can stop. I don't want to fight you, and especially here where there are a lot of people. Though what are you doing here? Huo is devil's territory, you know, Issei quietly told her, since he knew that a member of the church here would spell trouble. Why would I tell you, devil? The girl asked as she took a fighting stance, still not getting Issei's words. I thought I told you I don't want to fight. Anyways, I'm off. I need to buy something to drink for my girl and friends. See ya, Issei said as he casually started walking again, only to be stopped with her words. Wait, can you help me? I know it's bad to ask you for your help, but I need it. I have 2 more comrades. One of them said she was going to visit her childhood friend. I think his name was Issei something, I can't remember. The green hair said as Issei turned around to face her. Hey, do you have a picture or anything that will help you find him, or anything of that sort? Issei said as the girl nodded and gave him a picture with an address written on it. Yes, my friend has gave me this and told me that they would meet me there. I had an hour delayed flight, so they got here before me, the girl told him. Wait a second, this is my home and my address, Issei exclaimed in shock as he saw his house and on the back of the photo his address. Wow, really? So you are Issei Hayato? Brunette said as she looked at him with wide eyes. Yes, I am, though if your friends are at my house that would be very, very bad. Let's move quickly. Follow me, Issei told her as both took it started sprinting at the direction of Issei's house with a girl behind him. Okay, so you know me, but I never heard your name, Issei said as the girl was easily following his speed. My name is Cassie Lockhart, but others know me as Godspeed. Cassie introduced herself to him as they closed in on his home, only to feel both holy and devil power rising. Gulping hard, Issei sped up a little more quickly, entering his home with Cassie behind him, only to see that Lucy was glaring at the blue-haired girl as both of them were releasing a ton of power, while the blue hair was wielding a holy sword that Issei could easily tell from the feeling he got from it. Though to his luck, his mother was still away shopping for supplies, so she didn't see anything she shouldn't. Boy, what the fuck is going on here? Lucy, and you blue girl, lower your aura and stand down. Don't make me use force, Issei shouted as he quickly stood between them, shocking both girls. You are also a devil. Irina, I told you we shouldn't come here, the blue-haired girl said to the chestnut-haired girl with violet eyes and wearing the same with robes with a hood, but with it also being down, showing her face that was in a pout, while still looking at the duo in front of her with her sword at the ready to attack. Though when the chestnut girl saw Issei, she couldn't believe her luck, and her happiness skyrocketed through the roof at seeing her old friend. Issei, is that you? Irina asked as she ran and hugged Issei hard, making both Lucy and the blue-haired girl blink in confusion. Love, you know this girl? Lucy asked, still blinking as she lowered her power. I honestly don't know. Who are you? Issei asked the girl that was hugging him. Issei, it's me, Irina, remember? Irina said, but to her shock, Issei just shook his head. Doesn't ring a bell, he honestly said. Meanie, do you remember the boy named Ren? Irina asked again. That made Issei eyes widen as he remembered his childhood friend. Wait, you are Ren. Aye. Issei just couldn't finish before Lucy along with Kendo Duo started laughing hard at him. Oh, my Issei, there isn't never a dull moment with you, ahaha. Miriama laughed as she bent a little from it, holding Lucy's arm not to fall down, while Cadis was on the ground with Chelsea just shaking her head with a giggle. Cassie was looking at the scene along with the blue-haired girl in shock. She never knew that the boy Irina blabbed about was now a devil, and from the look of him a powerful one at that. So this is your childhood friend Irina. I never thought that you would be a friend of a devil, the blue-haired girl said, making Irina release her hug as she faced her. You know, Zenobia, I didn't know that he became one, Irina answered as she turns towards Issei. On that thought, how did you become a devil? Eyes. I know that you are not religious, Irina asked, but Issei just sighed, deciding that he would answer her later. That is a long story that I do not wish to speak now, at least. Though I have a question. What are you three doing here? I know that you are exorcists, but why are you here is the main question, he said as he looked at the three girls. And how do you know that we are exorcists? Zenobia asked as she narrowed her eyes at him. I have my ways, though I think you will find out soon. So back to my question, Issei answered simply while looking at the blue exorcist with a bored look. You know, love, they are probably what heaven sent to help in the upcoming fight. Though why send you three when I know for sure that heaven has some high-level angels ready to fight? Lucy spoke to them all as she put her head on Issei's shoulder, making Irina a little jealous. Though you all didn't tell us your name and what are you doing here in Issei's house? Irina spoke as she managed to regain control of her emotions. Oh, that's easy. I from now on live here, while the other girls come here on Issei's request. As for names, I will start. My name is Lucy Lucifuge, a high-class devil and Issei's lover and girlfriend, Lucy said as she bowed a little, making Irina have wide eyes as she heard that. But before she could say anything, Chelsea beat her to it. My name is Chelsea Dalton, a human with a sacred gear. Nice meeting you all, Chelsea said as she got closer to Issei and Lucy. Our names are Murayama Yamazaki and Cadis Sato, both said as they also got close to them. I think it's our turn then. My name is Cassie Lockhart Aka Godspeed, Cassie told the as she bowed a little. My name is Zenobia Quarta, Zenobia shortly answered, still not pleased. And I'm Irina Shidu, Ai's childhood friend, Irina happily told them with a huge smile, though Lucy could clearly tell that Irina was jealous of Issei being with her. As the greetings were concluded, Issei decided to see why they were here, which unsurprisingly was because of the holy swords that were stolen. In the meantime, Issei's parents returned and were pleasantly surprised to see Irina again. After talking some more, Irina and her group took their leave, telling the others that they would see and talk to them later. Seeing as it was late, Murayama, Cadis, and Chelsea also told their goodbyes as they departed to their homes, leaving Issei and Lucy to their devices as they both eat dinner with Former's parents, where Lucy was telling them a little about herself before going to sleep with Issei. XXXXXX. As Issei was getting ready for sleep, he heard his door opening. Not giving it much thought as he knew that it was Lucy, he didn't see her coming behind him and softly putting her hands around his neck with her lips millimeters away from his ear. Honey, Lucy whispered hotly in his ear as her hot breath sent shivers of pleasure down his spine as his horny side was starting to overrun him. Seeing her love shivering just from her voice and her words, Lucy decided to mess with Issei a little bit more. Why yes, Issei said as he gulped down hard. What do you say of us having some bedtime fun? Lucy whispered again as she lightly bit his ear, making him go dark red with a nosebleed. Aye. Issei wanted to say it but couldn't as Lucy stopped his brain from working as she was in her mischief mode that Issei was about to learn is deadly to him. Yes, love, you want what? She told us as she bit his ear again and gave it a light lick, sending more pleasure down his spine as Issei's twin was rock hard from her work and his nosebleed worsened. Aye, he again started to say, but Lucy again beat him to the paunch. You want to ravage me, to make me the slutty girl that is craving for you, semen right? Lucy said as she moved her hand away from his neck and started running it down his torso all the way, softly scratching him, making Issei's condition even worse. Don't you want to use that little dragon of yours to make me finally fully yours, hun? giving up on his very little self-control that he had. Issei's mind turned to that of the beast wanting to take her down and fuck her senseless. "Why yes," he answered in a groan as Lucy's hand reached his boxers where his twin was covered. Softly running her hand through his boxers, feeling his rock-hard stick, Lucy licked her lips a little loudly, making Issei almost lose total control. "You know, love, I would like very much for you to fuck me senseless and to make me yours fully," Lucy told him as she bit his neck, this time smiling at how much she was making Issei fight his control, trying not to violate her. Though what she told him was what she really wanted for him to do. To make her completely his, not that she didn't give herself to him already, but she wanted it to be in all aspects of love. "Hell, Lucy, you don't know how much I would like to do all of that," Issei said between moans as Lucy was still running her hand through his boxers, massaging his member, giving him pleasure that he didn't know was possible. "I know, love, I would also love for you to pin me down and do all the stuff you want with me," Lucy answered in a soft, slutty voice as she turned Issei to see her, making him almost come from her slutty voice, her actions, and her looks. Lucy was in her underwear with a bra loosely tied to her body, giving him an almost perfect look at her tits as her right nipple showing a little where her underpants were at an angle, making her even sexier if possible in Issei's mind. Issei couldn't keep it up, as the amount of blood loose from his nose made him pass out from Lucy's looks and words. Looking at Issei's passed out form, Lucy just giggled as she was secretly glad that he managed to keep himself together for as much as he could. Putting him in bed, Lucy fixed her bra and underpants and laid down next to her passed out boyfriend and cuddled next to him as she fell asleep with a huge smile. XXXXX. After that little teasing show, it was morning as both lovers were still in their sleep, with Lucy holding Issei tightly with no intention of letting him go. As the first sun rays hit them, it was Lucy that was the first one to wake up. Opening her eyes, she saw that the love of her life was still sleeping peacefully as his head was between her breasts, making her giggle a little as she remembered last night and the things she did to him. Though as she wasn't a sleepy head as him, she untangled herself and started putting her cloths on with her back to him, though she was soon red with steam coming out of her ears as she heard Issei's voice. "Now, this is what I call a sight for sore eyes," he said with a yawn as he saw Lucy bending down to put on her school uniform, giving him a perfect view. "I'm more than happy to show you this every morning, love," Lucy said, her voice slutty and her movements become a little bit erotic, giving Issei a show with her face still red from his words. Grinning a little, Issei moved a little closer to her before grabbing her waist and pulling her back to bed, which turned him a heap from the silver hair girl. Pinning her down, Issei looked at her dark red face and dark blue eyes that held only love for him. Leaning down, Issei captured her lips with his softly before Lucy, who was melting in his kiss, started to be more aggressive as she brought her hand around his neck with her legs encircling his hips, locking him in place as she hungrily started kissing him. After another session of passionate kissing, both put on their clothes and went to breakfast and headed to school. Along the way they were joined by other 3 girls. With their little group joined together, they made their way towards the gates of the school, not knowing what clusterfuck was about to happen. As soon as they went through the gates, all eyes of the students present there went to them. Though when they saw Issei holding hands with a beautiful silver-haired girl, their eyes widened as some girls were whispering furiously about the girl that was holding hand with one of the most perverted boys in the school, while guys sent death glares at him. Lucy, seeing this, gained a mischievous grin as she stopped suddenly, making Issei almost fall to his butt at the stop of the moment. Though when he turned his head to see why she stopped, his eyes widened as she kissed him on the lips, making other students have an unbelievable face at seeing this. But before anything could happen, Murayama took both of them and started pulling them to class before the chaos could begin. When Issei entered his class, he was bombarded with question after question about the girl that kissed him, but before he could answer, the teacher entered the room and made an announcement. "Settle down, everyone. Now before we begin, we have a new student joining us. Please come in and introduce yourself to your new class." As soon as the teacher said those words, the door opened to reveal a girl that had long silver hair with purple tone to it, and dark blue eyes that as soon as they saw Issei shined in excitement and mischief. The simple look made Issei gulp a little, hoping she didn't do anything too bad. Writing her name on the chalkboard, she turned to class and introduced herself. "Hello, I'm Lucy Renault and I'm from France," she told the class in an elegant voice with a perfect bow that made boys and girls blush at her regal behavior and beauty. "Wow, she is perfect. 835785. Matsuda shouted to the class, earning himself a chop on the head from Issei and a giggle from Lucy. "If I were you, I would shut up," Issei said in a cold voice that made the class stunned. But before the teacher could react, Lucy dropped the bomb that made whole class shock. "Now, love, I thought I told you not to blow up that easily," Lucy spoke to Issei, earning a blush from him as the whole class looked at him in shock. "Hell, love," they all shouted as they saw Issei duck down to evade 2 punches to the face from the perverts who were furious at him, while Lucy just giggled again. "Yes, we are together. You all see me kiss him before school, and before you ask or say something, no, he didn't blackmail me or anything like that. If anything, he helped me return to my senses, and I'm eternally grateful to him," Lucy told the class as their eyes widened. Before the fight could happen between Issei and the boys, the teacher stopped it with a cough and told Lucy to take a seat near Issei, much to her joy. As the teacher went on with his lesson, Issei started to doze off, earning him a light shake from Lucy, which woke him up. The teacher, seeing Issei shaking his head, decided to call on him. "Issei, since you love this topic so much, during what invasion was the German forces pushed back into Poland?" The teacher asked, getting a silent groan from Issei. Looking down for a second, he saw the information and answered respectfully. Operation Bagration, which was launched from Belarus by Soviet armed forces also known as the Red Army. The Operation Bagration ended when Red Army was near the outskirts of Warsaw. Issei replied to the teacher. The teacher smiled brightly, nodding his head. Correct, Issei. Now he was interrupted by the speaker for the announcement system coming alive. A moment later a female voice came over the speaker system. Yuma Amano, Issei Hayatu, Lucy Renault, Chelsea Dalton, Miriama Yamazaki, and Kade Sato. Please report to the Occult Research Club meeting room immediately. Thank you, the announcer said as the teacher sighed. Go on, kids. The rest is homework for you all, which is reading pages 115-125 and complete the worksheet I gave you at the beginning of class, the teacher said as the 6 students left the room towards the orc. XXXXX. Anyone have any idea about why all of us were called? I get Issei, Lucy, and Raynare, but us 3. Cadis asked as they were making their way towards the clubroom. Probably the princess wanting to have all of us there, since Sona Citri, the student council president, told her about 3 exorcists wanting to talk to her, and before Issei says anything, we met her this morning during our morning meeting that he doesn't attend. Raynare answered, getting all of their eyes go wide with shock. Sona is a devil. All of them thought as they saw the girl plenty of times but never bothered to check. XXXX. As they entered the orc, they saw Rias and her group along with none other than Sona, with a student council on one side and the 3 girls on the other. Issei sighed heavily as he and his group entered. So this is the Red Dragon Emperor and the Lucifugere. The girl with short black hair emotionless said as she pushed her glasses up her nose a little. Yes, we are what you say, heir to the Citri house, Lucy said in equal tone as both she and Issei bowed a little. I'm sure that by now you have heard of me, though we could discuss that later. Now back to the topic. Now that Ria's group is here along with the people you wanted, what is that you wanted to say? Sona told the 3 exorcists as Zenobia took the lead in their conversation. What we want, no, what we demand is for you to not get in our way of hunting down those thieves who stole our artifacts, she demanded as she took a hold of what they could tell was a holy sword. Now, Zenobia, we told you to be civil. How can you demand from them something like that when you are hostile? Cassie spoke softly as she stood up and bowed. What my friend tried to say is that we would be grateful if we don't have to worry about you devils joining the ones that stole our weapons. In exchange, we will tell you who stole it. Is it agreeable? That is reasonable. You have my guarantee that the devils will not intervene in the church's business. Issei spoke before any one of the heirs could tell anything, shocking both Rias and Sona. Eyes, what are you doing? Who gave you the permission to agree to something? You are my pawn, behave. Rias yelled as she was at rage at what her piece said. Though before Sona could also said something, Lucy decided to remind them why she was feared. Now, little Winnie bitch, what did I told you about raising your voice at my love? Lucy sternly spoke, flexing her power to tell her no, that she continue what she started and wouldn't stop this time. That made everyone stiffen as they felt her washing over them, as they wanted to be everywhere else except here. Thought while Rias and her peerage were shaking in fear. Sona and her peerage along with the church members drew their weapons and magic at the ready. Though they were shocked when Issei just kissed her cheek softly, gripping her ass, making her power dissipate and making her stiffen a moan that was threatening to escape, as Issei from the looks of thing found one of her sensitive spots. Behave, Issei sternly scolded her as she just nodded her head with a pout, but soon was relaxed with a dark red face and steam coming from her ears as Issei patted her head softly. Excellent, I was waiting for something to spark tension, Kiba suddenly told them as he drew his sword and pointed it at Zenobia, having an emotionless face with eyes that showed pure fury. Shit, what's wrong with him? Issei thought as he saw Kiba attacking Zenobia, who was saved by Cassie blocking his sword with her hand-striped swords. Prep, calm before the storm. As Cassie blocked Kiba's attack, Zenobia unwrapped her blade, but as she was about to attack and strike Kiba, who was still locking blades with Cassie, Chelsea appeared behind Kiba and with a quick chop to the neck knocked him out cold, which prevented even more disaster that would surely happen if Kiba went on a rampage. Sighing in relief, Issei thanked her for her work, making the girl blush at his word before he turned towards Rias with a cold glare that made her shiver. You were saying something, Rias. Looks like nobody in this peerage of yours needs permission, as your own knight attacked an unarmed opponent who comes in peace. Some king you are. His cold words were something that even Sona couldn't expect as she saw his 2 battles with Riser, and she thought that he was devoted to her. Looks like she was very much wrong in her opinion about him. And you know that you could get punished for your words, correct? Sona said, completely ignoring the exorcists that were in the clubroom. And who is going to punish me? Him. Issei answered as his eyes turned a little bit green as his anger rose. Though just as he said that, he saw her whole peerage stand in front of her ready to fight. Watch what you say, Hayatu, you don't want us as your enemies. A girl with long black hair stated. Her hair was long enough that it went to her knees, said as she pushed her glasses up a little with a weapon that appeared in her hand. Yufuf. Now those are some big words coming from worms, don't you think, sister of Leviathan? Lucy asked as she stood in front of Issei with a dark smirk as her fingers started to electrify with high voltage. This isn't about you, heir of Lucifuge. Issei Hayaudu, the pawn of a high-class devil, is overstepping his boundaries. Don't you think that also you are a high-class devil after all? Sona said as she again pushed her glasses up her nose. Yes, you are right, I am indeed a high-class, Lucy said in a calm voice, but before Sona could say anything, Lucy beat her to it. But that also doesn't include me not defending my love, as he is right to say what he wants. He is right about her not having any authority or power for her peerage to follow her aid by example or by will. So you can understand why I'm on his side, as he has both power and will. Also, he doesn't force people to follow him. They follow him because he sets himself as an example and has the courage to do impossible. Hearing those words, Issei blushed hard, as he could clearly see with what passion Lucy said about him. Though while everyone else also heard her words, some were fuming while others in awe at what the silver-haired beauty said. She made it clear that she would stick with him until the very end. That may be true what you say, though that still doesn't excuse him from what he said and in what tone. Sona still pressed. Sona, are you familiar with how Issei Hayaudu become Rias Gremory's pawn? Murayama asked, her voice filled with hate as she was pissed at how the devils operate, though Lucy was one of the devils that Murayama was okay being friends with, as Lucy treated her as her own sister. Unfortunately, yes, he was murdered by the Yuma Amano, or should I say Raynare, in cold blood while Rias knew about it and pick up the scrap. Sona answered, making her own peerage shocked at that. Clearly no one was expecting that. With a nod from Murayama, Cadice was the next to say her piece. So you can see why he is like this, and like Lucy said, I will gladly follow Eyes before I follow Rias, as he never asked or did something so damaging to us. True, we were pissed off at him peeping, but compared to being killed only to be revived and used as a tool is something I will not wish for, not even on my worst enemy, she exclaimed, also in a cold voice, getting a nod from Murayama and Chelsea. Seeing that he had this much impact on the girls, Issei just smiled softly at them before he snapped back in reality as he remembered that there were 3 other people in the room. We can talk later about this. Why don't we return to the subject at hand? You girls were saying. Issei spoke as he turned to the 3 other girls in the room who had shock expressions on their faces. Zenobia was first to break the silence, as she was not too much surprised at what she heard, since she was thought that all devils and fallen were evil. This only solidifies her resolve. Yes, as we were saying, we want you devils not to interfere and do not align with those that stole our swords, Zenobia repeated as she wanted to make it go to their heads. Though we know who stole the swords, and as a friendly gesture we will tell you, Cassie said softly as she was looking Issei dead in the eyes with a sad smile on her face. Please do, and like Issei Hayaudu said, we will not side with any party, Sona said, seeing that Rias was out of commission with a dead look on her face as she was again reminded why he was not listening to her. Good, the one that stole our weapons is a Cotter-class fallen angel known as Cockabeel, and we think he is working with some excommunicated members of the church, Irina told as her happy face turned into a pout. Did you say Cockabeel? Rias finally said as she recovered after what Issei and girl told. Yes, that Cockabeel. He stole 3 holy swords and is most likely here wanting to begin the Second Great War, Irina said as she shook her head. That sound really bad, Cadice said, seeing the solemn mood in the room. It was Lucy who told what it was in the Civil War, as it was the closest to Great War. Though that it was considered big, it was still like a skirmish in comparison to the real thing. Well, I fought in Civil War, and our biggest battle cost over 15 million lives, and the smallest battle in Great War was 10 times bigger than that. That statement sent chills down everyone's spine as they heard the death toll of even the smallest battle, and the biggest one was when the 2 dragon emperors were sealed. We definitely won't want that. Hell, I will help you any way I can just to increase the chances of the true peace, Issei quickly said, still shivering from what his lover said. If my love says he would help, then you have also mine in that. I would rather not go through another war if possible, Lucy also told as she was 100% against another one, as she still needed recovery from last one. Seeing that they have help from the devils, Cassie and Irina smiled through those smiles vanished when Zenobia refused help. I would rather be dead than ask or receive help from devils, Zenobia sternly spoke as she started to go out, only to be stopped by a blade near her neck. Oh damn it, that hurt, though no matter. What do you say about a dual exorcist? Those damn swords you and that Irina girl have are making my blood boil, Tiba said in venom that surprised everyone, as they never thought that they would hear or see the Prince of Kuo say those words in that tone. Turning to face him, Zenobia just raised an eyebrow. And you are, on your superior, Tiba answered with a dark chuckle. XXXXX, as the 3 exorcists stood with their weapons at the ready and in their combat uniforms, which were more like a latex bodysuit. They were faced by Kiba and surprisingly Murayama and Cadice, as they wanted to see how good they can fight against a real opponent. The duo got to use real swords that were provided by Kiba from his gear. Are you all ready? Chelsea said as she took a role of a referee. With the nods from all 6 of them, she shouted for them to begin as Kiba charged Zenobia, while Irina and Cassie did the same as Murayama and Cadice stood their ground with swords at the ready. As soon as Kiba swung his sword down at Zenobia, she simply dodged, as she finds it insulting to use the power of one of the strongest swords in the world against those weak ones. but she was soon forced as Kiba sent another slash at her middle, making her parry it with her blade, making Kiba rage explode even more. So it's true. I knew I sensed us swords, but now I have even more reason to destroy that damn Excalibur. Kiba shouted as he swings again hard with the second blade that he formed in his other hand, making Zenobia back away. So why do you have so much rage at this sword? Zenobia asked as she wanted to know, since it was no secret that Excalibur was now in 7 pieces. That doesn't matter to you, he hissed as he started attacking her again. XXXXX. At the other end of the field, both Cassie and Irina found that the two kendo captains were good opponents, even though that both of them were holding back as not to kill or injure them badly. Not bad, you two. Looks like you know what you are doing. Irina praised as she attacked Cadiz again, only to be parried by Murayama. Well, we aren't kendo captains for nothing, and we are even training in tag team battles, Cadiz said with a smirk as she slashed at Irina, only to be parried by Cassie, who was also impressed. And as you can tell, we are also knowledgeable in tag battles, as the 3 of us are together for 4 years now, and as you can tell, we know each other's weakness and protect them, Cassie said in a soft voice as all of them separated from each other. Though before the second round can begin, they heard Issei yelling at them. Murayama, Cadiz, I think that's enough. You did great, but we aren't here for a real fight, Issei yelled to them as both girls nodded and lowered their swords before bowing and returning to Issei's side, shocking the others. Yeah, I didn't really want to fight anyway, so let's watch Zenobia finish this before we head back, Cassie said as Irina nodded with a smile before she pouts at seeing that Cassie was giving a scanning look at Issei before getting a small trail of pink on her cheeks, though that disappeared as they heard an explosion coming from where Zenobia and Kiba were fighting. Everyone turned to where the other battle was happening, and they saw the whole area destroyed and having craters everywhere, as it looked like Zenobia started using her sword's ability, which was destruction. Damn it, Kiba growled as he stood up weakly with a few cuts and bruises before making a huge broadsword and charged at Zenobia, who just stood in place with a bored look. You never learn, Zenobia said as she ducked under his swing and lodged the hilt to his guts, putting the end of the battle with Kiba on the ground. That's enough. You made your point. We will not disturb your mission, Rias said as she motioned to Raynare to go and heal Kiba, who was out cold. Good, and Sekirute, there is another information that is most critical to you, Cassie said as she was the most composed of the 3. What information? Issei asked in confusion, having a bad feeling about it. The White One has appeared, Zenobia said in serious tone, making Issei go wide eyes. So White Emperor decided to show up, huh? He questioned in his head. Thank you for that piece of info, you are right that it is crucial to me, Issei politely told them, getting a nod from the 3 as they started walking back their base. Bye guys, see you later, Irina shouted as she turned around and waved her hand at them, with Cassie also turning around and giving them a nod. Well, that was eventful, Lucy spoke before she turned around to face Sona and her peerage, who were on near Rias on her left. Now back to the discussion, she said in the dark tone as she started slowly walking towards the 2 peerages that were grouped together. Turning to face her, Sona and her peerage formed a defensive line in front of her. Yes, back to the topic, Sona replied in a neutral tone as her eyes showed no emotion, but in her heart, she was afraid a little as she heard stories about Lucy and her destructive nature. You worm, step aside, I don't want to kill you, Lucy said in a very dark tone as her eyes started glowing in a dark blue as her power started rising. Though before destruction can ensure, Murayama and Cadiz stood in front of Lucy with their backs to the peerages as if they were defending them. You 2 step aside. Even if I treat you like my sisters, that doesn't mean that I will not hurt you to finish what I started with that bitch and her peerage, Lucy said in a low and cold tone that sent shivers down everyone's spine. Elsa's powerful voice was heard as Issei's gear appeared, shocking everyone, even Issei, at this development. Elsa, how did you do that? Issei confusingly asked, only to hear her giggle. Elsa asked in mischief tone, making everyone confused. Yes, but what does that has to do with anything? He questioned, only to hear Duel laughing coming from his gear. Elsa asked the mighty dragon, who grunted in acknowledgement. I would gladly, I can't wait to see their faces though, D-Drag said. His mighty voice turned into a roar of laughter as Issei's gear started glowing brightly red, making everyone shield their eyes from its glow. As the glow started losing his intensity, everyone unshielded their eyes, only to be shocked to the very core of what stood near Issei. Right beside Issei Hayato stood none other than Elsa in all her glory. Though she was a little bit transparent, she was still clearly seen by devils and humans alike as she was standing near him. She was wearing a blood-red long dress that showed her beautiful curves and her body, with her golden blonde hair going all the way down to her middle back as her eyes were closed, and she had a soft smile on her face. Though no one knew who the girl was, it was Issei who first said the words that shocked Lucy, Murayama, Cadiz, and Chelsea, and to some extent even Sona as she heard stories about her. Hey Elsa, Issei yelled as he took a few steps back in complete shock, making him fall on his ass. What? The 4 girls yelled as they never saw her, but they did talk to her. Yuffie, looks like I made quite the appearance. Thank you D-Drag for helping me with this, Elsa said in a sweet voice that was still powerful. D-Drag stated, getting nods from everyone. D-Drag, what the fuck? How is Elsa here? Issei shouted in disbelief at what he witnessed. I will explain, partner. You see, when you were training and summoning your gear and going inside of it in your mind, Elsa constantly sent pulses of magical energy with a little bit of my aid to help you enter it, as it is a daunting task. Though before you say anything, keep in mind that even when we did that it wasn't enough for you to feel it or for your reserves to go up. Think of it as establishing a bridge between us three, Rias said as he was trying hard not to go back to roaring and laughing as he saw Issei and others face it as information. That's right, dear. It was my selfish wish to return to at least a spirit form, and Rias gave me his support. Though I can only maintain this form for an hour or two before returning to the gear. For now, I can go out every 2-3 days, Elsa said as she faced Issei before turning to Lucy, who was looking at her with a shocked expression. So it's true, the past host can return to land of the living, Lucy said, composing herself before moving towards Elsa with her doing the same. I did tell you that it's possible, and now you know, though I wanted to wait a bit before doing this, but you forced my hand, Elsa said in a regal voice as she stopped the only meter away from Lucy. Yes, you did, though without a body you can do so much, but knowing my love, he would find a way to make you real, Elsa, Lucy said in a soft voice as she looked at one of the most powerful users of the gear. True, and when he chooses it, we are going on a date. Hope you don't mind it, Elsa said in a wink, making Lucy laugh as she was enjoying this conversation. The girls in front of her looked similar to her. Powerful, honest, and mischief. Sure, I don't mind. I told the other three the same, Lucy answered with a wink, shocking the others. Wait, you know each other? Issei asked as he looked between two beauties. Yes, love, we had a chance to talk when you were sleeping, and I must say I like your look, Elsa. You really look like a princess, Lucy answered him before commenting. Elsa, Yuffie, why thank you, though it looks like me appearing did the trick. You are now calmer, Elsa softly spoke as she saw the fury that was in Lucy's eyes have disappeared. That may be true, but I won't forget it, Lucy said before turning to face Sona and her peerage. Count yourselves lucky, but if we ever meet in raiding game, I will destroy you like I did to those foolish enough to face my wrath. As Sona was about to answer to that threat, Kiba, who was on the ground, stood up on his shaky legs and started walking away to the shock of Rias and her team. Yudo, where do you think you are going? Rias demanded as Kiba stopped in his tracks and answered her, not turning to face her. I'm going to take a walk. Don't follow me or try to return me back. I will have my vengeance, Kiba said loudly enough for everyone to hear as he started walking again, ignoring Rias' demands for him to return and stop this. Looks like what my love said, it's true. You are horrible, king, Lucy said as she started walking away with Murayama, Cadiz, and Chelsea following her, while Issei and Elsa stood in place looking at Kiba's form that was slowly walking away. Though they were shocked when they heard him mumble, which Issei picked up easily since he was part dragon, devil, making him have enhanced hearing. I'll take my vengeance on those horror blades that killed me and my comrades, even if I die in the process, mumbled in fury as he kept walking away from Rias and the group. Eyes, darling, let's get home. Lucy and the girls will be waiting for you. I will return to the gear for now, Elsa said as she started to disappear back into the gear, though before completely fading, she grabbed Issei's head and kissed him on the cheek, making him go dark red from the kiss. Why yeah, Issei mumbled as he robotically started moving towards his house, leaving disorganized and shocked peerages behind him. XXXXX. As Issei entered his house, he wasn't that surprised to see all the girls in a living room chatting with his parents and having a few laughs. Though when they heard the door opening and Issei entering, the mood changed from joyful to serious as they excused themselves and stood up and went to Issei's and Lucy's room. Seeing this, Issei just sighed before following them to upstairs and into his room, leaving his parents to go about their day as usual. As everyone took their spots in his room that was rid free of all porn he had, Issei just closed the door and leaned on the wall looking at everyone present. So what's with the overly serious mood? Issei asked as he sighed as no one said anything. Okay, you are really going on my nerves. Spill it out now, Issei said as even after a few minutes no one spoke, though his higher voice broke them as they all flinched a little and composed themselves before looking at him. Love, do you know who Cockabeel is? Lucy asked him as she stood from her spot on the bed and walked towards him. Nope, I can only think that he is Cotter class, correct? Issei answered honestly, getting a solemn nod from his lover. That's right, though there also lies one of the few problems, Lucy answered, getting him to tilt his head to the side a little, making her giggle a little. What kind of problems? He questioned as Lucy shook her head a little. The problem of how to stop him. Even in your balance breaker and my power, we still need more to stop him. Murayama and Cadiz may start to learning from me magic, and Chelsea is good in stealth and can possibly get a hit or two on him, but I highly doubt our chances here. And that is with the red-haired bitch and Sona's peerages helping. We are simply outpowered, and of course, he is going to bring a few exorcists and maybe Fallen to assist him, Lucy said, making his eyes wide at her words, seeing her point. What? Mura and Kat started to learn magic? Issei asked in shock, getting a nod from Kendo Duo as both girls put their right hand up and a small ball of flame and ice formed in their hand respectively. Yes, they did. They asked if they can do magic and I showed them and started training them in it. Murayama is good with fire, while Cadiz is good with ice, so they can at least defend themselves a little bit. But that isn't the point now, love, Lucy answered him, making him blink before he nodded. Right, though did you inform Grafia about Cockabeel and all that stuff? Issei asked again, getting a nod from the heiress. Yes, sister told me that when he shows up to inform her and to delay him as much as possible before she or Surzech can muster enough forces to come and stop him. Lucy answered, though there was something that didn't go well with Issei. Something told him that there was more to it than that, but he kept it in as not to make Lucy doubt her sister. Alright, though that leaves us with a few options then, Issei said with a smile, making everyone blink at him. And those are Issei? Candace asked as she didn't see much options. Yay, do tell darling, I love to hear your plan, Chelsea said as she was also in the same pot with Candace. It's simple, though also very dangerous, and before you shout and or hit me, listen carefully, alright? Issei asked softly, looking at the girls who looked at each other before nodding. Firstly, Chelsea, what is your gear and how does it work? I need to know before I tell a plan, Issei asked. My gear is Gia Foundation. It's more like a camouflage gear that lets me be almost invisible and untraceable to those around me, though if someone is way stronger than me they can sense me. Though if I can increase my strength or focus really hard I can hide from them, but it's very hard as I'm left a sitting duck with no power to do anything. Oh, one last thing, I can change shape and have the abilities of that form. Though before you say about me copying your balance breaker, I can't do it, Chelsea said as Issei just nodded at her words. That is deadly if used in the right moment and place. Now with that info, I have a good plan, Issei said as the girls just stare at him, giving him the signal to continue. The plan is following. Chelsea, I want you to follow Kiba and see his movements and what he is up to, and when you can inform me or Lucy, Issei said, getting the nod from the English girl, before turning to the Kendo girls. While Chelsea is busy with Kiba, I want you two to train as much as possible with Lucy in magic, and if possible I will try to have Elsa help as well, since from what I experienced, her magic is deadly. Not to mention that she uses a combination of Slavic and Norse, Issei explained as he got a nod from the mentioned girls. As for me, I will go to see and talk to Irina, Zenobia, and Cassie to see if there is a possibility of working together, since that would increase our chances of survival and give maybe enough firepower to stop that war-hungry idiot, Issei told them as Lucy just smiled at his plan. He really thought about it and it sounded like it had a really good chance of succeeding. Fine love, we will do as you told. Though if you get into trouble just increase your power and we will come to help, alright, Lucy softly said as she lightly kissed him on the lips as a good luck charm. Thanks. Now Chelsea, go, you have a lot to do. Lucy, train them as best as you can, though try not to kill them please, Issei told them as they all stood up and leaving the house before separating as everyone went on their way. With Chelsea going to find Kiba, Issei for the church trio, and Lucy calling her sister informing her about 2 guests that were coming and that she would need her help, which Grafia agreed and sent her coordinates where she would go for training and where she would meet her. As everyone was on their way, Chelsea was looking for the blonde knight of the group, as it was clear to everyone that he was now a ticking time bomb waiting to explode and do something that could possibly start a war. As she was walking for a few hours trying to find him, it started to get dark, and to add more to her tiredness and frustration, it started raining with thunder strikes roaring in the background and flashes. Great, it's raining now and it's going to ruin my hair. Oh, when I finish this I'm going to make darling know not to send me out when there is a thunderstorm, Chelsea mumbled as she was sure to make Issei pay for this. Though her anger died down when she saw Kiba locking blades with a man that was wearing a white robe and was emitting a lot of holy energy. Deciding to get a closer look, Chelsea cloaked herself and made her way closer to the battlefield. As she was getting closer she saw that there were a lot of dead people around them, making her gasp as she was praying that Kiba didn't do it. Though her prayer was heard as she listens what the white-haired boy said, while she was hiding in the nearby forest. Oh, what made you have so much anger, Blondie? The white hair said, making Kiba even angrier. Shut up, Fried, you are making me sick, Kiba answered as he used his sacred gear to try and pierce Fried like a kebab. Though to his irritation, Fried just swiped his sword from side to side, destroying Kiba's attempt, making him laugh. That was nice, but I think it's time to end this. I loved fighting you stinky vermin, Fried said as he charged Kiba, only to be blocked by 2 swords holding his in a deadlock. You, what are you doing here? Kiba shouted at the green hair girl. I'm here to save you, knight. Fried has Excalibur rapidly, so you will have even harder time. And Issei sent us, so don't think anything. If it was our way you would be dead, Cassie said as she pushed Fried back a little, giving her more space to maneuver and show of her speed that was way beyond even the speed that Night Piece or Excalibur could muster. Us? Kiba confusingly asked, only to see 3 more people showing up from the woods. Yes, Knight of Gremory, us. Since the Red Dragon Emperor offered his assistance, we took it upon ourselves to try and find you so you don't go astray. Though now that I see who you are fighting, I'm more inclined to help, Zenobia said as she drew her sword, following her lead. Irina also draw hers as both charged at Fried, while Chelsea sneaked behind Kiba and with a quick chop to the neck knock him out, not giving him time to escape or attack anyone. Finally got you, now I can go to Darling and have him question you, Chelsea said to herself as she watched the exorcists fight the stray priest, and Cassie giving him the most damage with her speed. Though just when Cassie decided to end his pathetic life, someone new showed up, stopping her in her track, as all of them shoot their heads up to see a short man with a mustache wearing a priest uniform. Fried, you should retreat now. You can't beat them, especially Cassie Lockhart. Her natural ability gives her more speed than Excalibur can. And you managed to get 2 more Excalibur users to fight you. Retreat now, Fried. It's almost time for the war to start, the man said as Fried nodded. All right, Father Valper. Bye-bye, girls. Love to fight you, but it's time for good stuff. Haha, Fried said as he was about through the bomb but was stopped with a rope that glowed black with a little purple to it, making everyone look from where it came from only to see Sona and Rias with her peerage and Issei appearing from the magic circle, with a blonde hair boy having the rope come out of his from what they could tell was a dragon-type sacred gear. Nice one, Saji, the white-haired girl said. Saji looked at her and saw she was in a Kyo school uniform. However, the compliment made the boy blush a little. Thank you, Momo, he said with a soft smile, making her blush, though Issei stepped forward towards the girls and knocked out Kiba with Fried trying and failing to cut the rope. Good job, girls. You too, Chelsea. Though did you really need to knock him out? Issei said as Chelsea only whistled innocently while turning around. What did you do to Yudo? Rias demanded to know as she walked forward with Sona and their peerages following, only to stop a few meters in front of Issei, who was glaring at her. Rias, I'm already mad at you, don't make me put you in your place. Besides, if it wasn't for Chelsea and the church trio, Kiba might have been dead by now, Issei told her coldly as he turned around, walking slowly forward towards the out-cold Kiba and Chelsea, who was looking at him with her head a little titled to the side as he gave her a piece of paper. Use it and go to my place with Kiba. I will be back shortly. Okay, darling, Issei whispered into her ear, his hot breath making her shiver a little, though she turned bright red as he kissed her cheek and just nodded to her to go. Fine, darling, but we have a lot to discuss, Chelsea whispered back as she also kissed him on the cheek before stepping closer to Kiba and flaring her power, making the paper glow. Nice seeing you all, though darling says I must go, so bye all of you, talk to you all later, Chelsea said as she with Kiba teleported away. Issei, what is the meaning of this? Rias yelled furiously as she just seen her piece getting kidnapped and the other not at all paying attention to her. Cassie, Zenobia, Irina, you all right, girls? Issei asked, ignoring the even more fuming Rias. Yeah, though what you said was true, Fried has the stolen 3 blades, Cassie said as she walks towards him. Fried, use your holy power to cut yourself free now and let's get out of here, we can't win in this fight. Cockabeel is waiting for us, Valper yelled as Fried quickly did what was told and freed himself. Bye devils, we will meet again, was all that Fried said before throwing his bomb that was a flash grenade, make everyone blind for a few seconds till they could see again. When their sight returned, they all saw that the 2 stray priests were gone. Sighing in relief, Issei turned to the other devils who were glaring at him. Yes, Issei asked as he raised his eyebrow at seeing Kaneko, Akino, Raynare, and members of the student council step forward with their magic and weapons at the ready. You know that what you did can be labeled as a traitorous behavior in action, Sona said in a cold voice as she stepped just in front of her peerage with Rias doing the same. And why would that be the case? Issei asked as he about to flare his power to call for Lucy and Grafia. Negotiation with the enemy. Is it enough or you want more? Sona answered as her peerage started to power up. Also disobeying direct orders from your master and threatening her, Rias said as she along with her group also powered up. Seeing that the fight may be near, Issei turned to exorcists. You girls go to my place, I will be back shortly. There is plenty of food and you can wash up. Feel at home. Irina, you up for showing them the way? Issei told them, getting a nod from the trio. Sure, eyes. Thought, are you sure you want to stay here alone? Irina asked, is she more than willing to fight alongside him? It will be all right, Irina, he is way stronger than the red-haired, Cassie said as the other 2 nodded and left, leaving Issei to smile a little before turning around and becoming serious. Surrender now, Issei Hayadu, or we will be forced to restrain you, Sona said, though Issei just laughs as he flared his power. Now I think someone is more than happy to talk to you now even more, he said with a chuckle as 2 magic circles appeared and from them 4 girls appeared, striking fear into the group as 2 silver-haired girls walked forward while a brown and pink stayed in their place. Oh love, I must say you just gave me a good show. I was getting a little bit bored in the underworld from training without you being there to watch or help in it, Lucy said as she hugged Issei, who smiled at her. Now what happened for to have to flare out your power? Grafia asked as Issei just shrugged and pointed at the powered-up 2 high-class devils and their peerages. That, and I think they need to know that even if they are the sibling of a Mao, that doesn't excuse them, Issei said as Lucy let go of him. I'm taking Leviathan's sister, you can have fun with Rias, my love, Lucy said as her eyes started to glow. Works for me. Grafia, please don't intervene, Issei said as Grafia just nodded and backed off to the kendo girls who were looking at the duo about to fight, while Sona and Rias looked in shock that Grafia is doing what Issei said. What? You are obeying what he is saying, Grafia? When brother hear of this he is. Rias started to rant but was stooped when Issei got fed up and yelled something that made all of them shiver in fear. Balance breaker. Welsh dragon scale male. Issei yelled. Welsh dragon balance breaker. D-Drag roared. As those words were said, Issei's booster gear appeared and started to glow in the red light before the light engulfed him, blinding all of them for a moment. Though when they could see, they saw him standing with his balance breaker armor on him. Now shall we dance? Issei asked as Lucy just giggled. I never thought you would ask, hun, she answered as they both charged at the group, surprising them. Kaneko, block him. Raynare, Akino to the air and bombard him. He can't keep up long with fighting all of us in that armor, Rias ordered as they nodded and went to work. Saji, Ruruko, Tamo, Yuri intercept her. Nippon can promote. Momo, Rhea start bombarding, Tsubuki stays with me, Sona ordered as both pawns promoted to queen and went on head first toward Lucy, who grinned. Oh, this is going to be fun, Lucy thought with a sadistic grin as she started to make many magic circulars around herself, still going full speed at them. As the front-line force was in striking range of Lucy, she suddenly jumped into the sky before unleashing a humongous storm of a magic blast at the attacking force, making them start to evade. Though that also gave the opportunity for Sona's bishops to attack as they also unleashed their attacks, though they were blocked by a large red energy blast that intercepted them. Turning around, they saw Issei holding Kaneko in the headlock while creating a large barrier in front of him, stopping Raynare's and Akino's attacks. Thanks for the save, hun, Lucy said with a wink as she turned towards the bishops who were charging another attack. You are more than welcome, dear, though time to turn up the heat, Issei said as he boosted again, increasing his power even more. Boost, 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 boost. Letting go of Kaneko, Issei sent her flying with a powerful hit to the chest while he started to dodge Akino's and Raynare's attacks with ease. Is this the best you can all do? He taunted as he was getting bored of this. Hell, Elsa and Drake, even on a minimum of their power, were making him work hard. This, on the other hand, was like a walk in the park. Why, you weakling? Raynare yelled as she formed a light spear and charged towards Issei. Though just as she was about to pierce him, he disappeared and appeared near Akino, surprising both girls with it. Now for you, my queen, Issei said in cold voice as he sent a kick that she barely dodged. Yuffie, you are fiercer than usual. This is turning me on, Issei, Akino said as she licked her lips with electricity cracking from her hand as she sent bolts of lightning at him. Though the bolts hit Lucy's own bolts, who appeared in front of Issei, defending him with her own electricity. Though what caught everyone's eyes was Lucy laughing in delight. Oh, what do we have here? I missed it last time I kick your asses. Though I noticed it this time, you are half fallen. Now I know why you are this seductive and how your lightning is this powerful, Lucy said as she whispered something to Issei, making him nod as Drake's voice was heard roaring boost. I'm nothing like those creatures, Akino shouted in fury as she sent bolts of electricity at Lucy that were followed with a rain of light spears from Raynare. Hun, Lucy asked as Issei put a hand on her shoulder while giving a mental command that Drake obeyed. Drake roared as Lucy's power skyrocketed to the skies, making even Grafia started to sweat a little bit. Oh, this is so GG good, Lucy moaned as she felt Issei's power overflowing in her, making her blush a little at the thought of him overflowing her in other places. Though she quickly returned to the battle as she formed a huge shield that blocked all of their attacks with ease. Finish them. I will hold off Sona's group, Issei told her as she nodded with a smile as both of them blurred, disappearing into nothingness. Where did they go? Rias yelled as she couldn't see or feel them anywhere. That was until they heard a yell of pain coming from Sona's knight and Rook as they were sent into the trees, making all of them have wide eyes as they saw Issei creating a large ball of energy in front of his hand. Seeing that if something isn't done quickly they would lose, Rias decided to risk it all in an attempt to stop Issei. Stop him, now, Rias yelled as the ones that were attacking Lucy charged at Issei, surprising both of them at this, though that was a costly mistake, as Lucy, seeing that she was free from the attackers, charged in high speed at an undefended Rias, surprising her and her peerage who were on their way to stop Issei. Kicking her hard with a roundhouse kick to the head, Lucy sent her flying hard to the trees where Rias went through two of them before stopping on the third with her head, hitting the ground first as she was knocked out cold. Idiot, was what Sona said as she knew better than sending all of her fighting force against the two, which was proven to be a recipe for disaster. She on purpose held her queen near her to at least delay one of them till the others could come to defense. All of you retreat, it's pointless to fight them like this, they aren't even using their full power against us. Akino, get everyone else to collect her and take her back to the Orc. Student Council, we are heading back. Issei, Hayatu and Lucifuge don't think this is over. What you did was traitorous, and the higher-ups will hear about what you did. Sona spoke as she saw that this was a losing battle. She couldn't risk losing her peerage only to subdue one of them. Though as the retreat order was issued, Issei released his armor, returning in his base form. Though as Sona said those words, Grafia decided to correct her. Lady Sona, if you think that what Issei Hayatu did was traitorous, then you should know that he was given full permission to negotiation with the church members in hopes of you and Rias not dying and having a bigger chance of winning against Cockabeel. So I would consider that you wisely do not speak of this, since your attack against a future head of Lucifuge house. And I think that even the Citri and Leviathan would not want to hear this, since it's like attacking a Mau, as the members of Lucifuge are the ones that are the closest to the Lucifer. Grafia said in strict voice, making it crystal clear that even her sister would be smart enough to not talk about this. Sona just nodded with wide eyes and teleported with her peerage along with Rias and her peerage that were pale with the said king out of commission, leaving only Issei and the Lucifuge sisters and the Kendo duo. Well, I think Leviathan will be pissed at us over this, Issei said as he scratched his head while thinking. You don't have to worry about it, Eyes. I will make sure that Leviathan does nothing bad to you. We will say that this was a sort of training practice and that both kings needed a lot of experience to fight someone even just above their level. If they continued to fight a delaying battle against you, they would have won a war of attrition and could gather their forces to fight Lucy to maybe a stalemate. Though Ria's stupid decision decided the battle like how it was in the raiding game against Riser. If she didn't hold on to the healer and the tier, she could have helped both Akino and you to win with you transferring your power to them overpowering Riser. Grafia explained, earning a nod from all of them. Well, now that that's settled, let us return home, Lucy. Grafia, Mira, Kat. You are more than welcome to come and have dinner at my place. The exorcists are there also resting. Issei told them as he took Lucy's arm and starts walking home with the kendo duo following them. Grafia just smiled before calling Surzech, telling him that she would have dinner at Issei's place and that she had to tell him something important later. Grafia just smiled after Surzech told her it was alright, and she started walking towards her future brother-in-law house. As Grafia walked, she started thinking of how she could accelerate Issei's rise to high class, as she now, even more, was sure that Lucy and Issei were perfect for each other. XXXX. Getting home, Issei stumbled upon a scene that made him chuckled. Irina was lying on the floor with her hair over her face with her feet on Zenovia's head as the said girl was leaning onto Cassie, who was watching a movie, not minding her two sleeping companions at all. As Issei got closer, he mentioned to others to keep quiet as this will be interesting. As he was near her, Issei put his lips near her ear, whispering a lullaby word to her, making her eyes grow a little heavier as she was starting to slowly go to sleep. Though just as she went to sleep, Issei made his move, and since his parents were out having their walk, Issei summoned his gear and told D-Drag to shout boost as loud as he could. That idea made the mighty dragon roar in amusement as he complied with it. Bringing his gear near the half-asleep Cassie, D-Drag roared so loudly that it made the whole house shake, scaring even Lucy and Grafia from his mighty roar. That made all three girls yell as Issei started rolling on the floor laughing, seeing all three of them hug each other with white faces, scared to death by D-Drag's voice. Issei, Irina, Zenovia and Cassie shouted as they all brought their weapons into view, but stopped as they saw that Grafia, Lucy and the kendo captains were on the floor laughing at their reaction, as it was priceless to them. Feeling embarrassed, Cassie just walked to Issei and pulled his ear hard, making him yelp a little while laughing. That wasn't funny, eyes, Cassie said with a cute pout that made him blush a little, still laughing and in pain. Yes, sorry, ouch, it was fun, from our angel, ouch, Issei said between laughs and pain that Cassie was putting his ear go through. Really, Cassie said as she turned around, still having a cute pout that made Issei smile with a soft blush from her cuteness. Awa, it wasn't that bad, Lucy said as she somehow managed to gather control over her breathing. Oh, I needed that, it has been a while since I laughed this much, Grafia said as she also managed to stop laughing. Grafia's voice made all three girls tense and put up their guard, though Grafia, easily seeing their action, knew why they were pent up. I'm not here to fight you, I'm here as a support more. You can lower your weapons, Grafia told them as she went into the kitchen to make some tea for them. What she said is true, she is way stronger than all of us combined, so just take a seat and let's relax. Though where is Chelsea? Issei asked, not seeing the auburn girl anywhere. Oh, she is in the guest room keeping an eye on that night. She said she will come down when you guys come, Irina answered with a smile, making Issei nod. Oh, darling is back, how nice. A voice was heard as all of them turned to the stairway to see Chelsea sitting on one of the stairs while having a sweet smile. Though in Issei's case it was way too sweet. See Chelsea, what did I do to have you mad at me? Issei said nervously as Chelsea stood up and started walking slowly towards him as he backed up. Now, let me think. Okay, darling. He told me to look for Kiba. That took 4 hours to find him, and there is also a thunderstorm with wind and thunder that was roaring. Can you guess why I'm about to kill you? Chelsea said in a sweet tone, making Lucy and other girls laugh as Issei turned pale as he put the dots together, and it was spelling to him a world of hurt. Is there anything I can do to make you overlook this? Issei asked as he gulped a little. I will think about it, but since Kiba is about to wake up I will take a rain check on that, Chelsea said, making Issei sigh in relief as he dodged the bullet. Thank you, Chelsea. Though I will go get Kiba, you all sit down until I get him, Issei said as the girls nodded and went to take a sit with Grafia serving tea to them. It didn't take long for Issei to return as he was dragging Kiba with him while the other tried to do anything to get out of the grip of the angry dragon who was looking like he was about to kill him. Sit down, Issei said to him as he threw him to the empty sit while standing in front of him. What do you want, and why are they here? Kiba asked as he saw the church members looking at him with curiosity. What I want is to know why you are acting like an idiot. As for them, they are my guests and I doubt they will attack you with Lucy and Grafia here. So spill it out, why are you so hell-bent on destroying those swords, and what did you mean by horror blades that killed you and your comrades? Issei asked in a powerful voice that made Kiba and the girls shiver a little bit, as they were certain something bad will happen if Issei doesn't get the answer he wants. As Kiba looked into the eyes of the pawn, he couldn't help but shiver from the intensive glare and threat he was giving him. Deciding not to test his luck with him, Kiba sighed before nodding to him, making the pawn decrease his glare and back off a little bit. What I tell you is a horror that I and my friends went through before we were murdered in the most gruesome way. Though why I managed to escape before I died, it was because of them that I become a devil under Rias, and they are my constant reminder of why I live and breathe now, Kiba told them in a cold voice, making some girls gasp. Please do tell Kiba. If there is a way to help you, we will make it happen, Issei said as he put a hand on Kiba's shoulder, giving him a short nod before taking a seat next to Lucy, who took his arm. There is only one way to help me, and it is for me to destroy those cursed swords, since it is because of them that my friend and comrades died, Kiba said before taking a deep breath. Now for the story. It all happened 10 years ago. I was an orphan who was living in a church and was a believer in their ways. Though sometime during that time a new bishop came and stated that the Vatican ordered some experiments to be conducted in the hopes of making artificial holy sword users. So, we all gave our best effort to help in any way we can. They took our blood, make us do all kinds of exercises, sword combat, magic training, but in the end, even after almost a year after it all beginning, we couldn't hold a holy sword. Kiba said in a sad tone as he dithered his knuckles hard, making some blood come out. So, they just decided to execute all of you because you couldn't hold a holy sword. And something tells me that holy sword is none other than Excalibur. And they say we are evil, Lucy said, connecting the dots that Kiba said while shaking her head at the conclusion. Yes, it just like you said. We trained to be able to hold it, but we just couldn't, so one day they gathered all of us in one room and let poison gas on us. The weakest of us were the first to die, while the stronger soon followed the same as they couldn't keep it up anymore. After 10 minutes only, a few of us were alive. Though when the guards opened the door we took the chance and make our escape. Some were shot down, some died from too much inhalation of the poison. I was the last one that died. Though those that died made sure to fall into the path of the guards so that those who escaped had even a second more to get to a safe haven. Kiba continued to talk while tears started falling from his eyes as he thought about the events that transpired on that fateful day. With a heavy sigh and deep breath he continued the story that was already horrified to the church members and the kendo duo, who also had tears in their eyes at the story. After running for more than 5 minutes in knee-deep snow, I was so weak and tired from the poison and running that I just fell face first into the snow. Though before death took me, Rias appeared in front of me. She told me that it was a waste to lose such good potential and gave me a new life as a devil. From that day on I pledged my allegiance to her unconditionally, though I still vowed to destroy the thing that took my friends away from me. That's why my hatred for the Excalibur swords is so strong, and I will destroy them even if it cost me my life. Kiba finished his story in a strong, hateful tone that some very shocked to hear from him. After a few moments of silence, Kiba stood up about to go hunt, no doubt freed, and finally attempt to destroy the sword that he hates with every fiber of his body. Though his movements were stooped when Issei spoke, followed by Cassie and Irina. So that's why you are rushing into your death. Well, how about you wait for a moment, so we can tell you something interesting. Sounds good, Issei spoke, getting Kiba's attention as he turned around to look at the pawn of their group. And what if it is that? My life is mine alone. I do care for our peerage and I will defend everyone there, even you. But this is something personal. And what do you hate to tell that is interesting him? Kiba strongly told Issei, who also stood up, and as the two men in the group stared down each other unflinching, Lucy just sighed. Is this going to be a long night? And she wanted to sleep. All right, this is getting nowhere. Love, tell us what is so interesting. It's getting late and I want to sleep, so spill it now, Lucy said in a strict voice that made both Kiba and Issei flinch from her voice alone as she smiled sweetly at them, making them sweat a little. Remembering how Lucy can be when pissed, and that was something that both guys agreed silently not to feel her wrath again. Alright, Kiba, what is interesting is that the church trio and I made some sort of alliance to help both sides to survive this shitstorm that is about to be unleashed. Though before any of you say anything, I'm helping them as a dragon, not a devil, so it's technically alright to cooperate, as dragon are neutral in the conflict of Great War. And to add something in exchange for them having my assistance, I made a deal that they allow you to destroy one of the Excalibur cores, Kiba. Though you need to help also in that if you want a chance to avenge your friends, Issei said, making the devils and human girls gasp at what he told. They were shocked to hear that he was willing to intervene in the affairs of the church so that he could help someone. Why? Kiba just asked, getting Issei to title his head a little bit at his question. Why what, Kiba? Issei questioned as he didn't get what he was asked. Why would you do such a thing? Kiba elaborated his question, getting a nod from Issei. Well, that is easy. Even though I do hate Rias and I'm not on the best terms with others, I still want to help you all. And after hearing your story, it's natural that I will help any way I can help so that you can stop this feud that is holding you back, bro. Issei explained it to Kiba as he looked at him with wide eyes. He thought that Issei didn't want to do anything, but it looked like it was only directed to Rias, not to the others. If that is the case, then you have my full help in any way and form, Kiba said, making all of them smile. Good, then we will rendezvous here tomorrow after I's finish school to plan what do next, Cassie told them with a smile as the church trio stood up. Yeah, we will see you all later. Stay safe, and with any luck, we will find them soon, Irina said as she started hopping from one foot to other as she had a huge smile on her face as they left the house, followed by Zenobia, who every now and then sent a small look to Kiba. I'm taking my leave also. I will contact you later, Issei. Good night, guys, Kiba spoke after the church members left, as he also took his leave to rest for the next few days of chaos. As soon as Kiba left, Kendo Duo along with Chelsea left with Grafia, who teleported back to Underworld, leaving Issei and Lucy alone. As soon as Grafia left, Lucy took Issei's hand and dragged him to their bedroom, with a mischievous smile that was hidden from Issei. Hun, what do you say about us having some fun tonight? Lucy seductively told him as they entered the room that was in pitch darkness, though to them it was like the lights were on. What do you have in mind, darling? Issei answered also in a seductive tone as he was sure as hell that he won't lose to her like last time. Why, I'm thinking about us joining together. Didn't you love Lucy said as she pushed Issei on the bed quickly as she sat on his lap with a smirk and a huge blush as steam was seen going from her ears, as she felt him becoming hard as a rock. She quickly realized that if they didn't have clothes he would be in her right now and she would love to feel her love inside of her very much. Hee, you really want to do it, don't you? My future queen, Issei asked as Lucy gasped as she heard what he told her, as she understood what piece she would be when he gets his pieces and that he had so much trust in her and that his love for her was undying. More than anything, my king, Lucy said as she bent down a little, capturing his lips with hers as she run her arm all over his torso, while moving her hips, getting a moan from him as her thighs were rubbing against his member. Then who am I to disappoint you, my queen? Issei said with complete lust, as they both parted for air, with one of his hand going from her hair all the way to her ass as he softly grouped it, while the other hand grabbed her breast, squeezing it softly, making her moan as she started to feel hot under her collar and pants from the way he was talking and touching her right buttons. Make me yours fully, my love, I want you, I need you, Lucy said as she was barely holding herself sane with her face red from the pleasure and embarrassment of what he was doing to her. As Issei started to touch and explore other parts of her body while kissing her hungrily, making even hornier as her face resembled the color of his balance breaker. With pleasure, my darling, Issei spoke hungrily in her ear, biting it a little, sending her near the edge. As they continued to make out while exploring each other's body, they fall to notice two magic circles forming in their room. They were too much focused on each other and only realized that someone had come when they heard someone caught abruptly, making the two lovers move their head a little to the side to see a grinning like a madman Surzech and a fuming Rias beside him. Groaning in displeasure, they separated from each other as they fixed their clothes, with their moment and mode ruined. What do you two want? Issei asked as he was feeling irritated that his alone time with Lucy was interrupted by Gremory's siblings. Sorry for this, Issei. Lucy, if I knew I would have postponed my arrival. Surzech responded with a sly smirk, which was awarded by a chop on the head by his sister, who was still fuming over the battle and Lucy kicking her in the head. Brother, this isn't the time. We are here so that Eyes and Lucy can answer for what they did. Rias sternly spoke as she glared at the Lucifuge heiress, who had a huge cat-like smirk on her face, and her pawn, who just chuckled. Ouch, Rias, that hurt, Surzech said as he started to nurse his head. Now, dear brother-in-law, what did my future king and I did to make you come all the way here, and without my sister, I might add? Lucy politely said, making the siblings' eyes go wide. What did you just say, you whore? Rias asked as she started to release her aura that started to disintegrate everything in Issei's room, making the owner even more pissed. Rias, if you valid your life, you will stop with your childish insults and stop destroying my room. Issei shouted, making the Gremory heiress flinch from his shout. You worthless pawn, zip it, I will punish you later. First I need to repay that bitch for that hit from earlier, Rias said with authority, though that only awakened the sleeping dragon, who was now so angry that his eyes started to flash green while Lucy's eyes started to glow dark blue at the insults that the Gremory heir was sending, and a threat which in Lucy's opinion only made her forfeit her life. Seeing this made Surzech flinch a little, as he could have sworn that he saw death itself manifest in the two teens' eyes. Quickly caught in his fist, he made the two looked at him with the same eyes that sent a shiver down his spine, but he needed to intervene before Rias becomes a million pieces puzzle. Eyes, Lucy, please calm down. Rias, it is enough from you. If you want to live and not make yourself a million pieces puzzle, you better zip it yourself. I, for one, don't want to face a wrath of the heavenly dragon and ice and lighting princess, as I know firsthand how powerful Lucy is, and I can only fathom Issei's juggernaut drive, Surzech said quickly, making his sister gasp at what she heard. But they, Rias started to say, only to be quickly silent by Lucy, who was now so extremely angry at her that it made the whole room started to freeze as the windows started to have ice on them and electricity in the room to flash every so often as her powers were starting to flux the more she was pissed. You worthless, spoiled, bitch princess that is good for nothing that to blab around and demand anything that her body can't get her. One more word from you that I don't like, and you will pray to everyone you know and beg for death. I only need a second to kill you, and then I can show you true horror and pain that will make even the most sadistic and brutal people shiver in fear. Just insult my love again. I will slaughter you and use all the evil pieces in Underworld to revive you every time I kill you, only to do it again. And I'm very, very creative when it comes to torture and killing, especially spoiled whiny brats that think that are above everything and everyone. They didn't call me the Death Incarnation for nothing in the Civil War, and I'm more than happy to show you just why I got that nickname. I could have killed you 1,000,001 times in that little skirmish we had when Chelsea took Kiba, but out of respect for Surzech, my sister and my love and future master, I hold massively back. Don't tempt me to show you the power that was last seen in the Civil War, as I'm sure you heard stories about it, and what happened to the battalion of high-class devils and ultimate class that faced my wrath, Lucy said in a deathly calm and controlled voice as her eyes were glowing in regal dark blue as everything in the room started to freeze up and the temperature dropped dramatically, making the males to shiver from the cold and Rias to start to shiver from fear at what this monster said. She thought that she could do anything she wanted because her brother was Lucifer. It looks like even he has something that he is afraid of, and the silver-haired girl was one of the very few people that the great Surzech was afraid. Hell, Lucy, please calm down. As I already told you once, I still have nightmares from those eyes, and the cold doesn't help also, so please calm down. Rias will keep quiet if she says anything that disturbs you. You are free to disassemble her. Now please lower your power, Surzech said as his teeth started to flush from the cold. Hearing what her brother said made Rias gasp in horror as she thought that her brother would do anything to protect her even if she didn't want it. But to hear his word made her to start to cry. Fine, Surzech, I will stop. But this is literally her final warning. One more smart remark and you will get her back in envelopes with her pieces in it, Lucy said as she decreased her power, making the two men sigh in relief. As Surzech nodded in fear of Lucy doing what she said. Now to the business, why are you here? Issei asked as he used the fire magic that he learned from Dreg and Elsa to warm everyone, as he was the one that had kept himself somewhat warm by his fire that was barely sustain his temperature from Lucy's ice. Thank you for that. Yes, well, for why I come is for two things. One, why did you guys fight Rias and Sona in their peerages, and two, for you eyes to meet someone that can give you some tips on how to beat Cockabeel, Surzech explained, getting a nod from a brown-haired boy. Well, the first is easy. We were labeled as traitors by your sister and Sona, so we had to fight to keep us free. Don't worry, we didn't hurt anyone too much. Lucy was the one who knocked out Rias when I started to generate my dragon shot attack, as Rias let herself open by ordering everyone in her team to stop me, leaving Lucy alone to come to her quickly and neutralize her with one kick, I might add, Issei explained as Lucy started to sport a grin as she giggled as Surzech's face turned pale. Don't worry, brother-in-law, I only kick her in the head and sent her flying into the woods. Though that was fun, I should really start training again if I wish to serve my love faithfully and to the best of my abilities. Since I will become his queen, it's only natural to improve myself, Lucy sweetly told him as some color returned to him as he sighs in relief. Thank you for not beheading her, Surzech said as he turns to Rias, who had her head down. And you really need to learn some battle tactics. That stupid decision could cost you the battle in the game and life in a real fight. I heard a report that Grafia made, and from it, you are lucky that Serafal is reasonable. While it is true that she would come here to deal with Eyes and Lucy, she also understands the importance of experience. So, Serafal is Leviathan and Sona's sister, right? Issei asked, getting a nod from Amau. That is correct. And while she is overprotective of Sona, Serafal also knows when she needs to close her eyes, as she was the one that fought in the war, and know how experience is the best way to improve yourself, Surzech said, getting a nod from both teens. Okay, what about that someone that will help with Cockabeel? Issei asked, getting a nod from Surzech. Yes, fair warning, Eyes. You may not like it, but he is the only one aside from angels that know Cockabeel the best, so be sure to listen to what he says. Lucy, you can come with him as well. It's only fair for the queen to accompany his king, Surzech explained, getting a nod from both. Understood. When do we leave? Lucy asked, getting a smirk from the Mao. Now actually, please step through the circular, Surzech said as he made a magic circular. I will inform you if I learn anything of importance, Issei said as he and Lucy left, leaving the siblings alone. You just don't learn, do you, Rias? You really want to die that badly? Lucy and Issei are leagues ahead of you in power. Start improving yourself and start training. From what our mother told me, you are extremely lucky. Issei and Lucy both were willing to fight her. Though they combined are about 40% of her full power, she was sure that it would be drawn-out fight, and with Issei using his gear, he could have given enough time, overpower her, and I'm sure that Lucy will do all she could to delay the battle with her and protect Issei for him to finish her off. So, start using your head for once and start training if you ever want to beat Lucy and Issei, and become the rating game champion, Surzech strictly told her as they both vanished, with Rias in tears and angry about what she learned and heard. She was sure that she would make that bitch pay dearly, and Issei to see how wrong he was about her, that she vowed to herself on the Gremory name, XXX. As they appeared, both Lucy and Issei expected to come to some huge mansion or castle, but to their confusion, they found themselves in front of a 3 stories high house that had a balcony on the 2nd and 3rd floors with a nice garden in front of the main door. Is this the real place where we are supposed to meet this guy? Issei asked Lucy, who just shrugged, not knowing also. Well, what do you say about knocking on the front door, love? She asked, making him nod as both walked in front of the door, and with 3 light knocks from Issei, not a minute later the door started to open. Well, look who came. If it isn't the Red Dragon Emperor and the heiress of Lucifuge House. Please come in, come in. Surzech already informed me of your arrival and your name, so you don't need to be hostile, the man who opened the door said. From what Botines could see, he was a tall man in his late 20s with black hair with golden bangs and black goatee. He wore a simple black t-shirt and black jeans. As both teens put up their guard, it only made the man laugh, seeing them ready for a fight. I thought I told you, I know about you from Surzech's. Now come, and I have something to tell you about Cockabeel, if you plan to beat him, that is. Stepping in front of Issei, Lucy harshly spoke. Who are you and why would we listen to you? I'm going to give an earful to Surzech about this. All your question will be answered when we take a sit and have something to drink. Don't worry, I'm on your side, the man said as he started walking back into the house, with both teens reluctantly following him. As they all made their way toward a living room, the man told them to sit down as he went into the kitchen to bring some drinks and some snacks for the young couple. I don't trust him, I can feel fallen energy from him, Lucy whispered to Issei, who nodded in response. Same, keep your guard up at all times, he whispered back, getting a nod and a quick kiss on the cheek which made him turn a little red. Not a moment later, the man returned with a few drinks and some snacks before he took a step back and released his wings, introducing himself while shocking the teens. Now introductions are in order. My name is Azazel, the leader of Gremory, and I'm here to help you two in the fight that is sure to come any day now, Azazel said as his 12 black as night wings popped out. That Azazel is in that Azazel from the Bible, Issei asked, as he knew that even in full power both him and Lucy will be dead 10 times by now. Yes, that Azazel, though like I said, I'm here to help, so don't worry, he said calmly as the couple was still a little bit scared. Why would you want to help us, especially when it comes to one of your own? Lucy asked, as it was strange for the members of the Gremory to stop each other. Well, young one, it's very simple. I don't want to wage war. I was my whole life on the front line, and when a truce was agreed, I decided to make sure that the fallen stay as peaceful as possible and not to stir the pot too much, as we are already in small numbers, he explained, getting a nod from the heiress. Okay, that you suggest we do to stop that idiot who wants to start a new great war? Issei asked quickly, getting a chuckle from the leader of Gremory. Oh, it's simple. You need to beat him to submission or freeze him in the coldest ice you can, though you still need to beat him so that he doesn't have enough power to free himself from it. Though since you are Red Dragon Emperor, I think ice isn't your best element. Though Lucy was it, she is after Seraphal and Grafia, the strongest ice user in the supernatural world. She could with a little boost from you freeze him, Azazel explained, making their eyes wide. Oh boy, was all that Issei said as he put his hand on his head. He knew it would be hard, but to think that he would most like have to go all out and over it to get his power to the level where Lucy could put him into freeze state was challenging enough already. Any other information? Lucy said, seeing her lover had a hard time thinking of what to do. Yes, there is. I will also send someone to help you in your battle, though when he will arrive is entirely on him, Azazel said as he took a shot of whiskey that he poured. Great, can this get any worse? Issei rhetorically asked, not expecting any answer, though Azazel had other ideas. There is actually. Whatever happened, you must keep Rias, Sona and Lucy safe, Issei Hayaudu. If one of the three dies, all hell and heaven will break loose, since those three are what Cockabeel is aiming for. The church members were sent from Michael, so he knows that chances are slim, and he sent them as a more of support for the heavy hitters in the devil's ranks. Like you, if used correctly, you can achieve something even greater than the most supernatural has seen, Azazel said, getting a nod from Lucy, but Issei was not so much interested. I promised Grafia, Sirzech, Lucy, and I made a vow to myself that I will protect Lucy at all cost, even if my life is forfeit. Though I won't give me life for two spoiled princesses that are thinking that they are the most important beings in the world. So, I will achieve a third of the objective for sure. Lucy will be safe. Rias and Sona don't care honestly, Issei replied, getting a nod from Azazel. While I know what those two did and how Lucy and you handled the situation, Seraphal will not be happy and will probably kill you in an instant along with me, so for our combined sake, please protect both also, Azazel said pleadingly to Issei. I will think about it, though I'm not making any promises, Issei said as they all changed the topic to another one, as they started to get to know each other better, with Lucy giggling and adding a few things in between. XXXXX. Returning home, both Lucy and Issei just went to bed and get some sleep, with Lucy cuddling tightly in Issei's embrace as it was for her like a lifeline. Though not a few hours later, Lucy woke up as she heard something knocking on the window of their bedroom. Lifting herself up, she rubbed her eyes a little. What was making so much noise? Getting to the window, she saw that Cassie, Murayama, Cadice, and Chelsea were the ones that awakened her from slumber. Using magic, she quickly dressed and teleported in front of the group, taking Cadice's hand before she could throw another pebble at the window. You do know what time it is, right? Lucy asked angrily, as she was clearly wanting to return to her lover's side to sleep peacefully. We know, but there is a huge problem. Cockabeel is attacking the academy now, Chelsea said, making Lucy go wide eyes at that. What did you just say? Lucy asked, still thinking that she heard it wrong from her sleepy state. It's like Chelsea said. Cockabeel is attacking the QO Academy. If we don't hurry, we could have a war on our hands, Cassie said, as she was the one that found out about the attack first. I'll get eyes up. You, Murayama, Cadice, stay well back from fighting. Help Sona if you can. Cassie and Chelsea go and support anyone fighting there. And where are Irina and Zenobia? Lucy quickly ordered them, her experience in combat and war strategy going into full swing, as she was also once a commander of the most feared unit in the OSF. Irina is badly hurt and was evacuated to Hell so that she could be treated for her injuries. Zenobia is with Kiba chasing Cockabeel when he ambushed and defeated Irina, Cassie sadly told them, making girls minus Lucy gasp. We will see how Irina is doing later. For now, do as I told. I will go wake up Eyes so that we could have a better chance of winning this, Lucy strictly told them, making the girls nod as they went towards the school. Returning quickly to their room, Lucy started to wake up Issei, who after a few moments of shaking groaned as he looked into her concerned eyes. What is the problem, Lucy? Issei tiredly asked as he pushed himself up, reviling his upper body, which even now, after felling it for several times and seeing it, made her blush madly, though she quickly shook her head to get that thought of his well-built body out of her head. Love, Cockabeel is attacking and Arena is in the underworld going through recovery as Cockabeel defeated her. Lucy answered Issei, making him go wide eyes. What? He shouted as he rushed to get his clothes on him, while Lucy just giggled. It's what I said, love, he is attacking our school. I sent Cassie and Chelsea to delay him and help the defending force until we get there. She answered, getting a nod from her future king. Okay, I'm ready, so let's, Lucy, we have some fallen ass to kick, Issei said as he took her hand before they both teleported in front of the school. XXXX. As the duo appeared in front, they were met with the members of the student council who were busy holding a protective barrier. Seeing them, some of them sigh in relief as the two heavy hitters arrived at the front line ready to battle. Hi Adu, good to see you come to the front, Saji said as his fellow pawn just smiled and nodded to him. Same thought, Sona, could you drop the barrier so we can enter? Issei asked, which he was rewarded with a nod. Of course, and I'm sorry for accusing you for helping the church members. Please forgive me. Sona apologized, shocking her peerage, though Issei just put a hand on her shoulder and giving her a smile. Apology accepted, Sona, though now we need to hurry. I'm guessing that Rias and her group are fighting inside, correct? Issei said, getting a positive from the Citriaris. Issei, a familiar voice shouted, getting the brown-haired boy's attention. As he turned around to face the person that yelled his name, his eyes got wide as the owner of the voice kissed him on the lips hard. Getting over his shock, he saw that it was Murayama that was the one who kissed him. Issei, please survive this, you mean so much to me. I would never forgive you or myself if you die today, Murayama whispered as she hugged Issei tightly, not wanting to let go of him. I don't plan on dying anytime soon, Mura, you can count on that, he answered with a smile, which made her have a huge smile on her red face. You better, or I will tell Lucy to revive you so that I can kill you myself. Though, knowing that I've fallen in love for a headstrong perverted idiot, that gives me little assuring. Murayama giggled as Issei turned to stone at her words. Why? Issei wanted to say, but Lucy started pulling him away from the girl while giggling to herself as Issei's face was too cute to resist. Come on, my king, we have work to do, we can later discuss about your harem, Lucy said with a giggle as Issei just shook his head, returning his thoughts to the battle at hand. Yeah, you are right as always, my beautiful queen, Issei said as kissed her cheek, making her blush with a huge smile. As they entered the battlefield, what they saw made them widen their eyes. In front of them were 4 Cerberus while the orc was fighting them with all they got. Cerberus, so Cockabeel decided to make fun of us devils, didn't he? Lucy asked no one in particular as she started to power up, making her presence on the field known as everyone. Even Cerberus stopped to see who was letting this much power. Sure looks like it. Why don't you go and have fun, love? Oh, and go wild, you can be destructive as you like, Issei said with a smile that made Lucy smile. Quickly kiss him on the lips as she released her 2 pairs of wing and flew in high speed at the nearest Cerberus, smirking all the way as she was about to finally cut loose and could show her true power without restraint to her love and king. Time to show off a little, Lucy thought with a sadistic smirk as she gathers a huge amount of lighting in her hands. XXXXX. Not too long after Rias finished her disastrous meeting with Issei and Lucy, with her brother lecturing her about her being not thinking about important things, she returned to work to get a shower and relax before thinking about what to do with the couple that were getting on her last nerves. Though before she could do what she planned, she felt something entering the school grounds, and it was something that she knew was a big exiting the club. Rias and her pieces saw that the one they felt was Cockabeel, and from the looks of things he had some company. Ah, can I get a break? Rias whined, getting a giggle from Raynare and Akino as they knew that Issei and Lucy were getting on her last nerves. Though Kaneko answered without emotions, making Rias fall face first while the others laugh at her bad luck. Thanks for that, Kaneko, Rias growled from the floor, making Kaneko just nod. Suddenly Sona and her team appeared as Rias was about to go out and meet the troubled warmonger, making the Gremory heiress look at her as Sona stood in front of her. Rias, you know that this probably Cockabeel, right? Where is Issei Hayadu? We could really use his strength now, Sona asked as her peerage stood behind her. Honestly, I don't know, he may be anywhere, he doesn't listen to me or respect my authority. And personally, I wish I never revived him. He and that Lucy are making me sick, Rias said coldly, though everyone knew that she was extremely jealous that she wasn't the one girl he loved. Well, it doesn't matter, I received a report from one of my familiars and he says that Arena girl was hurt almost fatally, though it sends it to the underworld hospital to try and help her. Now it only leaves us with 2 church members, and our peerages thought yours is missing 2 crucial people, and they are your offensive hitting force, Sona said, pushing her glasses up as she was starting to get frustrated at this predicament. My peerage and me will keep Cockabeel busy, maybe Issei and Kiba will show up. Hell, I would be glad and happy even if that horse shows up, Rias said as she and her team started walking towards where Cockabeel was. Then my peerage and I will hold the barrier up to prevent chaos from reaching the town, Sona said, getting the thumbs up from Rias. I took the liberty and informed Lord Lucifer about the attack. He said that he will send reinforcements in an hour, Akino added, shocking Rias. What? Why did you call him? Why didn't you call Leviathan? Rias demanded, but only got a stern look from her queen and best friend. Like it or not, Rias, even if Issei, Kiba and Lucy show up on time, they still don't have enough firepower to stop him. We need a Mao-class fighter and your brother is the strongest we know of. Akino answered, making Rias growl a little at that. With that out of the way, the Gremory girls made their way to the front line. Sona and her group made their way towards the school gate where they planned to put up a barrier, though they were surprised when they saw 4 girls running at them. Sona, where are the Gremory group now? Chelsea said as Cassie, Murayama, Cadiz and her stopped in front of the Citrieras. On the field track, though where is your friend Zenobia, Cassie? Sona asked quickly as Cassie just sighed. Zenobia is with Kiba. She sent me a message saying that they are delayed a little bit, so they will be a little late for the party. Though good news, Issei and Lucy are on their way to help. Oh, and Murayama and Cadiz will help your group, since they learn magic and they are good at it. Cassie quickly answered, getting a shocked look from Sona. What? They know magic? Sona asked, getting an affirmative from the kendo duo. Yeah, Lucy taught us how to use it and both of us are good at fire and ice. We can help with barrier if you are planning on it, Cadiz said, making Sona widen her eyes in realization. Fine, let's just hope all would be alright in the end, Sona said, as kendo duo stayed behind while Cassie and Chelsea moved forward to the track field. XXXX. Back on the track field, Gremory's group was confronted with the fallen angel himself, Cockabeel, and someone they never expected to see again. In front of them were Fried's Elsa and Valper Galilei, with the former having a crazy look in his eyes and the later having a smile that gave girls the creeps. Well, what do we have here? An heiress of the Gremory household, and I can sense a Citri also. How pleasant. Tell me, girl, is Serzech or Serafal coming? The strong yet bored voice asked, making the girls look up to see a man sitting on the throne with his legs and arms crossed while having a bored expression on his face which consisted of blood-red eyes and bat-like ears. The man was wearing a tuxedo. Sorry to disappoint you, Cockabeel, but my brother and Leviathan are busy with bigger things. They have not interested in dealing with small fried, Rias said arrogantly, only making Cockabeel look at her bored as he lifted his hand and made a small spear of light that he thought at the gym, destroying it completely while making a 15-meter crater. Well, at least you can entertain me with a small battle. Valper, when are the Excaliburs going to be fused? Cockabeel asked, getting the old man to bow a little, answering him. In 10 minutes, my lord, Valper answered, making the fallen grin. Good, though in the meantime, you girls have fun with my little pets, he said as he snapped his fingers, making the ground explode in a fire before reviling 3 fully grown Cerberus, making the girls gasp in shock. He brought Cerberus that guarded the Gregory, Raynare said in shock and fear, making Cockabeel laugh. Oh, if it isn't my old servant. I thought I felt some fallen in the area. Oh, and daughter of Barakeel, this is going to be fun. Cockabeel laughed, seeing the 2 half-fallen girls growl at him. Forget him now, let's get those Cerberuses. They are a bigger threat now, Rias said, also growling at Cockabeel, making him smirk. Yes, the girls shouted as they divided into 2 groups containing Rias and Aquino and Raynare and Kaneko, who went to subdue 2 Cerberus, making the last one to do as he pleased as they didn't have the numbers to engage all of them. Though that was a short worry as 2 more people plunge into the battle. Cassie and Chelsea join in and engage the last beast, making the girls sigh in relief as they didn't have to worry about the last Cerberus that was on their back. Through the battle that was underway, it got interrupted when all of them felt a powerful aura skyrocket as they sensed something going in extreme speed their way. Thinking it was Issei, the girls cheered, though they were surprised when they saw that it was Lucy gathering huge power in her hands. As Lucy got close to one of the underworld beasts, she let loose a hellstorm of magic that disintegrated it to nothingness, shocking the people that were fighting. Ah, that was good. I need to do it more often, Lucy said as she landed on the ground before she smirked, seeing a shocked Cockabeel. Oh, where are my manners? It's pleasant to meet you, leader class of fallen angels. My name is Lucy Lucifuge, future queen to the Red Emperor and one of your executioners. Lucy introduces herself as the fallen angel looked at her in shock. Lucifuge, so, you must be Graphia's sister, Cockabeel asked, getting a nod from the girl. This is better than I expected. I get to kill 3 heirs and make 3 very powerful people piss and have my war finally. Cockabeel laughed as he got the answer he was hoping for, as the 2 girls were a sibling to the current strongest people, one of which is the head Mahu and the other was his wife, who was the second strongest female devil. Don't count on that, Cockabeel, a voice said as the Cerberus that was near Cassie and Chelsea roared in pain before it got disintegrated into nothingness, reviling a brown-haired boy with emerald eyes and a booster gear on his left hand. The sight of the boy alone made all the girls have a huge morale boost, as the strongest one has arrived at the battle and was ready for a fight. So you must be the Red Dragon Emperor. Now my blood is boiling in the excitement of a good fight, Cockabeel said as he looked at Issei with battle-hungry eyes. Issei looked at him with utmost hatred as he remembered that this bat face almost killed his childhood friend. Well, before we face off, let's see how you all handle my servant's new creation. Is it ready, Valper? Cockabeel asked as he got bored of waiting to see. Yes, my lord, the Excalibur is ready and fused. On your command, it can be used, Valper said as a huge magic circular appeared that stretched way beyond the barrier that the Citri peerage formed. Excellent. Fried, get over here and use that sword and have some fun. I need a good entertainment, Cockabeel said with a feral grin that was followed by Fried's as he showed up and took the blade with loony smirk and craziness in his eyes. Yes, boss, I will do wonders with this baby, he shouted with bloodlust as he sprinted toward the enemy with all intent to chop them to pieces, and his first target was none other than Chelsea, as he felt that she was the weakest in the group. Chelsea, Issei shouted as he and Lucy started to take off towards her in a blinding speed to protect her, but Cassie appeared in front of her, protecting her with her dual blades. Oh no, you caused enough damage as it is, Fried. I will be your opponent, Cassie sternly said as she held her blades tightly against his. You bitch, I will kill you, for all that you caused me in the past and now for interrupting my beautiful kill. Fried yelled at her as he disengaged only to attack again. Cassie for her part knew that she could kill Fried, but something was telling her to delay him as much as possible, since that would give time for Zenobia and Kiba to arrive and for the blonde knight to kill this play. So she just dodged or parried the swing as much as she could before she would need to take him out. Why, you bitch? Fight me seriously. Why are you holding back, you shitty fucking whore? Are you afraid that even those devils and that shitty red dragon will reject you? You really think that you could gain someone's trust and friendship? You are just a stupid half-brain whore who is good for nothing more than to be pounded to oblivion. Aha! Fried shouted insults after insults to her, hoping to break her mentally and make her make the mistake to kill her. That, as it turned out to be, was a very, very wrong thing to say, as Cassie Lockhart and all the girls got extremely angry and flared their power to the max, which was fueled by the rage at his word. Though Cassie backed away from the maniac a few steps with her head down and her hair blocking her eyes from being showed. Fried, I was willing to waiting for Zenobia and Kiba to show up and kill you mercifully, but now, I will gut you alive, Cassie said in a quiet voice before shouting in rage as her head shot up with her eyes losing her shine, as it showed that she was now pissed and ready to butcher and shred him to pieces. Why you buy? Fried started to say, but he stopped himself as he felt himself a bit lighter. Looking to his left arm, he saw that it was no detached from his body as blood was gushing out of it. Everyone was shocked except for Lucy, Issei and Cockabeel as they saw who the culprit was cutting Fried's arm. Though Lucy and Issei barely saw it, to Cockabeel it was clear as he was impressed at Cassie's speed and agility. HHH. Fried yelled in pain as his brain registered the pain that was now hitting him. You were saying, you worm. I did say that I will destroy and cut you to ribbons, didn't I? Oh, and here is your filthy arm back, Cassie said as she threw his arm back at him, though before he could catch it was split in half by Cassie, who appeared in front of Fried and started massacring his body with quickly slashes and hits. Ooh, was all that Fried could yell as Cassie continued her assault on him without stopping, making everyone, even Cockabeel, back away from the pissed-off swordswoman as she was now in a pure rage. After the minute of pure unrelenting brutality, Cassie stopped and started walking back towards the group of allies as Fried still stood in place. UWH, Fried tried to shout as he took a step forward before the blood started to gush through all the cuts that were made by Cassie, making him roll his eyes backward in his head before his dead body fell to the ground lifeless. With the death of the stray priest by the hands of Cassie, everyone heard a huge explosion near them. Turning to see what happened, they were met with Zenobia and Kiba running towards them with their sword at the ready. Tiba, where have you been? Rias demanded as her trusted knight finally showed up after being kidnapped. Long story, my king, one that I will tell you later, for now we have bigger problem. Tiba politely answered, getting a nod from his king as he stepped forward towards the dead body of Fried and Cassie, who had a tear in her eye at what the loony priest said to her. You all right, Cassie? Did you do this to Fried? Zenobia asked her fellow church member as Cassie just nodded her head. Yeah, Cassie answered in the voice void of all life. What happened, tell me, Zenobia said as hugged her friend. He said something that is still haunting me to this day, Zenobia, Cassie said with tears running down her face as she couldn't contain herself anymore. All that any one of the devils could do was to have a sad look on their faces as they saw a powerful warrior woman cry as the mention of her past that from the look of things hurt her too much. Deciding to help her ladder, Issei, who was boosting the whole time, got near Kiba and put his hand on his shoulder. You wouldn't probably need this for him, but it's good if Cockabeel tries to attack you, Issei said as he told Deedrag to transfer some of his boosted power to Kiba. Transfer, Deedrag voice echoed through the air as Kiba's power grows. As he gotten over the euphoria of the power he felt, Kiba turned to Issei and saw him nod as he just smiled and started walking towards the creator of human hell that he went through. Now that leaves us with you, Valper. Hope you said your prayers. Time for you to answer for what you did to me and my fellow comrades. Hope you burn in the deepest pit of hell, Kiba said as he walked past the church duo, and towards the man he hated more than anything in the world. Oh, so you are the one that I heard survive. Ah, no matter, since you all will be dead shortly. You have 20 minutes before this town is no more. Valper and Cockabeel laughed together as the others were shocked to the core by what the priest said. What do you mean no more? Issei asked as he was dreading the answer. You weaklings have to defeat me for the circular to be stopped. That said, only you Red Dragon Emperor and Lucifugeris have a minuscule chance of doing that. But it would be entertaining to see you all try and fail and for my war to start. Valper, give that blonde knight that, Cockabeel explained, giving them a sadistic laugh as he watched all of them turn white with their eyes wide and mouths drop down. As you wish, my lord, Valper replied with a chuckle as he took a something from his robe and troughed it towards Kiba, who cashed it effortlessly. Though when he saw and felt what was he holding, he started to sob as his dead comrade's energy converted into the spirit form, making them visible to everyone. Making everyone gasp at that. while making Cockabeel and Valper want to trough up at the scene in front of them. Isaiah, you survived. A voice belonging to a small girl shouted in happiness. Yes, one of us is now living. Another voice belonging to a male said in joy. My friends, how is this possible? Kiba asked as everywhere he looked his was meet the faces of the ones that laid their lives for him to escape. We were always there, Isaiah, you just needed to look past your hatred to see it. All spirits said in a union, making it sound like a song was sing. The sight of 100 children surrounding Kiba was something that made everyone there have tears in their eyes. Well, almost everyone, Cockabeel and Valper, looked at the scene in pure boredom and the sickness in their stomachs at the mushy stuff. As the children gathered near Kiba, they started to sing, prompting him to sing with them while they glow brightly. Isaiah, live for the living and protect them, don't make yourself a vengeful person. You have new friends to live for. We will always be alive in your heart and mind. Get rid of your anger and vengeance. The children said in a union as they intensified their glow before they all went into Kiba, making him glow brightly. Dedrag exclaimed out loud as he knew what was coming. What are you talking about, Dedrag? Issei asked as he wasn't sure what his dragon was hinting at. Elsa spoke as she was excited to see what would happen next. My comrades, my brothers and sisters, I know what it must be done now. I will do whatever it takes to protect them. Cockabeel, Valper, time to meet your maker. Sword birth, balance breaker. Sword of betrayed, Kiba shouted, making the orc, church duo, Lucy and Chelsea widen their eyes while Issei smirks. What? Orc shouted in disbelief as they watched Kiba put his hands forward. In Kiba's hands, a golden hilt materialized with a ruby at the end, followed by a long blade that was double-edged with blood-red line going down the center of the sword point to the hilt, while one side of the blade was pitch dark with the other white as Siberian snow. It was emitting something that was thought impossible. Holy energy mixed with demonic, making it unheard of. This is my resolve, Valper. Cockabeel, let's see if you can handle it. Kiba shouted as he charged Valper, only to be stopped by someone else who they never seen. Now, that looks like a beautiful piece of work, Devil Knight. I'm very impressed, love the colors of it also. A figure in black robe said in a female voice that made everyone shocked. Who are you? Kiba asked as he found that he was unable to push the figure aside even with his new sword. Who am I is not important right now. What is that I need to kill one stray and one that defines my master's wish. The female figure said as she disengaged her sword from Kiba's, making him look at her with wide eyes. What stray are you talking about? Kiba asked as he took his stance with the figure doing the same. Oh, I can answer that. The stray is that auburn girl Chelsea Dalton, and the one that disobeyed my master's wish is the one and only Red Dragon Emperor, the girl said as she took off her hood, showing her black hair and blood-red eyes that were showing of its bloodlust, making Chelsea gasp in horror as she knew who the girl was and what swordswoman she was, while Lucy and Issei put up their guards up even more as Lucy's eyes started to glow at the mention of this woman killing her love. Are you in a league with Cockabeel? Kiba asked, getting only a laugh from the girl. With him? Hell no, though I offered my assistance, so I can come here and deal with those two, she answered, making Cockabeel laugh. Now this is something that entertains me. Though devils, you only 15 minutes left to beat me before this city is blown up. Cockabeel laughed as he watched them growl, though their growl was stopped when they heard Valper's voice. How can this be possible, holy and demonic? If that is the case, then that means that Valper couldn't finish his sentence as a light spear pierced his stomach, making him choke a little before falling to the ground lifeless, making the devil shock. Ah, Valper, you were such a good servant, though that was one thing that you didn't need to find out. Oh well, never mind now, the war is soon upon us. Cockabeel said with a sigh before laughing like a maniac while he got death glares from the devils at his statement. Forget him, let's duel Knight, I want to see what that blade of yours can do, the black-haired girl said as she charged at Kiba, who in response charged at the girl also. By the way, what is your name? Kiba asked as he dodged a slash from the girl that was grinning like a loony. Yeah, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Akim Honda, and I'm your executioner, the girl answered in a sweet tone as her grin grew as she catches Chelsea started to pale at hearing her name. Akim. Stepping back a bit, Chelsea mumbled the name of the new girl in total fear and shocked, as never thought that her ex-master would send one of the powerful members to get her or Issei. She could only pray that her ex-master doesn't send even heavier hitters next. Ah, Chelsea, it's so nice to see you again, though it won't be for long. Akim spoke without the care in the world as she easily dodged or parried all of Kiba's attacks that were sent her way, making Kiba growl as he couldn't land a hit on her. You are good, no doubt about it. Though what is that sword? I feel a lot of malice coming from it, Kiba asked as he backed away a little to think of new ways to defeat her. Why, this little baby is a Mirasame or cursed sword if you like, though fair warning. Try to not get cut. It tends to kill someone in an instant. Akim spoke with a smirk as she lifted her blade a little bit, giving the devils and church members good view of it, getting a horrified gasp at the information about the blade, though only Chelsea was the one that didn't gasp, since she knew very well about this blade and its power, which was freighting and in Akim's hand extremely deadly. The blade was like a katana sword that has the blood-red hilt with some engravings on it, along with a long blade coming from it with a dark and malice aura around it, making Kiba cringe a little bit from it. Knight of Gremory, a voice that belongs to Zenobia called, making both the sword combatants to look at her as she released Cassie and started to walk toward Kiba while dropping the Excalibur Destruction on the ground. What? Can't you see I'm a bit busy at the moment? Kiba said as he refocuses on Akame, who was still looking at the blue-haired exorcist that was making its way towards them. Do we still have that deal to work together? Zenobia asked as she stood side by side with Kiba, who was looking at Akame. Yes, we do, even though that the Excalibur and the man who made me suffer is dead. I can't let this woman get past me and kill Issei or Chelsea. Kiba answered, getting a nod from Zenobia as she put her hands in a prayer and started the chant. Then let me bring some more firepower to our side. Saint Peter, Saint Basil the Great, Saint Denis, Holy Mother Mary, please hear my voice. As the chant went on, a rip in space appeared as the whole track was filled with holy aura, making every devil cringe and flinch from it. In the names of the saints whom reside within this blade, I will release it. Durandal, Zenobia shouted as she let the handle of a blade come out chained in what looked like heavy-duty chains. As the Durandal slowly exited its pocket in space, it made everyone look at it in awe. After a moment, it fully exited and floated just a bit above Zenobia's arm, like telling her to hold it. As soon as she took a good grip at the handle of the giant blue blade with golden trims, the heavy chains snapped like they were made of twigs, freeing the mighty blade. It even unleashed more holy energy, making the devils even more frightened of the weapon, while Akame and Cockabeel looked at it with wide eyes. What is that thing? Chelsea asked as she also felt it might, and it made her shiver from it. Durandal, so that was why she discarded Excalibur, Aquino said aloud, making some of the devils turn to her. What do you mean? Raynare asked as she looked at her fellow fallen devil hybrid for an explanation. She discarded the Excalibur since Durandal is stronger than Excalibur in its current state. If the Excalibur was whole, then she would not be needing to use Durandal. They would be equal, Lucy spoke, making everyone look at her in shock. Oh really? Issei asked as Lucy just nodded at him, making him gulp a little bit. Oh, so now we have this beauty. Well, who am I to pass up this challenge? Akame said as she wanted to see what the legendary Durandal is capable of. Well, this bad boy will show you what he can do. He is so strong that even I, who am a natural Durandal wielder, has trouble to control it. But for this, he will give me enough power to annihilate you, Zenobia said as she turned to Kiba, as they both nodded before charging. Akame, much to her joy, also moved towards the duo and started to parry and evade strike after strike from the two sword wielders. As the swordsmen and women fought, the others turned their attention to the fallen, who still had that bored expression on his face, making all the devils pissed at him even more. Now, that leaves us with you, Cockabeel. Time for you to pay for your sins, Rias said as she and her small group moved forward, while Lucy, Chelsea, Cassie, who was still shaken by what Fried said, and Issei stood still watching them. Turning to the girls that were beside him, Issei spoke in a serious tone. Lucy, you come with me. Chelsea, I want you to take everyone that is injured out of the harm's way, and that goes for you too, Cassie. Getting a nod from them, Issei and Lucy started to move forward, while Cassie went to help Kiba and Zenobia. Chelsea then transformed her gear into eagle and flew high in the air to observe the fight and help if needed. Rias, don't fight him. He's way beyond our league. We need to combine our power, Lucy said as Issei and her got close to her. Oh, so the Red Emperor and Lucifuge wants to fight. I can't wait. Who is first, I wonder? Cockabeel said as he jumped from his throne and landed perfectly on the ground with no trouble, even made a small crater where he landed. I will go first. I don't like what you want to do, and I would love to keep my loved ones alive, Issei said as he stepped forward again, only to be stopped by Lucy, who took his hand. No, don't, love. It's better for you to power up as much as possible before going in. Let Rias and him. Lucy tried to stop him, but to no avail. Her eyes widened as Issei hit the back of the head, knocking her out with ease. Everyone was then shocked, including Cockabeel, at what he just did. Chelsea, come down and get Lucy out of here. Now, Issei ordered as she landed down near him in her eagle form before grabbing Lucy and quickly escaping the scene. Issei, are you crazy? What are you thinking? We need her to stop Cockabeel. Rias shouted at him, couldn't even believe that he would do something like this in front of a very powerful foe. Zip it, Rias. I only did what was necessary to secure her life. Her life is much more important to me than mine, Issei said as he turned to face her, his eyes glowing green, making her shiver before he returned his attention to Cockabeel. Issei only spoke a few words, but those were some that made it clear that the battle for Kyo was now underway. Cockabeel, I hope you are ready to face the wrath of the Sekiryute. D-Drag, let's do it. Balance breaker, Issei shouted as he started to radiate a red aura around him before it exploded, blinding everyone present. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker, D-Drag roared, making everyone take a step back as the ground under them started to shake from the power and fury that was unleashed from Issei. As the light died down, it showed Issei in his full glory with his dragon armor, producing a domination aura around him, making the girls wanting to submit to his will in the instant. However, they managed to control themselves, as this was important. That, however, made Cockabeel laugh in pure joy, sensing that the energy of the Sekiryute was acceptable and would have some fun out of him at last. That's it. Show me what you can do, Sekiryute. Show me the power that I felt eons ago once again, Cockabeel shouted in excitement as he unleashed his 10 wings ready to fight. You want to feel the power of the Sekiryute? Then who am I to not oblige you? Issei said as he charged at Cockabeel in full speed while the latter did the same. As the two fighters got closer to each other, both pulled back their fists before throwing them forward. As their fists meet, it created a huge impact blast that sends dust and debris everywhere. That is good. I see that you are powerful indeed, but let's see if you can match me, Cockabeel said as he backed away while Issei doing same with D-Drag boosting him the whole way. Elsa spoke to Issei in his mind telling him how to go about it. I will try, though that Akame girl is still here. While she is present I can't focus only on Cockabeel, since she can most likely to get past them and strike me or Chelsea, Issei told her, getting her to hum in acknowledgement. D-Drag suggested, getting Issei's and Elsa to think about this before nodding. Alright, I will do that, though D-Drag, any suggestion on how to beat this damn warmonger? Issei asked as he charged again at Cockabeel, who grinned before going again to meet him head first, blow for blow. Partner, maybe you can use his overexcitement to your advantage. When you engage him again, send a few shots at his wings and then pummel him, D-Drag suggested, making Issei grin. That is a good plan, D-Drag. I will see what I can do, Issei replied before addressing the others in the field. Guys, watch out for that Akame girl. If she gets past Cassie, Zenobia and Kiba, stop her any way you can, Issei shouted, getting Akino and Kaneko to nod while Rias and Raynare frowned at him, ordering them. But they complied nevertheless as he was doing the brunt of the fighting and they were only watching. You got it, Issei, kick his butt, Akino answered, getting the thumbs up from the armor-clad teen as he continued to fight the Cotter class with everything he got. XXXX. As the battle between the Fallen Angel and the Sekiryu continue, Kiba, Zenobia and Cassie were fighting Akame. For the first time, the trio were fighting seriously since Cassie's speed, Zenobia's destruction and Kiba's sword birth combined made it a very deadly and fatal combo. Well, I'm quite surprised that you three managed to push me to be serious in this little battle. It was way too long since the last time I fought like this, Akame said as she ducks under the Zenobia's swing and quickly backpedaled to avoid a thrust from Kiba. You're not bad yourself actually. I wouldn't mind sparring with you sometime in the future, Zenobia answered as she charged Akame again with Kiba right behind her. Parring their blows with her sword, Akame started her offense as she started to swing her sword at them. As the battle between the trio went, no one noticed that Cassie was not attacking as well, or not being there for that matter. That thought was what Akame missed. As Cassie got behind her, she slashed her back with one of her dual swords, making her scream a bit. But as Cassie was about to deal the finishing blow, Akame quickly spun around and hit her with the hilt of her sword hard in the stomach. That then made the brunette back off a bit, giving Akame enough time to get away from the trio. Painting a bit, Akame started to channel a bit of her energy into her sword, making it glow in dark violet. That forced the trio step back a bit from the malice feeling the sword gave off. I never thought that I would need to use this on you. Akame spoke while panting heavily from she got in from exhaustion. As the trio opposite to her took their positions, and before Akame could attack, a communication circular appeared near her ear. Yes, who is it? Akame asked harshly, but hearing the reply from other side, made her pale rapidly as her legs started to shake. I'm so sorry, my lord. I didn't expect you to call me. Akame stuttered an apology, while sweat gathered even more quickly on the forehead from the battle and the fear of what her master would do to her. After a few moments of silence, the malice energy from Mirasama dispersed as Akame relaxed her stance and retreated her sword in its shelter, confusing the trio. What do you think you're doing? This fight isn't over, Cassie shouted to her, making her look her into the eyes. Yes, you are right, this fight isn't over yet, but my master has other plans for me. I now must leave, but don't think this is over. I will fight you again, and next time, maybe someone else will come to make it a bit more interesting. Bye-bye for now, Akame said as she turned around and sprinted into the forest, vanishing completely. Well, with her gone we can focus on Cockabeel, Kiba said as the girls nodded and turned to look at the sky where the battle was happening. As soon as they turned to look at the fight, they saw something that made them pale. The red armored figure was falling from the sky like a doll. Following that was a black blur that was following it in high speed, ready to hit the figure and finish the fight off. Issei, all of them shouted as they realized who was falling. With that, the shout was enough for the armored figure to stop falling in midair, and quickly moved to the side and dodged a devastating punch that would most likely finished in an instant. Seeing their strongest member was back in the fight, Kiba and the girls quickly made their way towards Rias and the other girls who were watching the fight go on with worry in their eyes. Chelsea, though, was still bringing Lucy down with her now that Akame was gone. Come on, Issei, you can do it. I know that you have the strength to finish him, all of them thought as they watched the aerial duel that was going on. XXXX, Elsa questioned as Issei continued to block and dodge Cockabeel's punches that were sent his way. Give me the good news first, Issei replied as he quickly fired his dragon shot, making Cockabeel put his hands in front of him. That was enough to block the attack and making him vulnerable to any attack. Issei's kick to the side had sent the warmonger flying back a bit. Good news is that Akame girl is gone, so you can go all out. But the bad news is that we don't have much time left. I think we have maybe 4 minutes 5 minutes left to finish him. However, in your current state, I doubt that you can do it. You have some major injuries to your body, your stamina will soon fall so low that you wouldn't be able to hold your balance breaker anymore, Elsa explained, making Issei sigh in relief at first before he heard the rest that made him pale and shiver. That is really bad. Where the hell are those damned reinforcements? We could really use someone stronger like Grafio or some Seraphim to help in this, even that damned Azazel could be a great help. Hell, I would be even grateful if the White Dragon Emperor came here and stopped him. Issei yelled in his head as he started to get even more frustrated at the development of the fight. Issei knew that if he continued to dodge and block, he could maybe power up enough to match Cockabeel. But the experience was something that Cockabeel had plenty of while Issei hasn't. No matter how hard Issei tried, he has failed miserably, and with so little time, he put all he had left in one last-ditch attempt to stop Cockabeel. Come on boy, is it the best you got? I was expecting a lot more from the feared Sekiryute. Cockabeel mocked Issei as Issei just growled. You want the best? Here it is. D-Drag, do it. Issei shouted as he felt all the stored boost energizing him, giving him tremendous strength. Explosion. D-Drag roared as a huge aura exploded from Issei's body, making the whole school ground shake from the power he was releasing. Seeing that the Sekiryute was powered up to the max, Cockabeel let out a dark chuckle. This is going to be interesting. So how do you want to finish this red dragon? He asked and got an answer a moment later as the small orb of red energy formed in front of Issei's arm that was pointing toward Cockabeel. This is how. Let's see who has the most powerful attack. Let's finish this madness once and for all. Issei shouted loudly, making everyone gasp. But everyone froze when they felt a huge power was gathering behind them. They looked behind and saw that Lucy was now awake. But, from the looks of her glowing eyes and the way her hair was waving in all directions, it was easy to tell that she was furious at Issei for knocking her out before the fight. Issei Hayadu, you better win this brawl, or I swear to Satan's, God and every other deity, that I will make you regret having me with you. Lucy roared in fury as Issei started to pale rapidly and nod furiously. Her roar and expression made even Cockabeel a bit terrified. He can only picture of what she would do to Issei, making him pale before he shook his head and started laughing loudly at everyone, making them look at him with a question mark above their heads. Now that you mention that air of Lucifuge, I think the rest will love to hear the truth about God and Satan's, Cockabeel said with a savage grin, making Issei and Lucy start to sweat at what he was about to tell. And what is that, Cockabeel? Rias demanded as she wanted to know what he was saying. Rias, shut up, Lucy quickly said to her, wanting to prevent her from finding out something that was a forbidden knowledge. No, I'm tired of being in the dark. So spill it, Cockabeel. What is that you know? Rias demanded strongly, which only made Cockabeel laugh even more. Aha, so your brother didn't tell you. Oh, I'm going to enjoy the look on all of your faces, especially on the two church members, Cockabeel said, making both Cassie and Zenobia step forward with their swords pointing at him. And how do you know that it would be enjoyable for you? Zenobia asked as Cassie nodded, ready to sprint at the fallen to attack him. Oh, my dears, it's simple. Why do you think that the Great War stopped? He asked, but before they could answer, he answered for them, which greatly shocking them. It's because both the God and the Satans are dead. They all died on the last day of the battle, just after they sealed those two dragons. And because of their deaths, I couldn't continue to crush my enemies, as Azazel, that coward, withdraws us fallen just as we were about to win. Cockabeel shouted, making everyone but Lucy and Issei widen their eyes, with Cassie and Zenobia falling to their knees at the revelation. Why you are lying. It can be possible. Are our prayers all for nothing? Zenobia asked while crying, with Cassie hugging her tightly with tears also in her eyes. Oh, that Michael is doing everything he can to keep the system running. Though with the death of its creator, it's not so much efficient. Why do you think what happened to that blondie, or how he managed to create a demonic holy sword, is possible? The answer is simple: because the god is dead, and the system is barely running. Cockabeel laughed loudly, making the girls from Gremory group look even more shocked, with Kiba having his fists clenched with rage. But his laughter soon stopped as the barrier, that was meant to prevent from fighting leaving the school, shattered into million pieces. Looking quickly around, everyone soon saw a white blur coming in their direction before it landed near Issei. That white blur made Issei tense a bit, seeing who it was. It was none other than his archenemy, the White Dragon Emperor and his balance breaker. That was a very wrong thing to say, Cockabeel. Azazel won't be happy to hear what you said, the white-cladded figure said to Cockabeel, making him growl before he looked at his arch-rival. So you are my arch-rival. I got to say, I'm impressed at what you managed to do. Only being a devil for a few months and you managed to unlock your breaker and fight that warmonger to a standstill. I can wait for us to battle. It should really be something else. I can already feel it. But sadly, for now, I think it would be best to stop this dog ape before he starts the war that would wipe all of us out, the White Emperor said to his red counterpart, getting a nod from Red. Before that, I'm not in a condition to fight much more, and this will be better for you to stop him, Issei said as he put a hand on his rival before D-Drag's voice was heard, shocking everyone to the core with what Issei was doing, making even his rival shock in the process. Elsa panicked, he asked him, but Issei nodded mentally. I know that, but I'm in no condition to continue. I was more like a delaying force for the cavalry to come. And it's here now. Partner, this is madness. You are giving more power to your enemy. And to make it worse, it is the White Dragon. D-Drag roared in outrage at what his host was doing. I know that, damn it D-Drag. But I'm too injured and exhausted to continue, and he is fresh and from the looks of things. It's Azazel's trump card. So zip it you lizard. Issei harshly answered his dragon. D-Drag said as he did what his host wanted. Transfer. D-Drag voice was heard. All of the new boosts that Issei quickly gathered were sent to the white dragon, making him stiff from the power boost he was given. You know that was unnecessary, right? He asked, but Issei only shook his head. I gotta make some use of it somehow. Was Issei's response as fallen to his knees, exhausted from the fight. His rival was looking at him for a moment before he flew in high speed at Cockabeel, who was still shocked at what he saw. Never in his life has he seen the two emperors working together. His thoughts were shattered as he felt a strong fist in his stomach, making him cough a bit of blood before looking at his attacker. But the attacker disappeared for a brief moment before sending a quick kick to the head, sending the fallen into the school and destroying a part of the wall. As soon as Cockabeel was sent flying away from the duo dragons, Lucy rushed to Issei's side to check on him. While she was still pissed at him for doing what he did, that didn't stop her from seeing the man who she loved with all her heart was okay. Lover, you alright? She quickly asked, getting a soft nod from the boy. Yeah, I'm all right, Issei said between the coughs of blood as his body was overly exhausted and bruised by fighting Cockabeel. Eyes, Lucy shouted as soon as she saw the blood he spat out, and that it was still coming out from his lips, making her a bit scared for his health. Taking her hand softly, Issei tried to calm her down, which by the looks of things did work. Don't worry my queen, I'm alright. I only strained my body a little bit more than I should, but it looks like it all went well in the end, he softly said as she helped him get up just in time for the white dragon to use his dividing to finish of the strayed fallen. Divine, a voice of the white dragon emperor roared, making everyone gasp as Cockabeel started to cough blood even more from the divine and the hits he took, making him even weaker. Surrender now, and I will take you back peacefully. But, I do hope you won't, since I got permission from Azazel to use my full power on you. And since the red one has damaged you, plus the power he gave me, I don't think that would be necessary for you. The armored man spoke, making Cockabeel snarl at him before making a huge spear of light and throwing it at the white emperor. Only then he put his arm up and let his gear do the work. Was again heard as the spear that was large, thinned down to a small stick. The emperor, for insult purpose, let the spear to hit him, only to be shattered as soon as it hit his armor. That forced Cockabeel to widen his eyes. Damn you dragons. We should have destroyed your souls when we have beaten you. Cockabeel snarled at the two heavenly dragons. Should have, didn't have. Now I'm getting really bored and I want to chat with my rival. Time to say goodnight, you stupid warmonger. The Hakuryuku said as he divided even more of Cockabeel's power, making him weak as a human before sending a powerful kick to his face, sending him flying again into the school, effectively knocking him out. With Cockabeel's downfall, the huge magic circular that was made by Excalibur shattered into nothingness, thus making all the devils and church members sigh in relief as the danger was finally averted. As the devils celebrated their victory, only Issei was still on guard as the sight of his rival was not something that he expected, but it was better than nothing. Looking in the direction where his rival left only to saw him dragging a beaten Cockabeel on the ground. As he got closer to the bodies of Freed and Valper, he only sighed as he saw that one had a huge hole in his body while other was in pieces. Deciding to transport only Cockabeel, Hakuryuku opened the transportation circular and transported him to Gregory. As he finished his work, Hakuryuku turned to Sekiryute and spoke. Follow me, I have something to talk to you. Don't worry, I'm an honorable warrior. I would not attack you in your current state. It wouldn't be fun anyway to beat you when you are not at full strength. And why would I follow you? Give me one good reason for it. Issei asked his fellow emperor. You will find out soon. Now follow me, the white emperor said as he released his wings that shined as he took off towards the skies. Deciding to follow him, Issei let go of Lucy much to her protest, but before she could stop him he flew in high speed towards his rival, leaving a worried Lucy and confused group of devils as to why Issei would follow his enemy. After a few minutes of flight, they landed on a nearby clearing in the forest just outside of Kyo Town where devils have no authority. Deciding to quickly find out why the Hakuryuku wanted to have him here, he released his balance breaker. And in turn, the white dragon did the same in revealing himself to Issei. Issei could honestly say that in front of him stood a very handsome guy. The Hakuryuku was, from the looks of things, a boy about Issei's age with short silver hair with golden eyes, sharp face, and was wearing a black jacket with white shirt and black jeans. As soon as they disarmed their balance breakers, both sacred gears spring into life with both dragons speaking to each other while their hosts remain silent until they finish her. D-Drag's voice was heard as he greeted his archenemy. That we do, Red One, and I must say your host did a good job in that battle. I can't wait to see him beg for mercy. The voice of the second heavenly dragon was heard, making D-Drag growl. While I would love to see you eat your words, Albion, I think there is a reason your host chose to talk to mine in privacy. So until then, Albion. Yes, you are right. Until our fated battle, D-Drag, Albion said as both gears disappeared, leaving the two hosts alone. As soon as the dragons finished their small conversation and greeting, the Hakuryuku started the real conversation. Issei, hi out of the Sekiryute. What I have to tell you is very important, so listen up very closely. the host of Albion said, making Issei look him in the eyes, waiting for him to continue. Though what he heard made him shocked and made his blood boil with anger and fury. As soon as the emperors left the battlefield, Sona and her team arrived to see what caused the barrier to shatter like nothing. Arriving at the scene of the battle, the Sona and her group gasped at the damage the battle caused. Everything was destroyed or damaged so heavily that a light touch could make it fall. They could hear explosions on the other side of the barrier, and they clearly thought that Rias and her group along with Issei and his group were heavily injured or may even have casualties. But to their shock and relief, everyone looked unharmed and in a good condition. Only Lucy and Church Duel looked like they went through a hell, as one was extremely worried while having a tear going down her cheek, while other had the later looked like all hope was ripped out of her and dread and fear was all that consumed them. Their eyes were dull and hollow. Rushing toward the celebrating group, Sona and her team made themselves known by Sona asking the oblivious questions. What happened here? Where are Issei and Cockabeel? She asked, getting a response from Rias like they were talking about the weather and not the threat that almost took their lives away. Eyes fought Cockabeel to a standstill, and then the White Dragon Emperor showed up and defeated Cockabeel with ease. I really am proud of my cute adorable pawn, Rias said with a small blush on her face as she clearly remembered the aura of domination that Issei released when he entered his balance breaker. Though Sona had totally different reaction to that reaction to Rias. What? White Dragon Emperor? So he was the one that broke our barrier. Whereas he and Issei now? Rias, Lucy, Sona demanded, as she was sure that two Dragon Emperors together is a recipe for destruction on a huge scale. Issei and the Hakuryuku went to have a talk. Lucy started to answer before she and everyone else felt two powerful energies explode with enough power to wipe everything in a 100 kilometers radius. The whole city was shaking to the core. It had a feeling of an earth shake, but to the devils and church members that was not it. And as soon they put the pieces, what was it? They started to pale in fear for their lives as the energies only keep rising and rising. What was that power? It's overwhelming, Rhea asked as she started to sweat and shiver in fear of the powerful engines that release this much power. The power is coming from ... Oh Satan, please let him be safe, Lucy said as she pinpointed from where the power was coming, and that filled her with dread and fear as she quickly unleashed her wings and rocketed towards the power source. Lucy, where are you going? What is happening? Murayama shouted to her. But to hers and others' irritation, Lucy was already out of hearing range as she was flying as fast as she could to get to something or someone. Quickly follow her, it looks like she knows where to go, Rias ordered as everyone unleashed their wings with Akino grabbing Murayama, Momokasi, Rhea Cadiz, and Chelsea Zenobia before flying quickly towards following Lucy. XXXX. It didn't take Lucy too long to come near the power that was unleashed, but to her fear and dread, the ones that were releasing huge amounts of power were none other than the Sekiryute and Hakuryuku, and from the looks of things they didn't plan on stopping anytime soon. As they powered, were going to the point of where even if the whole student council and work with Lucy and her group attacked to stop them, it would only end in their deaths. And to make it even more worse, they couldn't get close enough to them since the raw energy was too much for them and would kill them in an instant. So Lucy tried something else that may help to stabilize the situation. Issei, stop it. You want to kill all of us, Lucy shouted to him at the top of her lunges, but to her fear, he didn't even register what she told him. When shout didn't work, Lucy powered up to the max in an attempt to break their stare down and focus on her, but from the looks of thing, even Lucy at full power wasn't enough to break them and force them to change their focus. Damn it, he can't hear me, and I powered up to the max and still nothing. I don't want to send an attack in their direction that would cause huge destruction. What to do? What to do? Lucy thought angrily as she didn't know what to do or how to stop this. Everything that she could think of was only going to get a destruction in its wake. And to add to her frustrations, the others arrived also, and they had exactly the same reaction as Lucy. They were afraid at what would happen as the two heavenly dragons started down one another with their power bursting forward. They could only guess where Issei got this much power, as they clearly saw that Issei was heavily injured and he was on his last reserves during the fight. So that only meant that Hakuryuku has given him a phoenix tear, or Issei had extremely good regeneration since he was part dragon. Lucy, did you try to get their attention? Sona asked the silver-haired beauty. Yes, I did. I tried to shout to them, that didn't work. Then I powered up to maximum and that didn't even faze them. Anyone has any idea how to break this stalemate? If we don't do it soon, there is a chance there won't be any of us left much more, Lucy answered, getting a gasp from the girls as they all looked again towards the duo. Though that is when Lucy saw that the two powerhouses were talking, and from her perspective it looked like the white one was the cause for Issei's surge of power. And that was something that unnerved Lucy, as she could only hope that he will calm down before something bad happens. But the girls were too much engrossed in what Lucy said. Lucifuge, one of the strongest devils that would even put fear to even ultimate class, was powerless in the presence of those two powerhouses. If someone like Lucy was powerless, then that would mean that if the fight starts they could only run away and duck for cover until it's over and one of the two mighty dragons are victorious. And that meant that one of them will die. Let's call Grafia, maybe she can help in breaking those two, she is powerful enough, right? Cadiz asked, getting a wide eyes from the three heiresses, with Lucy face palming herself for not thinking about her sister sooner. Cadiz, you are brilliant. Sister should get their attention, Lucy said, getting the pink-haired girl to blush from the phrase. Thank you, sister, Cadiz answered with a soft smile. quickly forming a communication circular Lucy called Grafia. It didn't take very long for the silver-haired Queen of Annihilation to answer the call. Lucy, how can I help you? We received the information that you guys fought of Cockabeel and managed to stop him. Very nicely done. Grafia praised as she felt very proud of her and her brother-in-law. Sister, why I thank you for the praise. We are currently in even more danger. We need your Surzets here now. Eyes and Hakuryuku are staring down each other and are releasing a ton of power. I can break through to them since we are far away so that their aura doesn't kill us, and even in full power I can get them to change their focus. Please, sister, can you come and help us? I would rather not see Issei in pieces. He is still injured and tired from fighting Cockabeel all alone by himself. Lucy stated in a hurry, getting a gasp from Grafia. I'm on my way, send me coordinates. Surzets, Issei is in trouble, move your ass now, we are heading to Kuo. No, Grafia told Lucy before from the looks of things forgot to turn off the communication circular, making Lucy and some other girls giggle as they heard Surzets whimper from Grafia's orders. It didn't take more than a few moments before a magic circular with Gremory crest appeared near the girls, and from it Grafia and Surzets emerged in their regular clothes. Quickly scanning the area around them, Grafia and Surzets were relieved to see that everything was for the most part fine. Girls were all right and didn't look like they went through the fight. But when their eyes landed towards the dragons, Grafia's eyes narrowed as she started to make her way towards them. Both Surzets and Grafia felt something that they didn't felt in a long time, and that is what made them even more on guard, as they clearly could tell that if nothing was done quickly there would be hell to pay, and if White and Red Dragon Emperors combined their power, well, result would be simply put catastrophic for everyone that faced it. Rias, Sona, Lucy, thank Satan you are all right, Surzets said before he noticed other girls that he wasn't familiar with. Oh, and you girls are. I see that Michael did send some church members. Though weren't there 3 of you? Surzets asked, getting the church members to bring their weapons at the ready. Brother, those are Cassie Lockhart and Zenobia Quarta. Their friend was badly injured in a fight with Cockabeel, so she was sent to Underworld and Citri Hospital for recovery. Rias said, making Surzets nod. Good, you two can stand down. I'm not here to fight you, I'm here to help Eyes. My name is Surzets Lucifer, the Mao of Underworld. A pleasure to meet you all, he said with a soft smile, making the church members to relax somewhat. My name is Miriama and this here are Cadiz and Chelsea. We are what you can say companions of Lucy and Issei. Miriama said with a bow, followed by Cadiz and Chelsea, making Surzets look towards Lucy for a moment, giving her a sly smirk before addressing the 3 girls in front of him. Ah yes, I heard about you 3 from Grafia. It is pleasure to meet you as well. But I think we can all talk later. Looks like Grafia is about to enter their aura range, Surzets said as all of them turned to look what would happen, hoping for Grafia's success. XXX. As Grafia was near the area where their auras will hurt others or kill them depending on their power, she covered herself with hers and entered it. As soon as she entered it, both Issei and the White Dragon turned towards her. It looks like they are now focused on me. That is good, better me than them. It would be catastrophic if they fought here, Grafia thought as she slowly started to release more power to break theirs. Grafia, get out of here, this isn't something that concerns you, Issei coldly told her, making her stop for a moment by his cold voice, before she just surged it off and continued to make her way towards them. You are partly right, dear Eyes, but I can let you two fight, and if it means I need to use force then I would. Now lower your powers or I will make you, Grafia stated softly before she ordered them. The strongest queen. Looks like this day is full of surprises. What do you say, Red Emperor? What will you do now that you have knowledge of what would most likely happen? The Hakuryuku said, making Issei glare at him. You know what I will do? I told you already. And mark my words, if what you said happens, there would be a lot of dead and rivers of blood that would make Amazon and Nile look like small streams in comparison. Issei almost demonically responded, making his rival nod while Grafia had wide eyes. What was said to make Issei this angry? Grafia asked herself as she couldn't understand what could cause the friendly boy like Issei to become almost like demon. Lowering his power a bit, the White Dragon unleashed his dragon wings. Then until next time, my rival. Next time we meet there would be a glorious battle between us. I do hope you are ready to face the power of the supremacy, the Hakuryuku said as he started to lift off the ground. And I hope you are ready to face the power of domination, White One. Issei replayed as the White Dragon Emperor just took of making Issei lower his power before he fell on his knees. Eyes. Grafia rushed to him as he slowly and wobbly started to get up, only to fall again, but this time Grafia managed to catch him before he could hit the ground. I'm all right, Grafia, don't worry, I'm just too tired and exhausted, Issei barely said as he felt himself falling to sleep in her arms. Shaking her head, Grafia just sighed in relief before she flew towards Surzets and others who were waiting for her return. It only took a few seconds for Grafia with Issei who was sleeping in her arms to get to others. As soon as she landed, Lucy quickly took Issei from her and started to hug him tightly, not wanting to release him, making adults laugh a bit. It looks like our work is done here, Grafia. Should we get home? Surzets asked, but in response only got a shake of her head. No, Master, there is something that I think it would be good to know before we leave. It has to do with Issei and his response to the Hakuryuku. Grafia answered, making Surzets' eyes to narrow a little. And what was his response, Grafia? Surzets asked as he looked at the boy who saved his sister's life along with Lucy's and Sona's with their peerages and friends. His response, and I quote, is, you know what I will do? I told you already. And mark my words, if what you said happens, there would be a lot of dead and rivers of blood that would make Amazon and Nile look like small streams in comparison. I think something will happen soon that will most likely make him go to that form, and you know as well as me what that means. Those who would make him that much furious don't live long to tell the tale if they are face to face with it. Grafia answered, making everyone widen their eyes. Grafia, what form are you talking about? We know about Balance Breaker, but what is another form? Cadus asked, dreading the answer. It's the Juggernaut Drive, the one that unleashes all the power of the heavenly dragon and its fury. A very few who faced that form survived to tell the tale of it. It is said that once the host of the booster gear or dividing entrees that form, they lose their sanity and their minds. They have the power to destroy the world many times over, but for that power, there is a grave price to be paid. Their life energy. The more they use it, the more it is spent. Of course, if the user has huge magic reserves, it can be used to fuel the drive, but if another source isn't found, life energy is spent. And most who enter that are dead when their life force hits zero. Grafia explained, getting a horrified filled gasp from the girls who loved Issei. Is there any way to prevent that form from coming out? Rias asked, as didn't want to lose her love interest. There is a way, but the chances of it happening are slim, a voice said, making Lucy and the girls look at Issei's left hand as a jewel appeared on the back of his hand. Tell us, Elsa, please. Lucy begged, to make Elsa giggle a bit before she sadly sighs. Elsa answered, making Lucy start to stiff a bit as she understood what is needed to be done. Can you tell us what was said between the two dragons, and who are you? Surzech asked, getting Elsa to giggle. I'm Elsa Markovic, the second strongest host of D-Drake, the daughter of Russian Bayard and captain of Valkyrie of Lord Odin, the champion of both Lord Perron and Odin and the supreme general of the imperial armies of Russian Empire. It's pleasure to meet you, Surzech Gremory, or should I say Lucifer and Grafia Lucifuge Gremory. And to answer your first question, I would love to tell you, but sadly just before he and the Hakuryukuo started to talk, he cut off the link to me and D-Drag and we couldn't hear what was said. But we felt extreme bloodlust and fury that were started to slowly awake other hosts of D-Drag that were subject to that horrid drive. If we are lucky that with an awakening of the host, then maybe he will awake also, and that will help a lot. Elsa answered, making Surzech and Grafia nod while others were in confusion. Elsa, who is the one you are talking about? Murayama asked, hoping that it wasn't another girl that was about to awake that had the beauty that would make her selfish desire for Issei go down the drain. Yuffie, why, of course, the strongest host ever. Belzer the Unstoppable, he is the one that managed to kill 2 hosts of Albion and survived the Juggernaut Drive after using it. D-Drag wanted to give him Dragon Heart, but he refused and died killed by the 3rd host of Albion when he sacrificed his life to save his loved ones. Though that host was killed by Cockabeel in a duel later. Elsa explained, getting Surzech and Grafia to widen their eyes at the name since it was very familiar to them. Belzer Sparrow, or Belzer the Unstoppable, the ultimate Red Dragon Emperor, the strongest one that ever lived, the one that not only refused D-Drag the true Red Dragon but also refused Surzech and managed to fight Grafia to a standstill with his a monster worthy of his nickname. And if what Elsa said was true and that Belzer is about to awake, then that could be very good for them. Since Belzer, while immensely powerful and ruthless in battle, was a kind-hearted individual that cared for those around him and protected them till his last breath. But like Elsa said, that was what caused his downfall, but his achievements were still so large that no other host of D-Drag ever managed to even come close, with Elsa being the closest to it. Elsa, is there a way for Belzer to train and help Issei? Surzech asked, getting a hum in response. She answered, getting a nod from the red-haired Mao. That is good to hear, thank you very much, Elsa. Now all of you go home. Grafia, would you mind if you escort them home? I will fix the school, Surzech said, getting a nod from everyone. XXXXX. When Lucy entered Issei home with Grafia, she immediately went to hers and Issei's room, where she laid him down before making her sister some tea. Lucy was grateful that Grafia arranged for Issei's parents to go on the holiday, so that they were now on cruiser most likely near the coast of Greece in the warm and sunny Mediterranean Sea. As Lucy brought the tea, she and her sister sat down in the living room, where Lucy gave a report of what happened before Issei knocked her out, and later when she regained her consciousness, and just before her sister and brother-in-law come her. Grafia, for her most part, was upset that Issei knocked Lucy out, but she understood why he did it, and she was surprised that he managed to hold out that long. She was sure as hell to reward Issei for his courage and strength. It isn't easy to fight even for a moment someone that is way above you even for a minute, but Issei managed to hold his own for more than almost 10. And hold out for Azazel's reinforcement to arrive and even help his arch-rival to beat Cockabeel. And sister, that is all that I can tell you, since half I can't tell, Lucy said to Grafia, who gave a soft nod. That is plenty, Lucy, though I think that Issei is in need to be rewarded for his deed. Don't you think, Queen of Securiute? Grafia asked in a sly smirk, getting Lucy to blush at her words. Why, yes, I think it would be only fair. But for now, let's let him rest first. He deserved it, sister, Lucy answered, getting a nod from her sister. Of course, and do tell him that when he is rested to call me so I can tell him something, Grafia said before both women changed the subject and enjoyed each other's company and pleasant chit-chat and drinking tea, with Grafia teasing a little bit Lucy here and there. XXXXXX. It was 3 days later that Issei was rested and back on his feet. When he woke up from his battle, Lucy and Chelsea pinned him down, telling him not to move a muscle and that they will do everything he needed. To say that Issei was glad and embarrassed would be an understatement. When he wanted to take a bath, Lucy would enter it with him and she would use her breast to wash him completely and giving him boob job just to torture him in Issei's mind, as he was sure that he would release his load just from her touch, let alone this. He thought that this was her version of revenge for knocking her out. During his home arrest, Chelsea confessed her feeling to Issei, much to his shock and giggle of Lucy, as she already knew of the feeling that Chelsea had for her love. And she was glad that Issei accepted and reciprocated her feeling, much to both girls' joy. Only after 4th day was Issei allowed to go outside, but Lucy was always with him, not leaving his side at all. It was when he entered work before school that he was surprised to see everyone there. As soon as they noticed him, all of them rushed at him, knocking him on the floor with a large UFFF. It took about 15 minutes for the girls to release him, enough for him to get up. As soon as his feet were on the ground, both Candace and got close to him again and without warning grabbed his head tightly with her hands and lifting herself on her fingers kissed him on the lips again, shocking him and the rest of the Orc and SC. What the girl that hated Issei's guts did it. When questioned why she did it, her answer was simply that she saw a side of him that was hidden and that she fell for that side of him instead of the side that was shown in school. And of course, that made Rias pissed, as she wanted to hurt the girls that stole her love interest that didn't fade at all. But that was stopped when Lucy stepped forward and clearly told both SC and Orc that if one of them hurt the girls that she thought of sisters, there would be a lot of mess to clean up. That is when Issei spotted 2 figures that he was sure that would be by now back in Europe. Zenobia, Cassie, what are you 2 doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in Europe? Issei asked, getting a shake from the 2. Nope, we were excommunicated when we gave a report to our superiors. So without anywhere to go, Zenobia decided to join Rias while I'm still human, and both of us will be joining your school. Cassie said, getting Issei to start to get angry. Why, those no good. Issei started before Lucy kissed him on the lips to calm him down, which did the trick as he calmed down somewhat, making some girls jealous by what Lucy did to calm Issei down. After the near-tragic event passed, Lucy called her sister to inform her that Issei was in the Orc and that they were ready for her to come. It didn't take long for Grafia to appear in front of everyone in her default clothes. Ah, Eyes, it's good to see you on your feet and not on our arms, Grafia said, making Issei blush and the girls to laugh before she continued. After receiving the report from Lucy, Rias and Sona, it was decided without a fault for you to get a promotion to middle class, and it was decided between both Lord Lucifer and me that we will help you in increasing your knowledge of Devil's sociality, and of course Lucy will be with you to help you study along. This test is twofold, so that means there is a test of knowledge and fight. I don't have doubt about your fight, so you can rest assured that it won't be too hard. You will face other low-class devils, Grafia explained, getting Rias and Sona along with their peerage to have their eyes wide, along with Miriama and Candace with Chelsea, Zenobia and Cassie to smile, happy that the one that was the strongest of them got a promotion, while Lucy hugged Issei tightly while smiling from ear to ear from happiness. What? Eyes is getting a promotion. Why was I not informed, and why does Lucy has to be with him? I should be there to help Eyes as his king. Rias protested, but it fell on deaf ears as they just outright ignored her and continued to talk about the promotion, which made her extremely angry, but she was quickly put in place as Chelsea again for 10th time knocked Rias out, making even her peerage laugh at her misfortune as Chelsea started mumbling about Rias yapping nonstop about the promotion, causing everyone to laugh even more. Ignoring what Chelsea did, Grafia turned to Issei and gave him a piece of paper, opening it, Issei trying to read it but failed, making Grafia and Lucy to giggle as he trying and failed miserably. Giving up on trying to read it, Issei handed the paper to Lucy, who after clearing her throat read the content. Council of High-Class Devils, heads of remaining pillars and elders issue following orders. The devil of the house of Gremory, Issei high out of the pawn of high-class devil Rias Gremory is hereby gotten a promotion for his courage and ferocity in a battle against the following opponents. Riser Phoenix and Cockabil Cotter class Fallen Angel. His cunning battle and his use of his sacred gear and its power against Riser Phoenix and his will to protect and delay Cockabil until reinforcements came, saving lives of 3 high-class pureblood devils, while being a low class is enough for Council of already mentioned to give Issei high out of the promotion middle class. The content of the test is knowledge of Devil's history and martial combat. The test for promotion is on 24.05. This year, signatures: Sirzech, Lucifer, Adjuka, Beelzebub, Seraphol, Leviathan, Falbium, Asmodeus. Wow, that is awesome. But wait, that means I have only a few days before the test. Issei said in awe before he paled and started to freak out with how much time he had before the test. Don't worry, love, all of us will help you to learn as much as possible and everything that is important to know, including our language, Lucy softly said to him, making him blink a few times before he nodded. Okay then. What are we waiting for? Issei said in excitement, as he was sure that with Lucy and Grafia this will be a breeze to pass. Nothing really. Sister, I will teach Issei history while you can teach him language. Is that all right with you? Lucy asked Grafia, getting a nod from her older sister. Of course, I will teach him high-class manners while I'm at it, so when he promote again he will be ready, Grafia added, getting a hum in acknowledgement from the young silver-haired girl. With that done, Issei and his group left, with Cassie tagging along with them to Issei's home, where Lucy will start to teach him all that is important in history of devils, and also the other girls, since she knew that they will be willing to join Issei's peerage when he gets his pieces. When they entered Issei's home and made themselves comfy, Issei, who was wondering why Cassie was with them, decided to question it. Cassie, not that I mind you being here, but why are you here with us and not with Zenobia? Issei asked, getting Cassie and Lucy to giggle, making his eyebrow to twitch in annoyance. Love, that is simple. While you were out, Cassie came here and talked to me and other girls. And well, to make it a long story short, she decided to when you hit the high class she will willingly and gladly join you. Of course, if you accept her. And that goes for Mura, Cadiz and Chelsea. Lucy answered, making Issei's eyes go wide with surprise. Why? Was only that Issei asked, completely overrun by his emotions. It's like I said, people follow those that lead by example. You went head first against someone that survived Great War and fought him to a standstill. You protected everyone there, even Murayama and Cadiz. You were the first one to discard what devils thought about church members and offered full support and are a great deal of encouragement to those on the field and off it. And you even sacrifice your hand so that you can protect those you love. Need I say more, love? Lucy answered him softly, getting a nod from the girls present. Sighing, Issei just smiled towards Cassie, making her happy. Well, Cassie, since you stuck here, you are more than welcome to stay here in the guest room, or of course you can sleep at Mira's or Cadiz's place if they are up. He told her, getting Cassie to smile as she hugged him tightly. Thank you, Issei, I will gladly accept your offer, and I will make sure to repay it to you, Cassie said, making him shake his head. It's all right, as long we all get along, then there is no need for anything, Issei replied, making everyone smile before they started their learning sessions with Lucy. XXXX50. It was the big day for Issei Hayato, the Red Dragon Emperor. After a few grueling days of Lucy's tutoring them all and Graphia's manner and language training, Issei felt ready as he would ever be. With a final look behind him, Issei smiled, seeing the girls giving him encouragement and best wishes. With a nod to them, Lucy and he entered a magic circular and teleported towards the promotion exams and towards new challenges and opportunities. Exiting the teleportation circular, the young couple found themselves in the place that is very familiar to Issei in particular. It was the castle that Issei stopped Riser and started his quest for freedom, and the place that led him to his beautiful girlfriend that was beside him now. If Issei was completely honest to himself, he felt a bit of fear about what would happen when he meets some members of the Phoenix clan, Riser in particular, and their peerage members. He could only hope that they won't hold too many grudges towards him for what he did. Seeing his love a bit frightened, Lucy took his hand and softly put some pressure on it, to let him know that she was here by his side and that everything will go all right. She knew why he was that way, and honestly, she would also feel the same way if she did what he did. But for now, she was here to support him in any way and shape, even if it means she would have to go through hell to ensure it. With a deep breath, Issei steadied himself, and with a smile and a light kiss on his lover's lips, he started heading towards the castle's gate, where some guards and candidates were waiting for time to enter it. As Lucy and he made their way towards them, some of the candidates saw them and started to whisper to themselves about them, which made Issei even more nervous, as he thought they were going to make some harsh remarks and maybe attack him, but to his surprise, it was very different. That is Red Dragon Emperor, the one that beat Riser Phoenix. One blue-haired devil girl whispered to the girls beside her while having a blush on her face. He is super hot, another girl whispered as she also had a blush on her face. Why yeah, and look with who he is walking. She is beautiful, he is sure lucky to score her. A male with purple hair said, making the boys nod in agreement. Look at her body, she is like a goddess. Another guy said as had hearts in his eyes, making Lucy giggle a bit. I know who she is. Lucy Lucifuge, the Princess of Lighting and Ice, the third strongest ice user in Underworld. One girl said, finally realizing who they were talking about. And as she said Lucy's name, she started to shake in fear as she stepped back a few steps. WHATTT. Some people yelled, making Lucy giggle a bit more, while Issei looked at her with a question mark on his head. Did I miss something, Lucy? Issei asked, getting her to shake her head. No, you know all that is to know about me, my master, Lucy said seductively, getting Issei to blush, while the people that heard her had their eyes go wide in shock. The girl that was said to cause death and destruction wherever she went was now a servant to the Red Dragon Emperor. It was something that made them start to admire Issei even more. If someone who was a devil for less than a few months managed to calm down and conquer her, then it looked like everything is possible. But the question is why a high-class devil of Lucy's caliber was with low-class like him. But they would pound her on that later. Excuse me, would it be all right to have your autograph? Asked the girl with golden hair as she runs up to Issei and Lucy with pencil and notebook, making them blank. With who? Issei asked, confused, as he looked at the girl and had to admit that she was hot with an athletic body and big breasts. With both of you. I heard a lot of stories about Lucy, the Princess of Ice and Lighting, and your battle with Riser Phoenix is now legendary Red Dragon Emperor. The golden-haired girl replied, getting Lucy to nod as she took a pen and a notebook in her hands and put her signature on it. Come on, love, you have a fan here. Why not make her happy and sign it? Lucy said softly, hugging him on the shoulder. Sure, why not? Here you go. He said as he signed it and gave it to her with a smile that made the golden-haired girl happy. Oh my, I didn't introduce myself, how rude of me. My name is Kasara, a low-class devil, the bishop of the Amy household. Nice to meet you, Princess and Sekiryute. Kasara bowed to them, making them do the same. It is pleasure to meet you, Kasara. My name is Issei Hayato, the current Sekiryute and low class also, and this beauty next to me is Lucy Lucifuge, the high class and heiress of Lucifuge clan. Issei introduced them as Lucy waved her hand to Kisara with a soft smile on her face. Oh, and what he didn't tell you is that he will soon be head of a said clan, Lucy added with a wink, making Issei go wide-eyes while Kisara just giggled at his expression. Well, I would be looking forward to seeing a proclamation of the new head of Lucifuge House. But sadly, I must get ready for the written part. It was a pleasure meeting you, Kisara said with a smile as she bowed and left, leaving the couple alone. Turning towards his lover, Issei could only formulate one question, and that was, what? Giggling a bit, Lucy answered him with a huge smile on her beautiful face. Well, as you said, love, I'm an heiress, and as such the one that I married to is going to become a head. Since my sister is Surzech's wife and my brother is dead, I'm the only left. As such, I will not change my surname but add yours to mine. Hearing her explanation, Issei just nodded after a minute of absorbing the information that she told him. He was a bit surprised when he heard that when he marries Lucy, he will become a head, but he felt that there was a catch to it. That is wow. So, when we marry I will become the head of the house. That sounds cool, though I sense a but here, Issei told her, getting Lucy to nod with a smile on her face before it turned into a frown. Yes, my love, you got it right. For us to marry you, we'll need to get to at least high class, and we need to do a ritual to see if you are worthy of my hand. And before you say or do something, that was something my late father decided when it became clear that the war would start and there was a high chance for a lot of us to die, Lucy told him as Issei hugged her tightly, making her widen her eyes a bit. If getting to high class is what is needed to ensure that we will be really forever together, then that is even a bigger reason to advance today and hopefully soon to the upper echelon, Issei told her softly before kissing her on the lips. Eyes, Lucy whispered as her eyes started to water a bit from his words. She couldn't describe what she was feeling. She was happy to be with him, but to hear that he would work hard to get to the point where he could get a chance to ask for her hand was something that made her happy beyond belief. I love you, Lucy, and for you, I will work my ass off to get to high class and to have you as my wife, Issei sincerely said to her, making her cry from happiness she felt. I love you to Issei more than anything in the world, Lucy told him with tears running down her cheeks as Issei just wiped them with his thumb while smiling at her, which made her heart skip a bit. Though she quickly regained her self-control and her face started to adore a mischief smile. Oh, and when you promote I will reward you with something, my love. But now you must go if you plan on getting on time for the test, Lucy said in a sultry voice as she bit his ear lightly, making him go red and shiver in pleasure as he felt her hot breath on his neck and ear. Nodding, Issei untangles himself from Lucy and started walking towards the double door that last time he blew them up in order to enter. Finally entering a grand chamber, Issei felt nostalgia hit him as he clearly remembered what happened here not too long ago in his fight with Rias. Now that he thought about it, it was a good fight and he wouldn't mind having another one with him in a near future, as that would prove to be a good challenge to beat someone with regeneration on his own. But for now, he needed to focus on his test and promotion in order to get himself free. Not 10 minutes later, the grand chamber was filled with contestants. When the last one entered, the doors of the chamber closed, and the lights dimmed down with only light near a small balcony. From there, the magic circle appeared with a few people arriving. All of them dressed formally, though what surprised Issei was two people in particular. One of the said two was none other than Rias Phoenix, in his still overconfident posture and a smug grin on his face, which made Eyes grin as he wouldn't mind wiping it out again. The other was Ravel Phoenix in her pink dress that she wore during the wedding. She even had an aura of true noble woman that Eyes found a bit attractive, as Ravel sure looked and acted like a mature woman. However, she did have her moments where Issei wasn't sure if Rias' overconfidence rubbed on Ravel. Though the person that took the stage left Issei in bewilderment. The person looked like Ravel with her golden hair tied in a ponytail, only more mature and with a body that easily rivaled Venelana Gremory, who was in Issei's book very attractive woman. Though where Ravel had baby blue eyes, this woman on the center stage had crystal clear blue eyes that gave off the feeling like they were going to read your very soul and heart and exploit them. The woman was wearing a beautiful crimson dress with white accessories. Welcome everyone to this middle-class promotion exam. I, Sierra Phoenix, the matriarch of Phoenix House, welcome you and to wish you all good luck in the coming test. I presume you were all informed on how the test is going to be. But if you forgot, here is the rundown on it. First, all of you will take the written exam and you will be given 2 hours to complete. Next, you will all have an hour of rest before you will go to martial exam, where your fighting skills will be measured and tested. For your opponents, you will face other candidates, and to make it fair, your opponents will be randomly selected. Sierra explained it to the group of low-class devils in a motherly tone to ease their stress and nerves. Before we begin with the test, I would also like to point out that those fine men and women behind me will be there to make sure that there is no cheating or funny business during this exam. I hope that you've all studied and trained hard. The test will commence in 10 minutes. Please enter the room to your left, there we will have our exam. Sierra finished her speech before retreating into the next chamber. As Issei and others entered the chamber that Sierra told them, he found it to be like a regular human schoolroom with a lot of desks and seats with pieces of paper on them with a pen. Taking one of the free seats, Issei waited until he was given further instructions about what to do next, as he was unsure what to do next. Luckily for him, the wait wasn't long as the Phoenix family and the people that were with them entered the room, getting the loud crowd to calm down before a man and a woman stepped forward explaining what to do next. As it was said by Lady Phoenix, You will have 2 hours to finish your test. We will patrol the room for any type of cheating or unfair advantages that might occur. You may now take your pen and start answering the questions. I repeat, you have 2 hours to finish your exam. Best of luck and begin." The man spoke as all of the candidates took their pens and started answering the questions. XXXX. After 2 agonizing hours, Issei managed to finish his questions. He could have done it quicker, but both Elsa and Drake reminded him to take his time and reread the questions, just so that he answers correctly. When Issei asked them for help during the test, both the dragon and princess refused to help him, stating that it would be cheating if they answer the questions for him. However, they did point out when he got the questions wrong so that he can correct the answer. It was now the break period for the candidates that finished the first part of the test before going to combat part. As Issei was laying down on the grass near fountain, he noticed that some people were coming in his direction. Lifting his head, Issei was surprised to see that Ravel and Rias were making their way towards him, with the former holding something in her hands. Getting into the seating position, Issei greeted them when they were close to him. "Oh, what do we have here? Fried chicken and his beautiful little sis. What can I do for you guys?" Issei spoke with a smirk on his face, as Rias's face burned red with anger while Ravel was red with embarrassment. "Why you?" Rias wanted to say more, but Ravel stopped him as she stood in front of Issei, prompting him to raise his eyebrow, making her to give even bigger blush on her face. Security ... This is for you. I hope you like it." Ravel stuttered as she gave Issei a closed box that looked like bento. Thank you, Ravel, but you don't need to call me Security. Issei, Rias is fine, that goes to you to fried chicken," Issei said to her softly before addressing her brother with a smug look on his face. Hearing what Issei said made Ravel wide her eyes before she nodded slowly with a blush and a smile on her face. "Eyes." She tested his name softly and quietly so that both males don't hear her. "Fine, Rias will call you Issei if you stop calling Rias that stupid name." Rias answered Issei, making him chuckle. "Do I need to beat you again so that you lose that third-person speech?" Issei questioned with a raised eyebrow again as he summoned his gear, making Rias flinch a bit as he still had nightmares about his defeat from the Red Dragon. If you could do that." Rias tried to sound confident, but to both Issei and Ravel, they could clearly see and hear that his confidence in front of Issei was almost non-existent, though they both ignored it. Looking at the box that Ravel gave him, Issei opened it to see what was inside of it, and to his surprise, it was a cake that from the look of it and smell must be delicious. Seeing that Ravel was looking at him, she was waiting to hear his thoughts about her present and most likely about the taste. Deciding to put her worries to rest, Issei took the small cake that she made and took a bit of it. As soon as he tasted it, his eyes went wide as he only tasted good food from 2 more people, his mother and Lucy. But it looked like Ravel was genius in this department also, as he felt the cake melt in his mouth with all sweet flavors filling his taste bumps with pleasure. "Ravel, this is ... Wow, I didn't know you can cook, this is fantastic." He complimented her, making the poor girl have an atomic blush. "Thank you, Eyes," she barely managed to say as Issei just patted her head, prompting steam to go out of her ears, making Issei chuckle as he remembered that Lucy also has the same reaction as Ravel when it comes to patting head. "You're welcome, Ravel, and thanks for this delicious food," Issei said as he looked at his phone, seeing that his hour break was almost over and the next part of his test was about to take place. "Well, looks like my break is over. See you later, guys." With that said, Issei completely stood up and started to head to the castle, only to stop when Ravel called him. "Issei ... Would you mind having some tea and cake with me sometime in the near future?" She shyly asked him while blushing, prompting him to look at her before he smiled and nodded his head, making her blush even more while smiling from ear to ear. "Sure, if you treat me to this delicious food, I'm more than happy. But now sadly I must get going. Bye," he said as he turned around and was about to walk away, but stooped again as Rias this time called him. "Issei, our mother would like to talk to you after the exam. When you finish your fight, do come here again and someone will come to take you to her," Rias explained, prompting Issei to look at him with a raised eyebrow. "Why would she want to talk to me?" he questioned. "Don't know. She asked us to give you her message and she said that she hopes that she could have a chance to talk to you," Rias replied, getting Issei to search. "Fine, I will do it." With this answer, Issei finally left for his combat trail, leaving the brother-sister duo to go back to their own devices. XXXX. As Issei entered the great chamber again, he was in his thought about what Lucy said to him. It was something he looked forward to doing though. Knowing how devils operated, it was definitely something loony that would await him when he decided to take her as a wife. Though before he could ponder about it more, Lady Phoenix, or should he say, Sierra, entered the room again, followed by same men and women that were with her before. "First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you for doing the first exam without even a single unfair or unworthy thing. You have my gratitude. Now on to the second part of this exam. The combat will be done on the open field just behind the castle, and like I told you earlier, the combatants for this will be randomly selected to give fairness to all of you. Now, don't you all worry, even if you lose the battle, give it your best. You can still pass, of course, if your written part is good to get to middle class. It is known that nobody is good in everything. Some of you may excel in combat while some may in the brain. Now if you all follow me to the next field." With that said, all of them exited the castle and went to the battlefield. XXXXXX. The winner of the battle is Teodor, candidate 557. the referee announced as the small green-haired devil bowed to his opponent into the older devils and withdraw from the field. Next fight is between Issei Hayato of the Gremory household and Minamoto Samata of the Amy household. Both combatants are pawn pieces, as such you are allowed to promote into the piece you want. The referee announced again as both Issei and his opponent came out on the field. Looking at his opponent, Issei could see that male in front of him looked a bit similar to him. Minamoto was a bit taller and skinnier than him, and where Issei had brown hair and brown eyes, he had black hair with black eyes, giving an eerily look that made Issei sweat a bit. Both of them quickly took their battle stances and waited for other to make the move, while they awaited the announcement to begin this battle. Issei was told by Raven that he was forbidden from using his gear to boost up before the fight, as that would give a very large disadvantage to others. So Issei did what he was told and didn't summon his gear at all the whole wait for his battle. D-Drag asked as he was also waiting for the start of the battle, so he can help his partner. Honestly, D-Drag, how can Issei know if he is going to use it? Issei dear, I suggest you hold off as much as you can on that until you know what you are up against. For all we know, he could be someone that can use your power against you. First go with your boost, then if necessary go into balance breaker, Elsa said as she scolded D-Drag for his battle hungriness. While he was good and kind, when a fight was at hand he can be a bit too much to handle. D-Drag my pal, as much as what you said is preferable. I will go with what Elsa said since it's more logical. Though if need be, I will use it. Issei answered his partner, making the dragon sigh. Fine, I expect for you to kick his sorry ass. D-Drag said. Don't worry, I will. Begin. As soon as Issei finished his little talk with his comrades, the announcement was made as both Issei and Minamoto shouted their pieces. Promotion Queen, Bishop. So you are a magic user? Issei asked as he brought up his gauntlet and D-Drag starting the boost immediately. Yes, I am. And I see I had an honor of facing the red dragon I hear stories about. I look forward to our duel. I do hope you don't disappoint me. Minamoto answered in a cold voice with a smile that creeped the hell out of Issei. Enough chit-chat. Issei yelled as he lunged at his opponent with full speed. Minamoto for his part just stood calmly in his place, waiting for Issei to come. As soon as Issei was close to his liking, Minamoto disappeared from sight, prompting Issei to stop and look for his opponent, which turned to be a bad mistake as he was showered by spells of all kind, making him dodge and block. Interesting. Looks like you are sturdier than expected. This will be better than I hoped, Minamoto said, his voice coming all around Issei, making it hard for him to detect him. Why you? Just because you got first blood on me don't mean I'm out. Issei shouted as he started to power up even more, making some lower-class devils present to start shiver from his power. Is that so? I'm still waiting for your attack, little emperor. Minamoto taunted as he again unleashed a volley of spells at Issei, who this time created a wall of power around him with his aura, making the shots to explode on contact. Don't count me out just yet. I still have lots to go, and let's see you handle this move. Issei responded to his taunt with his own, as he took a big breath in him before unleashing his fire attack that caused the judges to put up barriers to prevent the fire going towards the other combatants. Seeing that his attack the whole place on fire, Issei waited for something to happen. He didn't have a long wait as he heard the sound of water evaporating and steam coming out. Smirking, Issei collected his energy into his signature dragon shot before unleashing it at Minamoto, who barely had a chance to put up his barrier up to protect himself. Not so tough when detected, aren't you? Issei asked arrogantly as he knew that this was his moment to unleash hell on this man. That may be, but I still have range superiority and a lot of more of spells to fight back. The black-haired bishop answered as he again created a few circles and fired his magic at Issei, who thought it was a good time to unleash his trump card and win this now. Not gonna happen this time, D-Drag. Issei yelled as his booster gear shined brightly with D-Drag's voice roaring with power. Time to crank up the firepower. Issei roared as his body was engulfed in his aura before it exploded, countering Minamoto's attack like it was nothing. As the aura disappeared, in place where Issei was standing, now stood a red armored plated man with his tail and wings out, giving a terrifying look toward others who never seen it, and to those who did could only shiver in fear as they remembered the power that armor gave to its user. Issei, feeling that something popped out of his back, gave a side look towards it and was in shock as he saw that he now had his dragon wings. Guys, I have dragon wings. How? I thought I need to wait a few more months. That is easy, dear. The more you got stronger, the faster your wings grow. In your fight with Cockabeel, you hit that threshold and your wings have grown. Though since after your battle you didn't use your balance breaker, you didn't know. Elsa answered him, making Issei nod mentally. With his little conversation over, Issei lifted off into the air and started to generate a huge amount of power into his hands, making younger and older devils scared a bit while Fennec's family looked in interest. What will the young Sekiryute do next? With only Riser shiver a bit from the power Issei emitted. Twin Dragon Shot, full power destruction. Issei and D-Drag roared together as Issei fired of his powerful twin prone attack, making Minamoto put up the strongest barriers he could master. As the shots were sent towards Minamoto, Issei used the chance to quickly get behind him just as his attack hit his opponent's barriers. With his opponent concentrating on the barriers, Issei sent a powerful kick into his gut, making Minamoto lose his concentration on the barrier, weakening them as the shots passed through them, hitting him and thus ending the battle. The winner of the battle is Issei Hayato, candidate 559. the referee announced as Issei patted his opponent on the back and bowed towards the referee and started making his way towards the garden, leaving a lot of people to stare at his figure as he was walking away from them. He is strong and interesting. I hope I will meet you again, Securite. One girl with white hair thought as she was still looking in Issei's direction with a small smile on her face. XXXX. It took a few more hours for the exam to finish completely, and now Issei was in the chamber with Lady Phoenix and Ravel. While the Lady Phoenix had a calm and peaceful face, Ravel's face was red as Issei's balance breaker. What do I owe a pleasure of meeting you, Lady Phoenix? Issei respectively asked, making the matriarch of the Phoenix household to smile at him. First, you don't need to call me that, you can call me Sierra. Secondly, I want to congratulate you on your promotion to middle class. Before you say something, I will let you know that you did very good in your written part and your combat has inspired a lot of the low class. Those who fought after you had went full power. Because of you, we saw a lot of potential and even discovered some hidden powers in others. I thank you for that, and your king should receive your promotion sheet tomorrow morning, but I thought it would be nice to tell you this now, Sierra said, making Issei go wide eyes as he couldn't help but smile before loudly shouted in happiness, making Sierra smile at his cheerfulness. Why yes. But wait, I thought you guys would hate me for what I did at the wedding party, Issei said after his yell of happiness was over. Oh my, you don't need to worry about that. While we are not happy for the missed marriage, we are not going to blame you wholly on it. In fact, we are a bit happy that you put Riser in his place as he is now less. How could I put it in your human terms? Ah yes, less of a jerk towards those of lower classes. In fact, he is behaving nicely towards others, Sierra explained, making Issei sigh in relief. That is good to hear, really, Issei said, feeling a bit at ease. Eyes. There is also one more thing that my mother called you here for, Ravel shyly said, her face going even redder. Issei hummed, making Sierra giggle a bit. Why yes, you see, after that battle with Riser, I traded my bishop piece with him for Ravel, so in essence, Ravel is now free. What I want to say is that when you hit the high class, I would gladly trade her with you, as I have a feeling that you will be a good influence to her and Lucy Lucifuge could help her learn a lot. Yes, I saw Lucy and know her very well, and I'm glad that she is now back to her former self, Sierra told him, making his eyes go wide before he nodded his head. You sure that is a good idea to have Ravel in my peerage? I will be glad to have her with me, but I think it's better for her to choose if she wants to have me as her master, then forcing her to accept it, Issei said, making Ravel go wide eyes at his declaration, while Sierra again just giggled. I see that you respect what other people think and feel. I'm sure that Ravel will be very happy to join you. And I have a small gift for you, Sekiri. Sierra tried to finish it, but Issei stopped her. Please just call me Issei or Eyes, I'm not one for titles, Issei told her, getting her to nod. Very well, Issei, like I said, I have a gift for you. Think of it as my husband's and mine way of saying that all is well between the House of Phoenix and Hyaudu. With that said, Sierra nodded towards Raven, who quickly stood up and left the room before returning with a small package, giving it to Issei. Here, Eyes, this is for you, Ravel shyly told Issei, who smiled and patted Ravel on the head, prompting her to have atomic blush and steam coming from her ears at his gesture. Thank you very much, Issei said, getting Ravel to nod. You can open it if you like, Ravel quickly said, getting Issei to nod. Opening the package, Issei was left speechless. In his hand he was holding 3 bottles of Phoenix Tears that, from what Lucy told him, was very rare and expensive. Quickly looking towards Sierra, Issei tried to say something, but she beat him to it. Before you say anything, know this. While they are rare and expensive, we do have a storage of them for emergency, and 3 bottles of them are not going to harm us or the market, so take them. They will be more at use with you than sitting here, she told him, getting Issei to just nod his head before smiling. I have no words to describe what I feel. Thank you very much for this. If you need my help, I will gladly help you all. But sadly, I must return home. I wish you farewell, Issei said as he stood up and bowed to Sierra before Ravel escorted him towards the exit, where he called Lucy to come for him. XXXX. It didn't take long for Lucy to appear near Issei and Ravel, who were wait for her. Seeing her love, Lucy smiled, gently hugging him tightly. How did it go, dear? Lucy asked while releasing him a bit to look at him for any injuries. It went perfect. I will tell you more later. I would like you to meet the youngest daughter of the House of Phoenix. Ravel Phoenix, Issei told her before introducing Lucy to Ravel, who was a bit frightened by the girl in front of her. Lucy was well known after all in the underworld and was considered a powerhouse in her own right, with enough power to fight almost anyone. So being frightened by her was something that was considered normal. Though to Ravel's shock and relief, Lucy treated her kindly and with respect. It's a pleasure to meet you, Ravel. I'm Lucy Lucifuge, the heiress of the House of Lucifuge and Issei's girlfriend. I hope we get along, Lucy said with a bow towards the younger girl. The pleasure is all mine, Lucy. I heard a lot of stories about you, Ravel frightfully said. Ravel, don't worry. Lucy will not hurt you. What you heard about her was war stories that are normal to be a bit dark. She is a really nice person, but she still has her, let's say, bad side to those she doesn't like, Issei said, calming Ravel a bit. True, I do not like that red-haired bitch, but I will refrain from harming her. Well, that is until raiding game with her. Heh, Lucy said with a scary laughter, making both Issei and Ravel to take a few steps back from the heiress. Lucy, I think it's best we go home. I'm a bit tired and hungry. See you later, Ravel. Issei quickly said while taking Lucy's hand, bringing her back from her malice thought about hurting Rias. Yes, my king. Till next time, Ravel, do stop by for some tea when you can. With that said, Lucy teleported Issei and her to his house. I will need to start training if I wish to become one that will be worthy of being in Issei's peerage. Ravel thought to herself, seeing Lucy calling Issei her king and knowing the meaning behind those words. Returning to his house with Lucy, Issei decided to tell her the great news that he knows that would make her happy. Lucy, I have something to tell you that will surely make you happy, Issei said, prompting Lucy to look at him with interest in her eyes. You do, love? Yes, it's related to my promotion exam. And Ravel, why don't we sit down and have something to drink before I tell you? Issei told her, getting a nod from her as she went into the kitchen and after a minute or two returned with some drinks and snacks. Now, as I said, there are two news. Which would you like to hear? One is related to promotion or other to Ravel? Issei asked softly, making Lucy put her hand on her chin before answering him. Let's go with a promotion that is much more important, okay love? Lucy said, getting Issei to nod. Well, the good news is that I got promoted to middle class, Issei stated with a huge grin on his face, making Lucy look at him with wide eyes before she had a huge smile on her face as she jumped on him and started kissing him all over his face. Yes, you are now middle class. But wait, how do you know that? You would get scores tomorrow, Lucy said in ecstatic before she remembered that for the scores would be officially the day later. Well, Lady Phoenix told me and I don't see the reason not to trust her. Though that brings Ravel's news, Issei explained as he got his breath under control from all the kisses Lucy planted on him. And that is my love? She asked while taking a seat in his lap, prompting Issei to blush from her soft ass. Well, Lady Phoenix told me that when I get to high class, she would trade Ravel to me, since it seems like Ravel would want to be in my peerage, though I did tell that is up to Ravel. I don't see a problem in having her with me. She also stated it would be good for Ravel to have both you and me with her, plus his damn good cook also. Oh yeah, before I forget, I got a present from Phoenix family, Issei told her as Lucy thought about it for a moment. It did look like the Phoenix clan were trying to get Issei under their wing, but since Issei did state that he will marry her, and with that become head of Lucifuge house, it meant that both houses would benefit as an alliance. Between the two, that would be good news. Okay, and what was the present? Lucy said after thinking a bit about Ravel's coming into her love's peerage. You are okay with that? Issei asked her in shock that Lucy didn't blow up the casket. Yes, my king and future husband, as your future queen and wife, I'm okay for many reasons, my love. First, she may have developed a crush on you after seeing your power and during that fight against her brother. I also watched it, and I was very impressed at what I saw that day. If she wants to get into your peerage, it may be because of that. Second, the alliance between the House of Phoenix and Lucifuge will increase both of our strength and prestige and so forth, Lucy explained to Issei, getting a nod from the teen. Okay, when you put it that way I can't argue. Well, the present is 3 bottles of Phoenix Tears, and Lady Phoenix said that they had plenty in storage and that it would be good for me to have, Issei told her as he brought the box of them to Lucy, who took it and sniffed the contents to make sure it was the real deal or fake. Yeah, they are real, though I'm surprised that they gave you this. Did they say it specifically why? Lucy questioned as she put the tears on the table. I think it was like they will be more useful to me and they had full storage of it. Plus it was like a thank you gift for beating some sense into Riser. Issei answered her as she nodded her head and started to display a sly smirk on her face that made Issei a bit unnerving. As Lucy leaned closer to Issei with her mouth near his ear, her hot breath had sent shivers down Issei's spine. Honey, since it's getting late, why don't you go take a bath while I prepare something to eat? Then, we could have a little fun before sleep, Lucy sluttery whisper as she licked and bit his ear lightly, making him blush and shiver from pleasure. Nodding his head, Issei rushed into the bathroom while Lucy just giggled and took her phone out, making a quick call that would make her little devious plan even more thrilling for her. Seeing that the person she talked to agreed to her request, Lucy started to use her magic to transform the living room into the party room while Issei was taking his bath. It didn't take long for the called person to arrive, as was evident by the ringing front bell that made Lucy smirk slightly. Opening the door, she was met with Cassie, Chelsea, and the Kendo duo, all having smiles on their faces, and entering the living room bringing snacks and drinks for a little surprise party for Issei's promotion. As the girls chat with each other and talk about some girl stuff, Issei finished his shower and put on some casual clothes. Soon, he went back to the living room, hopefully to enjoy some alone time with Lucy. However, when he entered the room, he was in for it as he saw all the girls in the living room with a lot of party stuff. Seeing him enter, Chelsea and Miriama bolted at him before hugging him tightly and kissing his cheeks, making him blush a bit from the affection. Though in shock, Cadiz grabbed his collar and pulled him closer to her before giving him a kiss on the lips. But what shocked Hai was Cassie coming to Issei and hugging him tightly. What's with them, and what is with all the kisses and hugs? Issei thought as he was surprised by their behavior, not that he minded, he was enjoying it a lot. So Ai's darling, how did the promotion go? We heard that you passed, so that means you are middle class, right? Chelsea asked, getting Eyes to nod before his eyes widened. His brain registered what Chelsea said, his head spun towards Lucy, who whistled innocently. Oh, she is going to pay for this tonight, Issei thought as he adored a sweet smile, making Lucy sweat a bit as she saw it. Yes dear, it went well. Well, the writing test was done quickly. Even though Elsa and Dreg didn't want to help directly, they did help a bit in it. Issei answered, and as if on cue, a booster gear appeared on Issei's arm and started to shine brightly, making all of them cover their eyes for a moment. Uncovering their eyes, they were met with Elsa, who was in her blood-red dress with a tiara of sorts on her head as her long blonde hair was freely waving behind her. Seeing her, Lucy and the girls smiled as Elsa hugged Issei, who was still not used on her appearing out of thin air like that, though unlike the last time, she was now in her flesh body form. As she hugged him, she saw that she managed to get a reaction from Issei as his face was bright red like her dress. "All eyes, darling, I thought you would be happy to see little old me," Elsa said in a fake hurt voice while her eyes were shining with mischief as she increased a grip on his hand, putting it between her bust, making him even redder. "I'm very happy you are here, Elsa, but I still didn't got used to you popping out from thin air," Issei stuttered, making her giggle a bit as she kissed his cheek lightly, making him wide eyes as he for the first time felt her lips. "Well, girls, what are we waiting for? Let's party," Elsa shouted while hugging Issei tightly, making the girls cheer in agreement. As Issei's promotion party was in full swing, there came a hell lot of laughing, playing games and drinking. A lot of hugs and kisses that Issei enjoyed a lot, and some funny stories that Elsa told, remembering the time when she was alive with Dreg, also chipping and telling some stories that made everyone have a good laugh. XXXXX. As the party ended, the girls left for their homes, and what was left were Issei, Lucy and Elsa. They had, from what Elsa told the couple, an hour or so before she needed to return to the gear as her time was running out. While Lucy collected all the dishes, Issei and Elsa collected all that was for the trash can, cleaning the house, hoping that no one could tell that the party was there only an hour ago. With the living room clean, all three of them took a seat on the couches, with Elsa saying that she had something to tell Issei, something important that would be good for him to know while she was out like this. "Dear, I know that we could talk to each other in your mind, but since I came out for the party, I will tell you this knowledge, and with Lucy here it would be good to hear her opinion on this," Elsa said seriously, making the couple nod as Elsa took a big breath. "What I want to tell you is what is necessary for you, Issei, to revive me. It won't be as simple as you may think, for you see my soul is split into two parts. While the main is in booster gear, there is also a weapon that I once held into battle. That weapon was made for me specifically. That weapon also holds a part of my soul, since it was like a failsafe system. So, if I was slain or the weapon was stolen, it won't give anyone power to do anything, and it will behave like a regular weapon without any powers. With the combination of booster gear in it, I could rival almost any deity. Also, there is no small task of convincing both Perrin and Odin to give you the information of where the weapon is, since while Odin is a pervert and Perrin is a calculated man, as you would say. They may act weird, but they respect power and will most likely give you some task to complete for the info about it," Elsa said, making Lucy nod her head as Issei was still in thought. "Elsa, from what I could read of what you said, it looks like that the tasks you spoke of will surely require Issei to go through a lot of dangerous things. So, you want me to go with him to make sure that the chances are higher," Lucy said, making Elsa nod. "That is right. I'm sure that Odin won't make anything too much, but for Perrin, I'm not sure. He has some dangerous tasks for those that want something from him," Elsa spoke. It looks like I will need to go through another cockabeel to revive Elsa. Well, I think it's worth it. She did train me and gave me her holy powers to beat Riser," Issei thought before telling Elsa his decision. "Elsa, I will help you. I did promise you that I will bring you back, and I intend to hold my word. Though, one question," Issei told her with passion, making Elsa smile brightly before she nodded for eyes to continue. "Will you leaving the gear affect you too much? Since I don't know how you will go without the gear that you used your whole life," Issei questioned, making Elsa giggle a bit. "Oh, eyes, you little boy, you really thought I wouldn't know how to handle myself without the gear? Well, to ease your worries or doubts, I was trained by the best Valkyries and Royal Perrin's guards in magic and combat. So if the situation where I couldn't use my gear rise, I wouldn't be a sitting duck," Elsa answered him sweetly while Lucy just smiled. "Wow, so that means you know how to handle every situation, right?" Issei said, making her nod her head as her body started to turn slightly to her ghost form. "Well, it looks like my time is slowly ending. If you want to start your search, I suggest you go to Norse faction first, before going to the Slavic. That way, you might be able to get Odin or some other gods of the Norse to give you the pointers on what to expect from the Slavs, since they are the warrior race. You would better be careful of what you speak, eyes, dear. One wrong word or expression could cost you your life. Even I had to keep quiet when the situation or the mood of the gods were not that good. Well, good luck, and I will help you in any way I can," Elsa said as she glowed for a moment before disappearing, making Issei and Lucy look at each other before Issei smirked, making her shiver a bit. "Now, love, let's get to that thing you wanted," Issei whispered into her ear softly, making her shiver from pleasure. Love was all that Lucy spoke before she yelped. Issei lifted her bride style and started heading towards their bedroom, with the intent to make Lucy pay for that little stunt she pulled with the party. XXXXXX. As soon as they entered the room, Issei threw Lucy on the bed. Before she could get up, Issei pined her to the bed with his body, making her unable to move. Soon, her face began to get redder by the second. Seeing her face getting redder, even to the point that it could resemble his balance breaker, Issei leaned his head towards hers, making it so that his mouth was close to her ear. His breath hit her neck, making her hot from it alone. Now my beautiful future wife and queen ... What should I do to you? Should I take you here and now ... Or should I prolong it a bit more before doing it ... Issei spoke seductively while biting her ear lightly and neck, making her near the breaking point. Love, husband, my king and master, take me now, please, I beg. You, Lucy answered between moans as Issei continued to lightly bite her ear and neck while adding a few licks here and there to make her on the edge even more. Oh, I will take you, my dear, Issei said as he kissed her on the lips hard, making Lucy melt in it, as they started to kiss passionately while Issei started to explore her body. As they continued to kiss, Issei's both hands slipped under her clothes, while one headed north, other headed south to the untouched regions of her body. As the northern hand reached her breast, Issei found that she wasn't wearing a bra. That made his work easier, as he softly and gently grabbed one of her breasts, making her moan into the kiss. Playing with her breast, Issei got to experience her firm, yet soft and elastic skin, with her nipple as hard as a rock that his fingers softly poked and traced over, making her moan even more. But the real pleasure that Lucy felt was when Issei's southern hand reached her lower regions, as his hand softly passed over her vagina. She let loose a huge moan, making Issei almost go over the edge as he felt her getting all wet and ready. Deciding to at least give her something, Issei slipped a finger inside of it. And at that moment, Lucy's eyes widened as she felt his finger inside of her. Grabbing his head with both of her hands that were free, Lucy started to aggressively kiss Issei with so much fire and passion that she could muster. After all, she waited this long for a chance to become his in body and soul. She would be damned if she let this chance slip. Interrupted once it was okay, twice it was annoying, but 3 times that is asking for death. And she would deliver it to anyone that interrupt this time. This was their moment, and nothing would stop it. As Lucy was holding his head firm, Issei continued to pleasure her lower region while playing with her breasts that he was enjoying a lot, and the teasing he was giving Lucy made it all the sweeter to him. Why is Issei? Stop teasing me. I need you in me ... Now ... Lucy barely spoke, as Issei's fingers were doing a wonderful job of making her speak between moans, as they separated their lips from each other so that they could breathe desperately needed air. What was it that you said, my love? Issei huskily asked her, while he was busy pumping her region with his fingers, even quicker, making her moan loudly as her hands slipped to his back and her nails gripped his back tightly. Stop. Teasing. Me. Damn it. Lucy barely managed to say it, as she was near her limit. Her face was all red from the pleasure and horniness that she held in herself. Hearing her, Issei's smirk grew, as he was enjoying teasing her. He just couldn't wait for what was about to become. If he was honest with himself, he was as horny and ready to fuck her senselessly, but he wanted her to say those words before they could really get to it. What did you say, my queen? I didn't quite get that, Issei asked as he leaned again, closing onto her face before he lightly bit her ear, making her flip him over, using her strength and his unpreparedness to her advantage. Oh, you will feel and see it, my king, Lucy seductively told him, as she quickly took her top of relieving her perfectly hourglass-shaped upper body. That made Issei only stare at her, while she leaned down to let his torso feel hers. With her breast pressing hard against his chest, Issei began to have a huge nosebleed. Smirking at him, Lucy started to move her hips as her extremely hot and wet entrance grit against his rock-hard member, making her moan while Issei grunted in pleasure, though he was soon about to experience a real heavenly sensation. 30-30. As Lucy decided that the foreplay was enough, she slowly started to kiss Issei all over, from the top of his head down to his stomach near his pants. Seeing that her path was blocked, Lucy just ripped the obstacle apart before her face was hit with a fleshy object, the same one that she was desperately in need of. Though when she saw it, she had a waterfall mouth, as the object of her desire was huge. It was easily 18 centimeters long and a good few cm wide. She was sure as hell that she would make it even bigger. But now was the time to put Issei in his place. Grabbing his dick, she smirked and licked her lips in hunger, started to kiss it, making Issei shiver in delight. Deciding to pleasure him a bit, Lucy started to pump his rod while giving a lick every so often, making Issei grunt in pleasure. Hearing the pleasured grunts, Lucy smirks as she put the tip of his dick into her mouth, massaging his rod with her tongue before slowly lowering her head. Taking more of him into her mouth has sent waves of pleasure through his system as she sucked him off. So, my love, you ready to claim me? Lucy stated with a sultry voice as she released his dick from her mouth but still gave him a few more licks, making him moan a bit before he started to smirk darkly. He flipped her onto her back while he hovered over her, with his dick hanging around her wet, drenched pussy. Deciding to tease her a little bit more, he rubbed his length along her entrance to get it nice and wet. But this was not a good move, cause Lucy started to growl a bit. Stop. Teasing me already, Lucy told him, as Issei looked into her pleading eyes. Tell me if it's too much to bear and I will stop immediately, Issei softly and warmly said to Lucy as she felt her heart once again warm up to him. This is another reason why she loved him so much. No matter what they were doing, her safety was always #1 in his book, even at the cost to him. But this time she wanted it, and no matter how painful it is, she will endure it. TP please. My love. Do it, Lucy whispered to Issei, who nodded slightly before gently pushing his way into her, getting pain grunts as Issei felt that he came to her barrier. Looking into her eyes, he saw the unwavering love she had for him. With a soft nod, Lucy steadied herself as Issei broke her barrier, making her gasp. She hugged him tightly with her nails deep into his skin, making him grunt softly from the pain. But he didn't let it show. Seeing the painful look and tears on her face, Issei stopped and lets her get her breath back and get used to this. Leaning down, Issei softly kissed Lucy as he gently wiped the tears that were coming out. Lucy knew that her first time would be painful, but she never imagined the pain would be 10 times worse. But, as the feeling of pain slowly faded by, she began to get used to something large inside of her. After a moment of the two staying still, Lucy again softly nodded, allowing Issei to continue as he pulled out before going back in slowly. As Issei fed more of himself into her, an image of a family popped up in her mind for a second before the two were joined at the hip. The reaction he got was her vaginal muscles contracting around his cock, as she moaned loudly and threw her head back, as he slowly started to pick up the speed. The pain she felt at the beginning was now gone, and was replaced with pleasure as Issei made love to Lucy. Issei changed the pace up, throwing the rhythm off, getting a loud moan from Lucy. She brought Issei down, and locked lips with him. Mind is going blank. He is so perfect, Lucy thought, as she felt Issei break from the lip lock, and started to slow down a little. Soon he lifted her right leg over his shoulder, getting a whole new penetration that made Lucy's eyeballs roll up in pure pleasure. Oh Issei, you are really good at this, Lucy exclaimed. Issei felt her vaginal muscles tightening around his cock as he pulls out, as if it doesn't want him to leave. When he thrust it in again, he hit her G-spot, causing her to widen her eyes and scream in ecstasy, as she let out a large orgasm all over Issei's dick and his bed. Issei grabbed her ass, giving it a good squeeze, along with a slap that sent a shiver through Lucy. She even moaned loudly as he lifted her up and started kissing her neck, as she wrapped her arms around his neck, pulling him closer. She smiled softly as she rolled her hips against his, clashing against each other. As Issei pulled away from her neck, after leaving a hickey, his brown eyes looked into her dark blue eyes, as they were staring at him with new life in them. Her lips were now set into a constant motion of moaning that was music to his ears, as his hips slapped against hers in a constant motion. Smashing his lips against hers, he easily slid his tongue past her lips and quickly dominated her mouth, silencing her moans that were replaced with small whimpers. This session was beyond amazing to Lucy, as she felt him change the pace and making her scream into his lips as he started hammering harder into her. Breaking apart from the kiss again, Issei instantly started to suck on her tits, causing another moan to erupt from her beautiful lips. Lucy screamed as she felt Issei sucking her breast. Why yes, fuck me harder, suck me harder, I'm all yours, this body is all yours, she yelled ecstatically. Lucy quick flipped positions with him, starting to ride him with all her might. Her hips started to go up and down, making him growl from pleasure. As she continued to ride him hard, Issei brought one hand up and started again playing with her tits, whilst the other grabbed her ass hard, making her moan again as she threw her head backward, as he felt her walls tighten slightly, making him know she was near her release. Deciding to accelerate it a bit, Issei started to pump into her at full power as she was slamming into him, which causing Lucy to widen her eyes and started to scream with pleasure at the brute slamming into her. Oh God, if he keeps this up I'm going to go into a coma, Lucy thought. You really are amazing at this, Issei. Make me so that I can walk, Lucy said possessively as she saw him growl with a smile. The way he was pounding her, she was slowly becoming addicted to him even more than what she already has. I belong, to you. I'm close. Where do you want it? Issei asked as he felt himself near his own release. Lucy looked Issei in the eyes. She felt his dick twitch inside her. She pieced it together and knew what was coming. She was near again as well. But that didn't stop her from wanting to do it together. Oh gee God. See, come inside. Fill me up, Lucy said before shouting the last part, throwing her head back. Come in me, Lucy roared in pleasure as she climaxed all over Issei again. Issei, feeling her tighten around his dick, was thrown over the edge, and with one final thrust, he reached as far as he can and released all of his hot seed into Lucy's womb. Spurt after spurt of Issei's seed was sent into Lucy, as she locked lips with him with a loud moan as she felt Issei's hot seed spill into her womb. Oh God, it's so much. I'm going to get pregnant from this much cum, Lucy thought while whimpering shortly after seeing Issei pull out of her. Already done. Up for round 2 with little old me already, Lucy asked as she wrapped her arms around his neck. Issei smirked and grabbed her by her ass and lifted her into the air. Oh hell no, I'm not letting you get off the hook that easy after all that you made me go through, Issei said huskily, getting Lucy more aroused. As Issei pinned her quickly against the bed, Lucy was ecstatic to see that he had a lot more into the tank, and that this night will be the one for remembering. Leaning down to her ear, he placed his hands on her and lifted them up as she licked his neck. Now we'll know what pure domination is, love, Issei whispered as she kissed and nibbled his neck as he groaned. Show me, love, show me pure domination. I want to feel being dominated by you, Lucy answered as Issei pulled back a bit, making her see the hickey she left on him. feeling accomplished with her mark on him for the time being. She felt his dick at her entrance before slowly entering her. Moaning loudly, Issei felt her vaginal muscles tighten around his shaft as he entered deeply into her. I am so damn lucky. How did I get so lucky? Issei thought as he started to pound Lucy. Her breasts started to bounce from the motion. You really like this dick, don't you? Issei asked as he lifted her up. Reaching under her, Issei grabbed Lucy's ass tightly, getting a throaty moan in the process as he positions himself so she can start to ride him by bouncing on his rod hard. Oh God, Issei, you are amazing, Lucy shouted as she climaxed again on his shaft, making it easier for her to bounce on him while Issei grinned before licking, kissing, and nibbling on her neck to leave his own hickey. Leaving her neck after leaving his hickey, he looked at Lucy's face, seeing the one thing he hasn't seen from anyone before, which was love in her eyes when she is looking at him. Issei placed his lips on hers for a slow, passionate kiss. Lucy began to slow down the pace, making the session a lot slower and sensual for the two. Issei's mind was racing as the two's tongues battled. He never felt better in his life. He was making love with the girl that stole his heart and made sure that he was never truly alone. It was the small thing that she did that made her in his eyes even more desirable. Lucy felt alive when she kissed Issei. She kissed him with all the passion she could muster. As she was feeling her climax approach, Issei pulled out of her, making her eyes go wide in shock at what he did. Though she was surprised when he turns her around and bent her over before slamming his rod into her, making her have a mouthful of moans that were filling the room. As Issei pounded her from behind with all his power, Lucy couldn't help but feel the seventh heaven. She was overloaded with pleasure. As Issei was pounding her and hearing her moans, he felt himself coming close and could tell that she was also near the climax again. With a few final powerful thrusts into her, Issei released all of his cum deep inside her, getting Lucy to wide her eyes as she roared in pleasure as she also came with his final thrust, before both falling down on the bed. Both panted hard whilst they smiled to each other before kissing deeply, hugging each other before falling asleep in each other's embrace, with a content smiles on their faces. 30:30. As the sun come over the horizon, Issei felt something on top of him. Stirring a bit, he opened his eyes to see Lucy, her head on his chest with a beautiful smile on her face. Her dark blue eyes shined with love at him that made him smile, remembering what transpired yesterday. Morning, Lucy, Issei softly said. Her smile widened before she kissed him on the lips with a lot of passion and love. Morning, my love. Sleep well. I had the best sleep in my whole life, Lucy told him. Their noses and forehead were touching, making Issei smile. Yeah, I never felt this fresh in my whole life, Issei said as Lucy quickly kissed him again before getting up. Well, love, I will take a shower, then make us some breakfast before school, Lucy said as Issei nodded. As Lucy left to take a shower, Issei summoned his gear to see with Elsa how to get to the two pantheons that he had to go to take the weapon that would make her whole again. Morning, guys, hope you had a good sleep, Issei said as he heard a grumble from Drake and a laughter from Elsa. Oh dear, I did have a bit of trouble sleeping with all that racket, but still, I'm really happy for you, dear. Though now that you did it with her, other girls will want it as well. Elsa spoke as Issei's face went red. Yufifufu, don't worry, since Lucy is alpha in your harem, she can easily decide who gets you and when. Elsa said, making Issei awkwardly smile. Yeah, though on another topic, how do I get to Norse or Slavic pantheon? Issei asked. For Norse, you need to go to Norway as there is where Asgard is. As for Slavic, it's a bit difficult to say. While Russia would be logical choice, since it's biggest of the Slav nations, Slavic gods are on all three, how you can say, sides. Some are in eastern parts, some western and some south. I guess Perun is in east, but for a weapon, you will most likely have to go to the South Slavs. And a fair warning, they are as powerful as their East brothers, Elsa told him, making him nod before hearing Lucy yell that the shower was free, prompting him to go take a quick bath. So, in essence, go to Norway before going to Russia, and hopefully if we are lucky the weapon will be there. If not, go to Powder Cake and hope to survive. Issei asked to make sure he got it right. Yes, dear, that is the plan. Now, as much as I would love to see you shower and having one with you, I will go to sleep. Bye, dear, Elsa said in a sly voice, making Issei blush before he took a shower and later ate the delicious food that his future queen and wife made. XXXXX. As they made their way to school, Issei and Lucy were joined by Issei's unofficial harem though all the girls were wondering why Lucy was beaming a huge smile on her face. Her eyes shined in light that were opposite to the ones they saw when she was angry. But when they asked her, all they got was a giggle and that she would said it later, which made them all confused, but they surged it off as a small thing. As school was boring as it got, the only bright thing that happened was that both Cassie and Zenobia enrolled into the school. Cassie being in Issei's class and Zenobia in Kiba's, that sent uproar in Former's class, as Cassie politely refused every male attempt to get her out on the date by saying that she will go out with only one person that was in this class. With the classes over, all the people that knew about Supernatural went to work, as Rias sent them a message that there was something to announce, which brought smiles on Issei's harem, as they already knew, but still why not come, as it would be fun, as Lucy had also something to announce. Entering the clubroom, they were met with Rias Peerage, and surprisingly Grafia and Surzechs. They each have a smile on their faces when they saw Issei and Lucy entering. When the greeting was over, Surzech opened the parchment, where Issei's results of the promotion were. Clearing his thoughts a bit, Surzech read what was the result. Council of High-Class Devils, heads of remaining pillars and elders are proud to announce. The devil of the House of Gremory, Issei Hayao, the pawn of high-class devil Rias Gremory, is hereby promoted to middle class. The content of the test is knowledge of devil's history and martial combat. Knowledge rating, 75 100th pass. Martial combat, 90 100th pass. The result of the promotion of 24.05. Test. Signatures. Surzech, Lucifer, Adjika, Beelzebub, Seraphol, Leviathan, Falbium, Asmodeus. Hearing that, everyone cheered and hugged Issei tightly as they congratulate him for his success. As the cheers died down, Lucy cleared her throat as she wanted to announce something. Sister, brother-in-law, everyone. Both Issei and I have decided to take the ritual when he reaches the high class, and that during the time in this world, my full name will be Lucy Hayao, while in the underworld Lucy Lucifuge Hayao. Lucy told them, making both Surzech and Grafia go wide eyes as they quickly looked from Lucy to Issei, seeing him nod and chuckle a bit while everyone was confused. What? Surzech and Grafia yelled in union, scaring everyone while Lucy just giggled. Yes, he said it himself, ask him if you don't trust me, Lucy mentioned to them as they looked at Issei, who was having a hard time not laughing. Yeah, what she said, it's true, Issei answered, prompting Grafia to hug them both tightly out of happiness while Surzech just had a huge smile. What are they talking about, brother? Rias asked, dreading the answer, but she wanted to know if she still had a chance to steal her eyes back, even if it's something outrageous. Oh that. Well, long story short, when Eyes get to high class with getting his pieces, he will also have a chance to take Lucy's hand in marriage. Of course, they will then get engaged, but you get the picture, Surzech explained, getting a gasp from everyone present at the news. While some very happy, other not so much, with Rias being the one that voiced her and some of her peerage's thoughts. What? How can that be possible? He is my pawn. And that means that he needs my confirmation for it to go through. And I will not allow it, Rias said in authority with a smug look on her face, but that look was replaced by the look of fear as she felt a huge power rising in the room. Everyone looked towards Issei, who started to radiate a powerful aura around him as he started to release his power. Everyone can tell that he had enough of Ria's antics, and that he is about to kill her. Issei, Lucy quickly spoke, trying to bring him back. But she failed from the looks of things, as Issei's booster gear shined brightly with D-Drag voice speaking dreaded words. As Issei's aura formed a sphere around him, after a few seconds it exploded, and Issei was in his armor, slowly making his way towards Rias. However, Surzech and Grafia stood in front of Rias, protecting her from the massacre that would happen. Eyes, stop this or you will leave me no choice than to bring you down, Surzech ordered, but to his confusion, Issei started laughing hard. But what confused both adults was that the laughter wasn't his voice, it was someone that they haven't heard in a long time, which made them sweat a bit. Oh, little Surzech and little Grafia, it's nice to see you again. How long was it? 200 years. The voice said, as both Surzech and Grafia widened their eyes as they now knew who was in control of Eyes. Be Belzerd, Surzech asked, making the other people in room gasp. Yes, it is me. Now move aside, or you want it the hard way. This boy deserves much better than what your spoiled little sister is. You do remember what I told you about what would happen if I felt that a devil is stopping a security. I would help them in any way possible. And now, I will help him hurt that girl, even if I have to go through you. Which I do hope you would be smart enough to avoid, Belzerd said as he started to release a lot more power than before. Still, I can't let you do that even if that means fighting you, Surzech said as he started to release his power, with Grafia following his lead. While everyone was terrified of the power of the two strongest devils, Belzerd just laughed even more. I guess it's the hard way then, Belzerd said sarcastically as he vanished from his spot and appeared in front of Rias before kneeing her in the stomach, making her spit blood as she fell on her knees. As his job was done, he returned quickly his side, shocking Grafia and Surzech, who couldn't follow his movements at all. It was all done in less than a millisecond. And with that done, I will leave. I will train the boy Surzech. You better knock some sense in that spoiled princess, or I will end her myself if need be, Belzerd said before turning to Lucy. He really has a good choice of woman. I wish you luck in your wife with him. You really are beautiful like your sister, Belzerd said, making Lucy blush before Issei's armor vanished. Issei wobbled a bit before falling to head first, making Lucy's eyes widen as she quickly lifted his head while calling him. But it was of no avail for a few moments before Issei started to shake a bit, letting her know that he was all right. How can he be that fast? Even I didn't saw him move last time he matched my power, but how is he above ours combined? Grafia asked her husband, who just shook his head in disbelief. I don't know, Grafia, I really don't know. Maybe it has to do with the potential of the host. If he can do this with Issei, already on high-class strength, then Issei must have a potential that could have trained properly, and given enough time, he could reach Satan class or even Super Devil class, Surzech said, shocking everyone again. What happened? Issei asked as he stirred a bit, opening his eyes, only to feel Lucy's lips on his before a hit to the back of the head from her. Idiot, Lucy yelled, making some chuckle as Issei nursed his head. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Why did you hit me? Issei questioned, making her glare at him, but Grafia stopped Lucy with a giggle. Lucy, don't kill your husband yet, you fufu ... and eyes. I will come here tomorrow to take you to Underworld to have a little talk with you about a ritual and what transpired with Rias. Understood, Grafia said, making both Lucy and Issei blush before they nodded. Grafia smiled before looking at her husband, noticing that he has a calculated look in his eyes. Master, it's time to go back, don't you think? She asked, bringing Surzech back to reality, who nodded. Yes, let's go. Eyes, I will talk to you tomorrow. Everyone enjoy the party, and Eyes, congratulations on your promotion again. With that, Grafia and Surzech left. Cadis decided to change the mood from tense to a carefree, as she opened a few cans of juice and gave it to everyone before shouting. To Issei's promotion. Cadis yelled. To Issei. Everyone yelled, and from the looks of things, Cadis's plan worked as everyone started to have fun and celebrate not one but two things. As the day of Issei's celebration was coming along nicely after the incident that happened with Belzerd, and the SC coming to congratulate the newly middle-class devil his promotion, Lucy, and the girls from Issei's harem. Along with the SC girls were talking about some girl stuff, while also after hearing what Issei said about what he will do when he hits the high class, the girls squealed in happiness at the chance to attend the marriage of the couple. While the boys were talking about what everyone had in plan going forward, it was a relaxed atmosphere as the night settled, and everyone called it a night for today. XXXX. It was late at night when Eyes and his ladies exited the Orc as they were walking toward their homes. Issei made sure he escorted all of them home, since it was closing near midnight, and as a reward from other girls he got a kiss on the lips, while with Cassie kissing him on the cheek. In the time that Cassie and Zenobia joined the Orc Club, Issei and his future peerage spent a lot of time talking and getting to know the cute brunette and the blue-haired destruction. But even with Cassie and Zenobia now being normal with them, Cassie refused to say why she utterly ripped Fried to pieces, and what was the meaning of his words, stating that she still wasn't ready to tell them, and that when she felt ready, she would reveal the meaning of Fried's words. As he entered his home with Lucy and two, they went to wash up before having a dinner and going to sleep, since tomorrow will be a long day for them with having Grafia and Surzech interrogating them about a lot of things. Mostly he was sure was about what happened to him and ritual for Lucy. With that in mind, both lovers drifted to sleep with Lucy snuggling in his chest that became her personal pillow. XXXX. As Lucy was having a nice dream, Issei on the other hand, was in his mind confronted by Didre, Elsa, and another figure that was clearly a well-built man that had gray eyes and tilt hair. The man clearly radiated power as Issei was a bit afraid of him. Though that all changed, as Elsa, who saw his fright, came close to him and gently took his hand while speaking in soft and tender voice to calm him. Eyes, dear, you don't need to be afraid, he won't hurt you. He is also a past host of Didrag, and the strongest one of us to date. Belzerd Sparrow, or Belzerd the Unstoppable, Elsa told him, making Issei go wide eyes as he stared at the man who couldn't help but chuckle a bit. What Elsa said his true partner, Belzerd here, killed the two white ones and managed a lot of other great deeds that to this date are unmatched. Only Elsa managed to barely get close to his deeds. Didrag spoke next, making Issei look at Elsa, seeing her nod before his eyes went to the man that was still chuckling near Didrag. WOW. Issei barely managed to speak as he was overwhelmed by it all. That prompted the man to start laughing, as he couldn't hold it in him. Issei was just too funny to him. After calming down a bit, the man stepped forward and looked Issei in the eyes. Issei, hi Adu, the current host of Didrag, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Belzerd, and like Elsa said, I'm the strongest one who wields Didrag's power. But if you continue to surpass your limits, I can already tell that you will be the one that will surpass both Elsa and me. And from what I've been hearing and seeing about you, I can honestly say that you are already in high ranking of the host of the Heavenly Dragon. Belzerd spoke with a voice that was full of power and might. It's a pleasure to meet you, Belzerd, Issei quickly said, bowing down to him, making him smile before shaking his head. You don't need to bow down to me. I can see a warrior in you, and as a warrior myself, you don't need to bow down. Warriors never bow down, they always keep their heads up and high with honor, Belzerd instructed Issei, who nodded a bit before he straightens out, making Belzerd smile. Good, that is better. Now I see that you are the pawn of the red-haired princess, sister of Surzech. And from what Didrag and Elsa told me, you are with Grafia's little sister and plan to marry her. I congratulate you on that later. But first, I can only imagine what happened to get you into her peerage, so to help you, I've decided to help and train you myself with Elsa and Didrag, so I will give you rest for tonight. Starting tomorrow, when you fall asleep, you will be starting your training. Belzerd spoke again, shocking Issei to the core as he was about to get trained by the strongest of them all. Belzerd, you didn't put that challenge on him for training? Elsa asked, also in shock that Issei would be getting personal training from him and wouldn't need to prove himself. Yes, Elsa, I'm going to train him, and there is no need for that. I saw how he handles himself against the Phoenix and Cockabeel. And even with your training and help, it was still him who fought and even managed to beat his future wife in a duel, through a tough one but nevertheless honorable duel with his own cunning and might. Belzerd explained to her, making Elsa smile and nod at him before she hugged and kissed Issei on the cheek. While you are in luck, it took me 15 years before he trained me. Though will you request from Surzech to go to Norse and Slavs? Elsa asked, making Issei nod. Yes, I will tell him when I see him tomorrow. and I think he will most likely want to know why I wanted to go there, and I will tell him honestly," Issei replied, making Elsa smile before she and other two disappear from Issei, going back to his own dreams. "We will see you tomorrow, my dear, sleep well," Elsa spoke just before they vanished from sight. XXXX. As the morning of a new day came, Issei and Lucy will soon have a lot of explaining to. Issei was awakened by his beautiful girl, cooking what was irresistible to wake anyone up. Making his way downstairs, he was met with what he expected, Lucy in the kitchen making some food for them both while humming to herself softly. Smiling, Issei slowly made his way towards her, hugging her around the waist, making her yelp a bit from fright that he caused while he just chuckled and kissed her cheek softly. "Morning, love, slept well?" Lucy asked as she blushed a bit, as Issei put his head on her shoe gently with his breath intently hitting her neck. I had a good sleep, though I did have a conversation with D-Drag, Elsa and the strongest host of D-Drag, Belzard. But your delicious cooking woke me up, dear," Issei answered her softly, while kissing her neck making her shiver a bit with a smile. "Really, Belzard?" Lucy asked as she was watching the eggs frying. "You heard of him?" Issei asked with a bit of surprise in his voice. "Well, we all heard him when you hot angry at Rias and was about to slaughter her. He, from the looks of things, took your body for a moment before releasing you, Han." Lucy answered him. Now that you mentioned, I guess that is what Surzech wants to talk to me about the most, but oh well, we will see him after breakfast. It's Saturday, so no school." Issei spoke, making Lucy nod with a smile. "Yes, love, I think we should call Murayama, Cadace, Cassie and Chelsea and start training for a bit after we return home. It would be good for all of us to be prepared if something happens in future. Plus, we do have to go to Europe after all for Elsa's sake," Lucy told him, making Issei think for a bit before he smiled. "Sure, I was thinking of starting to increase my training anyway, so we might as well train together," Issei spoke with a smile, while helping Lucy putting the food on the table. XXXXX. Sitting in front of the two very powerful people would strike fear into almost anyone. And Issei, if he was honest with himself, was now very afraid of Grafia more than Surzech's. It was true that Surzech was stronger, but woman's wrath was something he knew very well not to face if he wanted to live. Drinking the tea made by said woman, Lucy, Issei, Surzech, and Grafia were sitting in Surzech's personal quarters around the table, with one couple facing the other. "So, what do you guys wanted to talk with me?" Issei asked, a bit scared. It took a few seconds for Grafia to start this conversation. Those few seconds were like an eternity for Issei as he waited what would be said. Lucy and Surzech just waited to see what Grafia has to say. If they were honest, they were expecting that Grafia take Issei to talk to him alone, but she didn't, so it couldn't be that bad, right? "What we want to talk to you about, Issei, is about what Lucy said about the ritual, and what happened to you after Rias spoke. But we will talk about the ritual now, we'll talk about Rias later." Grafia spoke elegantly while slowly drank her tea. "Sister, I know that the ritual is big deal, but I have no doubt in my mind that we will do it, and even if we failed, which there is no way in hell, I would still love and cherish Issei with my whole heart and be with him." Lucy told her clearly that I don't doubt Lucy at all. What I want is a confirmation on Issei about this, and when did you mention this to him? Grafia responded to Lucy while looking her seriously, making the said girl sweat a bit. "Well, I did mention it to him when I took him to promotion testing. I told him that there is a ritual involving us to marry and him becoming the head of our clan then," Lucy answered her sister, making Grafia look towards Issei, who just nodded his head. "What Lucy said is true. I was first surprised that there is one and that it would need me to get to achieve a high class to do it. But that also gave me a lot more reason to go up the ladder as fast as I can, as I would be very proud and very happy to have Lucy as my wife." Absorbing his answer, Grafia looked towards Surzech, who nodded his head in acknowledgement before clearing his throat with a cough. "Now that would be something interesting to see. Though what would you do, Issei, when you get to be a head of the clan? That is the more important issue. I have no doubt about Lucy managing things in your name, though do you have anything that will strengthen Lucifuge's clan with the rest, or will you use solemnly your own might to do so?" Surzech asked, knowing that the choices that Issei would make in the future could have a huge impact. "Well, first thing is for me is to get to high class in order to get my peerage, and to do that ritual in order to marry the woman I love with all of my heart. Next is that I got Ravel from the Phoenix clan to be my future bishop, and just to note, she alone decided to be in my peerage without Lady Phoenix or my influence. That would hopefully bring closer the two houses. Of course, I will be in alliance with Gremory, that is without a doubt, so you can rest assured, Surzech, I will help in any way I can. Then, since I made a pact with Elsa about bringing her back to life, I plan of course with your two's permission to go Norse and Slavic factions in order to bring her back. With her, maybe I can also form a treaty with those two factions if things go smoothly." Issei answered honestly, making the adults look at his for the moment before processing all the info given to them. They couldn't help but smile at what he had planned. It didn't take a genius to figure out what Issei planned, and from the sounds of things, it was rather an interesting plan, and one that would no doubt increase the Lucifuge prestige and strength at tenfold. though that begged the question about Elsa's revival. Eyes, what is this about reviving Elsa? And now that we are talking about past holders of D-Drag, did you meet Belzard like Elsa or he is still unknown to you? Surzech asked, hoping to get some good news. I made a pact with her, that in exchange, giving me enough power to beat Riser. I would have to pay the price for it, and that price is bringing her back to life. She told Lucy and me where to start the search, and from what she said, it's best to head to the north, as Slavs are a bit more warlike and will not listen. So that begs the question, would it be alright for Lucy and me to head to Asgard and talk to them about Elsa? As for Belzard, I meet him in the gear and he agreed to train me as I have proved myself to him by my deeds. Issei told him, while Grafia and Lucy looked at Surzech waiting for him to answer. What Issei said rang some bells in Surzech. He was already been informed about the meeting of all three factions for peace talks, along with a possible alliance. That meeting would happen in next month or two by Azazel, who told him that Archangel Michael has already agreed to come. Soon all sides would finally decide to put aside their petty differences, and, if what Issei told him was true and he was planning on bringing back Elsa, that would mean that he will have to talk to gods of both factions. This will be the perfect opportunity for them to attend this meeting, and if possible, to all of them form an alliance with each other. It would be a win-win for both sides, and Surzech knew that every powerful member Issei could recruit will help both causes. I see, well I have no problem with that. Though I have a request for you, Issei, since I will allow you to go to Europe and talk to Norse and Slavs. I would like for you to tell them that soon there would be a meeting between three factions for peace talks and possibly alliance, and that I would very much appreciate if they could also come for this. Surzech answered, making Issei smile and nod his head while Lucy hugged her future husband tightly. Sure, I will tell them, but what's the reason for this meeting? Issei spoke, making Surzech chuckle a bit while Grafia explained it. The cause is what Cockabeel did and what he told. And you, Issei, being the one that gave your full support for the Exorcist's efforts to stop the warmonger, showed to all three leaders that there is still a chance to change this fragile ceasefire and go for peace and alliance. Grafia told him, making him smile even more. Finally, and it only took you guys what 2,000 years, haha. Issei said, making all of them laugh at how much it needed to call the ceasefire obsolete and to move forward. With major conversation whittling down, the four of them changed subject to other lighter conversation while having a bit of fun on all of their accounts. XXXX. Several days later, Issei decided along Surzech and Grafia's permission start heading to Europe, but as usual, took a different route as the Kendo duo. Chelsea and Cassie decided to go with him much to his protest, saying that only Lucy and he are allowed to go there. But to his dismay, Surzech just said it was alright for them also to come as technically they were not devils and were human, so it didn't break an agreement. So now, Issei had to deal with 4 more people that were with Lucy and him as they flew from Japan to Norway. The first thing Issei did when they finally got to Norway was to look for a hotel where they would be staying. Since he could speak almost any language, it wasn't a difficult thing to do. Soon they quickly got into their rooms to leave their stuff, before regrouping in Issei's room that was in the middle of the 2 others that were shared between Cades and Miriama and Chelsea and Cassie. As they all took seats in various places in Issei's and Lucy's room, Issei summoned his gear, making it shine brightly before Elsa appeared in front of the group in her full form, making her smile seeing that everyone from Issei's harem was there and ready to support him in his quest. Looking towards Issei, Elsa smiled before kissing his cheek, making him blush a bit, but other than that they went down to business. Okay Elsa, here we are in Norway. Now do you know where to go or who to talk to get to Asgard? Issei asked, making her nod. Yes dear, I know both, but I think it would be better for you guys to go directly to Asgard, as Surzech already managed to make an agreement for it. Elsa answered, making Issei look at her to continue. And the place where you will find Asgard is in the mountains just north of Eskejolden. Though you can reach that place by transport, but after that, it's about 5 hours of walking to the barrier that surrounds Asgard, and there are a few outposts that guard the entrances into it. I could guide you to it, but after that, it's all up to you dear, Elsa explained, making Issei and the girls nod. Well, we will head there tomorrow. We need a bit of rest after that flight and need to buy some supplies for the journey, Issei said while the rest agreed. Well, both Chelsea and me can go and buy supplies, while Miriama and Cades could go buy some winter clothes for all of us, Cassie said, making Issei nod before turning to see the girls also nodded their heads as they had an opportunity to go shopping and to explore the city. Very well then, both Lucy and I will go to get some food for all of us. So, girls, let's get to it, Issei spoke, getting another nod from everyone as they all headed in their pursuit of things to buy. Each have got a shopping list that Elsa made, each listing what they would need for the harsh Norwegian climate. XXXXXX. While Issei and his group were far away in Europe, back in Japan, the situation was coming to near destructive mood as a certain red-haired heiress was very pissed at her brother for what he did without her knowledge again. And do tell again, my dear brother, why did you allow one of my pieces to go to another country and faction without my thoughts or authorization? He is my piece and only I can decide if he can leave or not. Rias yelled at her brother, while he was looking bored at her and slightly irritated by her actions and her behavior. Rias Gremory, I may be your brother but I'm also the Mau Lucifer and my word is final. I told Issei to go to Europe to the Norse and Slavs for 2 reasons that could very much benefit both sides, Surzec said in a voice that was no longer brotherly, but it was with more authority and power to make it crystal clear to Rias. Hearing his strict voice made Rias flinch a bit as she understood that she was starting to cross the line with her brother. So, she decided to ask why it was beneficial. And what will we gain by him going to Europe with that silver whore and other bitches? Rias harshly asked, clearly still angry that at least she wasn't with Issei. If you really must know, Issei is there to revive Elsa, the previous host of D-Drag, and while there to make contact with both factions. Surzec's answer making Rias raise her eyebrow at him. And why does he want to revive her? And why would we need to get into contact with some weak factions? Why is something that isn't important to you, Rias, as for weak factions that you mentioned? They are powerful enough to compete and win against us individually. Combined, I could say with ease that they would destroy the 3 factions with ease. So, I would stop thinking that we are the strongest when there are far more factions that are stronger. Surzec answered her, making her eyes go wide at what he said. But before she could say anything, Surzec beat her to it. Well, I will be off then. I will talk to you later about something also important. Till then, little sis. Surzec spoke again, and before Rias could even say a word, he vanished, leaving her alone in the clubroom as her peerage was off doing their devil's work. Issei, Rias shouted in her mind before she was brought back to reality by the magic circulars of her clan that light up the clubroom, signaling that her team was back from their work.